virgin. I feel like I'm back in school.
Lower dunk.
Hello, you sexy, sensual listeners, and welcome to Chase's special midnight edition of Lower Dump.
Oh boy.
The show where we take somebody who has not experienced a video game or video game franchise and walk them through it. I'm here today with
Monty Xander.
and
Neil.
Yay! Welcome back. I'm in the chair again. Woo-hoo. Are you ready to suffer? Yeah.
No.
It's JRPG time, baby.
So remind me, a JRPG is just an RPG made in Japan, right?
Yeah, and to be honest, it's a vaguely outdated term. Some developers really don't like it.
Sure, yeah, whatever.
But no, we were beginning our deep dive into the Yakuza franchise.
Yeah.
Are we? When we're just doing one or two of them, are we?
Oh, just one,
I hear it's just a trilogy.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ishin, Gaiden, Like a Dragon.
Why did they
Judgment
stop
1,
doing
Judgment
numbers?
2, 0. We'll get there. Well, to be fair, I can get into that now. So basically, Yakuza has always been a massive franchise over in Japan. And over in Japan, it's Ryoga Gotoku, which is Like a Dragon.
Right.
So the franchise isn't called Yakuza, it's called Like a Dragon. And 036 over there called Like a Dragon. And when they brought it over here, they went, Like a Dragon doesn't sound good. We're going to market it as Yakuza, which, to be fair, iconic title. I get it. That's fair. But then they made a whole push with 7 to, reinvigorate the brand in the West. And at that point, they're like, we're going to realign it. So they called it Yakuza Like a Dragon. But then they went and they called 8 Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Even though technically they are still 7 and 8, it's a whole thing. We'll get to those when we get to those. Those are far off, and in fact, they are far off in the way that, we may have been a bit overambitious with the trailer in saying that we were getting all of them done this year.
Oh, really?
As a little sneak preview, my script for Yakuza 0, 1, and 2, which we're doing today, is longer than my script for all 14 Kingdom Hearts games put together.
Wait, we are doing the entire Kingdom Hearts franchise in one day, basically.
In one day!
Is that including Union Cross?
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Okay, right.
So,
Wait, hold on. No, okay, so full disclosure, listeners, we'll ask Neil in a minute what Neil knows about Yakuza, but what I know about Yakuza is that Chase badgered me about 3 years ago.
I did not badger.
You did. During COVID time, you were like, you must play Yakuza 0. If you like your deep story games and your character-centric games, you must play Yakuza. And I went, okay, I'm going to play 1. And Chase went, no, start with 0. I have not finished 0. I played... According to you, Chase, a lot of this game.
You played a lot more. As
I remember nothing.
I thought that you were considerably earlier in. You played about 2/3 of 0.
Nothing happens in this game, Neil.
But you also don't remember anything, so it's great.
Some angry men get shirtless and fight. There's a man with an eye patch and a mysterious tattoo, and maybe real estate. And Yakuza, and I'm saying this straight up from the 2/3 of one game that I've played. Yakuza is Red Dead Redemption for people who don't like cowboys. That's all it is. So I think you will enjoy this, Neil.
Okay.
I mean, I was talking to Neil in the car on the way here, where he mentioned that he has been wanting to get into Yakuza. So
Maybe not like this.
just like this.
So what do I know? I know that my fractured mind is just about recovered from the last time you were in the chair taking us through Kingdom Hearts, a saga that I both loved and in equal part thought would never end, and hasn't ended. In a way, I know Yakuza has big silly side quests. I know that there are some wrestlers that I know and like who might be in these games.
What?
Oh, did you not know this?
No.
There are so many professional Japanese wrestlers in these games that either play themselves, play cameos, voice characters. Kenny Omega's in one of these games.
What's a bigger franchise in Japan? Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, or Yakuza?
Final Fantasy.
Okay, fair enough. Let's remove Final Fantasy because
by
that is
miles.
Yeah.
Between Kingdom Hearts and I personally think I'd put Yakuza above Kingdom Hearts.
Is it like a staple of Japanese culture, this game
Oh my
series?
god, yes.
Just to clarify, some of the wrestlers that I know in this that are in this franchise, it's the equivalent in America of like John Cena or The Rock being in your game. Like it's they're big names.
Yeah.
I feel like that would cheapen a game.
Right. Well, they have a different role in the culture.
Yeah.
Like they're.
Yeah. To be very clear, at least on my personal stance of Yakuza versus Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Hearts I adore. Very silly, very goofy, holds a very special nostalgic place in my heart. I would not put any Kingdom Hearts game in my top 10 games. I would not put the Kingdom Hearts franchise in my top 10 franchises. Yakuza is my favorite game franchise of all time.
Wow.
Okay.
I adore these games. These games have made me laugh, sob, rage, every emotion in between. I adore these games, which is why I hyperfixated into this stupid mammoth of a script.
Sure. Okay. So sorry. We should point out then, as Chase said, just to be very clear, Yakuza 0 is going to be a multi-part episode. It sounds like some of these episodes might be multi-part.
I think almost all of them are gonna be.
Jesus Christ. Which means that some of the games we're throwing into next year. What games are we not doing this year?
We are gonna get 0 through 6 done this year.
Okay.
Which puts us in a very good. That is kind of like there is a generational gap of sorts between 6 and 7.
Cool.
That I won't fully explain until we get there, and will make sense after we get to the end of 6. But it makes sense to kind of push those off to next year. We'll do them as their own set.
Okay.
So that will be 7, Ishin, and 8.
Which one is the man who forgot his name or whatever?
That's Ishin.
Okay.
Or, excuse me, that's Gaiden. Ishin's a game about samurais.
Just to clarify, you will get as many episodes as you would have otherwise. We will still be putting out episodes with the same regularity. Yeah, ultimately you will end up with more episodes. We just might not be covering quite as many games.
Yes. Our standard release cadence of the first of every month continues, but sometimes there'll be extra games, it seems. And there's some live stuff happening behind the scenes, which is all very cool and exciting, but that might disrupt our schedule towards the end of the year. I will talk a bit more about that later in the year, and we'll explain what that means later. But for now, Yakuza.
Let's get started. Just to kind of kick us off here, I've got the poster, the title, the cover for Yakuza here. Any thoughts, any input on what we're looking at here?
Fascinated to know why that man with a ponytail. That man looks like you, actually. Sorry, we're looking at. So there's two characters on screen that I know. You got your Kiryu on the right-hand side, who's a very handsome-looking guy with a white pinstripe suit, which is kind of his iconic look, I think.
Sure.
These are the pictures I've seen of him everywhere. And on the left-hand side, we've got a character that basically looks like Chase plus an eye patch.
If you ever wanted the Chase face reveal, it's Majima.
I always thought you looked more like Brian Sella from the Front Bottoms. The front man from the Front Bottoms.
Nah, but one really, really cool thing about Yakuza, and especially 0, does this a lot more than a lot of the games, because 0 came out after 5. 5 came out and we want to kind of reinvigorate this. This is when they started reinvigorating the games in the West.
Okay.
So they put out 0 as like a fresh entry point for people to get into the series. But one of the really cool things is it very much plays and feels like the classic like Yakuza drama movies that they have over in Japan.
Oh, cool.
To the point where every single one of these actors, except for Kiryu and Majima, is fully mocapped, fully face modeled. These are all Yakuza actors in like famous Yakuza movies.
Actors who have worked for the Yakuza.
No. Actors who have played Yakuza.
So it's like the equivalent of having Joe Pesci playing a gangster character in your game.
Yeah. So this is
but hang on,
having
so
your
the lead character isn't mocapped. So is the animation style different for the lead character's face? Is it better on the NPC's faces?
He might be mocapped by somebody.
Okay, right.
When I say he is not mocapped, I mean he is not facially modeled after an actor.
Got you.
I mean, that is his. So Kiryu looks very frowny, and all I'm saying, Neil, is that after 2/3 of 0, that expression never changes.
Excellent.
He has a lot going on. Let's get into it.
Cutting that clap.
Black screen.
Oh.
We start on a frantic panting as the screen fades into vision. We look up to see a man in a suit looking sternly down at us.
Very stern.
Our vision is fading in and out. We pan out, And now see our panting man, a Japanese businessman knocked to the ground covered in blood. He begs for his life as the camera pans out to show him alone with the suited man in a tight, empty lot. We see sign, private property, no trespassing. The suited man balls a fist as he walks over. The businessman frantically tries to crawl away, but he's grabbed by the shoulder and thrown deeper into the lot. He begs again before being knocked in the face by the suited man, sending him senselessly to the ground. You'd better think twice about who you're picking a fight with in this town, especially carrying a wad of cash. The man takes the businessman's wallet, rummaging through it and taking the cash before throwing it back at him and storming away. As the man leaves through the alley, we pan to a newspaper on the ground. Kamurocho 21st Century Redevelopment Plan begins.
So Kamurocho is the name of the town/city that the games are set in, right?
Kamurocho is like the iconic setting of the Yakuza franchise.
Right.
It is the setting. It appears in every single Yakuza game. It's the same map in every single Yakuza game.
Explains why they can put so many of them out.
Yeah.
I know. It's all based on the real life district in Tokyo called Kabukicho. Kabukicho is kind of like Japan's like big nightlife district. That's where all your clubs are, your casinos. If you've ever seen that picture of the big red kind of glowing arch in front of the street, that's in Kabukicho.
Okay.
So Kamurocho is based on that. It's always very historically been a hotspot for the Yakuza.
Cool.
So hence why they set it here.
Cool.
Yeah, so scene change, and we're given a date. December 9th, 1988, in a district of Tokyo called Kamurocho. It looks like Vegas, bright neon signs advertising the latest nightlife attractions, while swarms of excited people mill about looking for a good time. We see a group of 20-somethings, a couple of them flirting playfully about getting a hotel as our suited man storms through them, not batting an eye, as he knocks the shoulder of one of them.
Rude.
The guy in the group storms up after him, cutting him off. But then he shirks back in fear, seeing him. The last of the group comes up from behind, grabbing his shoulder, demanding an apology, before our suited man turns around, showing them the blood splatters across his face.
Why didn't he just wipe that off?
Yakuza doesn't give it.
Status symbol.
Doesn't care.
It builds the fear about him.
Yeesh. Okay.
He's trying to build an image. So they fearfully apologize and let him go. 10:43 p.m., we see a car pull up to the man and a window rolls down. A loan shark from inside the car asks the man, whose name we now learn is Kazuma Kiryu. Kiryu apologizes that he didn't have an envelope, handing over the cash. The loan shark smirks, saying how you Dojima boys work fast, before handing over an agreed on 10% cut. He tries throwing in a bonus, but Kiryu assures him that's not necessary. But the loan shark insists, asking, you even a real Yakuza? Everybody around here is flaunting their cash around like it's nothing, and you're going to try and turn it down? He jokes about not making the mistake he did and loaning it to an idiot, saying how these days no one seems to understand the value of money, which is kind of very apt for this game in particular. This game takes place during Japan's big economic bubble in the 80s.
Oh.
Where the economy was booming, so many people were rich, people were going around just flaunting their money, throwing it away. Which is very amusingly displayed in this one, not only in how in excess everything is, but even to the point where when you go up and you beat up a dude, money comes flying out of him.
That's quite cool. I like that.
There's bits in the game where Kiryu grabs a wad of cash and just like smacks people around with the cash.
Do you think the game has anything to say about any of this, or is it more of just a setting and a kind of set dressing?
It sounds like they do, though. This sounds like
says-
it's core to his character.
I'm not going to say that it like goes deep into it, but I think that the plot of this game wouldn't have worked in a non-bubble economy.
So this is set in the 80s then?
This is set in the 80s.
When is Yakuza 1 set?
2005?
How old is Kiryu in this game?
Kiryu is, I believe, he's meant to be in his early 20s.
He looks 20 years older than me today.
Legitimately, comparatively to some of his later appearances, he looks like a child in this game.
Sure.
So he tries proposition Kiryu to come work for him instead. Man, like, you could rake in cash much easier than the Yakuza.
Wait, this guy's trying to poach a Yakuza member.
Yeah, he's like, every meal's a feast, every night an orgy, and that's just the beginning.
Infinite wealth.
No, we're getting there. That's ways off. So Kiryu responds that 3 years ago, he might have taken him up on it, but once you're Yakuza, there's no turning back. Ooh. He questions whether being a Yakuza can really lead to a fulfilling life, watching as the loan shark drives away. He lights up a cigarette as our opening theme plays, showing off Kamurocho. tits, money, dancing. I just happened to grab these three.
We see Kamurocho hard cut to tits.
No, it's all very meant to be, everybody's dressed opulently. When you see this scene with the taxis, it is like dozens of people just waving 10,000 yen bills on the street to like flag down their taxi, like, I'm gonna bribe this taxi driver kind of thing. Oh. We see everybody's out having nightlife every night. It's a paradise of drugs, sets, glitz, and glam if you have the money for it. Kiryu cleans himself up before getting a page, because this is the 80s and we only had pagers. He struts off before posing super cool and dramatic, like below the iconic Kamurocho arc, and he outzooms, and we go Yakuza 0.
It is a cool opening. I remember when it zooms out. It's very cool.
It's very iconic. That's the very iconic one at the bottom of Tenkaichi Street.
Yeah.
Looks exactly like the iconic one in Kabukicho. But Chapter 1. Bound by Oath.
I compared it to Red Dead Redemption, but actually, it's kind of... I know it's not, right, but it's kind of Grand Theft Auto in Japan. Like that power fantasy of being a criminal.
This, yes and no. It kind of has similarities, but I think it's a bit of a shallow... It's an oft-made comparison, to be fair.
But it's a shallow one. My bad, all right.
It's a bit of a shallow comparison.
Shut up.
You shit, you
Played 2/3 of one game, thinks he knows the franchise.
So
there's samurais in this, you dick.
No, that's all a delusion in Kiryu's dreams.
Oh, sorry, I don't know why.
That's a side game. We won't do that one. Unless people want it. I will do it. I love Ishin.
Yes, offer to take on more work this year.
I also love that after taking a year, like you were never taking a year's break from being a narrator again. Because you've come back after a year and gone, yeah, I'm well rested. I'm going to just take up 50,000 games. Like, you are narrating every second series and they're going to be trilogies strictly moving forwards.
Chase narrates The Lord of the Rings.
Anyway, we are at the start of the first chapter. Yes. Let's go.
Chapter 1, baby.
We see Kiryu below the arch, and he's kind of questioning himself, saying that this is where this Nishiki would meet him. He gets a page 724106. Huh, that's a code for what you up to. He's waiting for your slow ass to show up. Huh. Funny. He walks up the street, quickly hearing a scuffle down a back alley that he'll quickly become very familiar with. Running shakedowns on our turf. Gotta set that straight. Combat tutorial! Boom, boom! Punch, punch! Yow!
Wait, so this is like one specific alley that his little group of the Yakuza beat people up in?
So...
It's like, this is our alley.
You gotta have a beaten up alley.
One... Yes, this alley is in... So he's part of the Dojima family. This is on Dojima family turf. Cool. But also, this specific alley is... the alley, so to speak, in the series. It's behind a bar that's very important in the series, and a lot of shit happens there. Okay. It's also where the first fight in Yakuza 1 takes place. I'm pretty sure it's where the first fight in like 6 of the games takes place.
Oh, this is like your Station of Awakening alley from Kingdom Hearts.
Kind of ish. People who know the franchise will know what alley I'm referring to.
Cool, okay.
So he beats these punks up, running shakedowns on his turf, and then hears a voice behind him. Can see it's still nothing to you. A swanky guy with long hair, a red suit, and an audacious yellow patterned shirt smirks down the alley. This is Akira Nishikiyama, also of the Dojima family, and he's Kiryu's sworn brother.
Oh.
Yeah. So he teases Kiryu for not making him wait, as Kiryu jokes, ? Back about how that's his line. He was just killing time waiting for him to show up. Picking fights to waste time, go get him a massage or something normal dudes do for their health. Kiryu doesn't care. Kiryu just wants to punch.
So Akira's like a cool guy. He's like, yeah, I'm chill. And
whether he's cool or just doesn't know anything besides meathead is up to you.
Okay.
Nishiki asks if he's ready for a whole night out drinking, and they saunter out the alley. As they're waiting, Nishiki comments on how Kiryu's finally starting to look the part of a Yakuza, looking at his nice black suit, the blood on his face, and then asks if collections are done for the day, noting how Kazuma-san would be relieved to hear that Kiryu's okay.
Who's Kazuma-san? The boss?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Kiryu says how Kazuma knows that all he can do is fight. Nishiki's the one who knows how to do all the Yakuza song and dance. He mentions that by the time New Year rolls around and Kazuma gets out of prison, he'll try and learn Couple new tricks. Nishiki jokes with him, saying that how he ought to start with that raggedy-ass suit. Gotta sport something at least 500 grand.
I thought you just complimented him on the suit.
Yeah.
He said that he's starting to look the part of Yakuza,
Okay.
but he's not... I mean, you compare that to, look at that fit. I mean, you see the Yakuza walking around town. They've got, rich-ass suits, audacious colors. They are...
We're not talking about the real-life Yakuza here.
Well, no, the thing about the Yakuza, even in Japan, they're very public-facing.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah.
not a lot of color.
Depends. I mean, they've all got the massive, colorful tattoos. They're
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, they all were wearing, very audacious suits.
My one Yakuza story, I had family that lived in Japan during the 80s and saw a Yakuza once or twice on the train, on the subway, and a section of the subway would just clear out because they were the only person who had visible tattoos, which, as you know, are like frowned upon.
Yeah.
But they were the only person with visible sleeve tattoos, and everywhere and neck tattoos. Everyone else in the carriage would clear out and give them like a 5-foot space around them. So it was this insanely packed train carriage with one person standing with no one around them.
Neil is a sleeper agent for the Yakuza confirmed.
The Yakuza are a very right-wing organization, and Neil has no wish in real life to be affiliated with.
So Akira Nishikiyama, you've been calling him Nishiki. Is that what we refer to him as?
Nishiki is Kiryu's nickname. Because they're bros. They, we'll get into this a bit
Sure,
more.
nothing will ever happen to this guy.
We'll get into this more. They grew up together. They've known each other since childhood.
And who's been in the Yakuza longer? Nishiki's been in the Yakuza.
They both joined at the same time.
Same time.
They both joined at the same time.
Nishki's got a bit more of he understands maybe some of the style that comes with the substance.
Nishiki's the cool one.
Yeah, okay.
Nishiki gets it. Nishiki's, out in the town. He's swanking it up.
Kiryu's he's good at punching, right?
Kiryu is good at punching.
So he's walking around clicking his fingers.
So Kiryu replies, fashion ain't his thing. And besides, Kazuma never wore flashy clothes. Nishiki retorts that Kazuma, who we learn is the Dojima family's captain, number 2, when you get to his level, you can wear whatever you damn please. For the rest of them low levels, flashy is the business. Kiryu teases him, asking if that new car that he bought is part of the flashy business as well. But Nishiki pushes back. He's like, the expensive car, the designer jacket, the gleam of that little Dojima pin. It's all what drives the respect that the Yakuza need. They head off over for Pink Street, bumping into a couple of drunk bums fighting on the way. They're on the way, and Kiryu says that he has the perfect way to sober them up. With his fisties! Punch, punch, punch!
Start laying into a couple of guys.
They just kind of bumped in with sorry, man. And
Kiryu is absolutely a punch first, ask questions later kind of guy.
Right. I'm just trying to get a handle on who we're dealing with here. Were the two drunk guys posing any kind of threat or any kind of antagonism?
how annoying were they on a scale of 1 to 10? Like, how punchable are their faces?
I would say
They're solidly punchable. But, of course, this is all because we need a combat tutorial.
Oh, good, okay.
Which is specifically the combat tutorial for heat actions, which I briefly mentioned to you in the car, and you told me to shut the fuck up and save it for here. Heat actions are the iconic, gameplay combat thing in the series, where Kiryu basically builds up heat, his, magic bar, shall we say, and then these heat actions are basically, wrestling finisher moves.
Oh, excellent.
Whether he is grabbing a bike off the side of the road and smashing it down over their head, or he grabs their head and he slams it in a car door, or, he picks them up and he pile drives them into the ground, or, he grabs his wad of cash and he smacks them across the face. I'll try and include as many heat actions as I can,
Sure.
but these are the creme de la creme. If you've seen a Yakuza meme compilation, you've probably seen half the heat actions because they are just iconic.
Imagine those poor confused drunk guys in the hospital later, A guy pile drived me out of nowhere.
And then bitch slapped me with his money.
They head over to Pink Street, and two girls run up to Nishiki. They're acting cute, and they're asking, when are you going to be at the club, Nishiki? They're his favorite hostesses. He tells them, he's like, later. Pulls out the Playboy card, he's like, here's a wad of cash. Go buy yourself something nice. They run off with their allowances, and Kiryu's like, they have you in your fucking pocket. And he's like, oh, nah, man. All part of the business. This is all part of the business. The gals are part of it. Connections with the ladies, very important. Then you bring those ladies to the bosses, and bosses remember you.
Gross. Don't like Nishiki anymore.
Yes, I mean, we love Nishiki, but also you do need to remember they are all criminals.
Yeah.
We are all criminals.
Hey, no, let's not put criminals all into one bucket, okay? Arthur Morgan was a criminal. He wasn't bringing girls to Dutch to
The gang did have women in the group that that would prostitute themselves to earn money for the gang.
Usually, what they were doing was gaining information on robberies.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were sex workers who happened to be in the gang. He wasn't like there's something icky about like the idea of him bringing women to his older boss.
I guess, yeah. I guess the whole idea there is that people joined the Dutch Van der Linde gang willingly. Sorry, Yakuza.
I mean, to be fair, it's also kind of a bit of a weird one where a lot of the girls in this town, a lot of the sex workers, the club workers, it's all very kind of integrated in with the Yakuza. They're kind of like part of the underground in their own way, or the underworld in their own way, where, you know, half their clientele is Yakuza. It kind of just comes with the territory. It's part of the business.
Yeah, it's a whole subculture, isn't it?
Yeah, so when they're brought to the bosses, like, yes, absolutely some icky stuff is going on, but it's kind of part of the gig.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get used to it. We've got 50 more games to go.
Get on board, Neil.
I will say that a lot of that kind of icky stuff phases out as we go on. One of the cool things about the Yakuza series is it's all very based in the real world Japanese laws and like how the Yakuza was at the time. A lot of the games take place in the year they come out. So they're all very kind of based in current modern day.
Oh, so they get woke, Chase. Is that what you're saying? They get woke. Oh.
I mean, you joke, but...
Oh, seriously?
Well, define woke, but...
Well, yeah. Exactly.
I feel like people would call me very woke, but... Anyway, going back, they head off to the bar, and of course Nishiki orders them the top shelf whiskey, only the best. Although, you know, Kiryu's like, not really your style. Kiryu's like, I only joined the Yakuza to chase after Cosmo-san. We learn that Kiryu and Nishiki were orphans, and then Cosmo took them in.
Right.
So Kiryu give anything to repay him. Nishiki reminds them that even though it was a good idea to stay on Cosmo's good graces, he's not technically one of Cosmo's boys. He's Dojima family, which is probably a good time to explain family structure. So the Yakuza works very much in kind of a family structure. It's very hierarchical. So I'll go early, and we've not heard this name yet, but there is the Tojo clan. This is like the Yakuza organization of the east of Japan. Okay. And this is the big blanket organization. Underneath the Tojo is the Dojima family. They are a direct branch family of the Tojo. Okay. They are headed up by Dojima, who we'll meet later. This is the family that Kiryu and Nishiki are part of. Okay. Now, Kazuma is also part of the Dojima family. He's the captain, so the second in command of the Dojima family. Mm-hmm. But then, if you kind of become a big earner, you know, a big name in your family, you might then go branch off again.
Oh, and make your own family.
Yeah, so he has his own Kazuma family.
Okay.
Technically, the only one of him who is, like, under the Dojima banner is Kazuma himself. The rest of them are just under him. Okay. But that's kind of the big branching. So, like, if a Dojima exec came to a Kazuma boy, they'd probably have to listen just because boss is my boss.
So, Kazuma started his own thing, but our main characters aren't really a part of that new thing.
Which we'll learn, because Kazuma very much had his thing when they joined. Okay. And they joined kind of chasing after him, and Kazuma didn't let them in.
Okay.
Oh.
Which we'll get to that in a bit.
Okay, interesting.
Because first, we're gonna sing some karaoke, man!
Yay.
We're gonna sing some karaoke with some Judgment! We're breaking!
I'm gonna cut any time you sing karaoke, and the reason why we're gonna be doing that is because Chase sang a little bit of karaoke at the very end of the Arkham Knight video as a teaser. As a teaser for Yakuza, and immediately that video got demonetized. So
that's so funny, and I am absolutely taking that as a compliment from YouTube.
100%.
Oh, yeah. So we've got some rhythm game karaoke, presumably.
Oh my god, the minigame and the side content is iconic Yakuza. Karaoke, iconic Yakuza. Some of the best songs, fucking, you know, chart-topping numbers like Judgment. And they're great, and we fucking love karaoke.
Is it the voice actors who sing?
Yeah. It was really funny because in the early games, I think in 1 and 2 there wasn't any karaoke, and then this guy who kind of was just a lower rung side story creator kind of went, can we like add this in? I like doing karaoke. Kiryu's a normal dude. A normal dude likes doing karaoke. I think that Kiryu should do some karaoke.
You're a normal dude, Neil. Do you like doing karaoke?
You know what? I have been enticed in the past. It's taken a certain level of intoxication, but when I get up there, I do. I have a good time.
but
yeah,
that little
I
side
do
story-
love it in video games as well. Sleeping Dogs. I've got max stars on all the karaoke songs, which again is the voice actor and is quite well done. Because if you do it badly, the singing will be bad.
What's your go-to karaoke song, Chase?
Sweet Transvestite from
That's
Rocky.
a good one. That's a very good one. Do you have one, Neil?
Kick in the head, Dean Martin.
Oh, that is also a really good one.
Nah, but that little sub-story creator worked his way up, completely rechanged what a Yakuza game was, and now he's the series head director.
Wow.
Yeah!
To the extent where the only thing I said at the start that I really know about these games is wacky side
That's the thing
quests.
is-
Yeah.
People don't necessarily know the serious main story. If people know Yakuza but haven't played the games, they know the side content.
Yeah.
Like, it is iconic, this side content.
I know about the Underwear Man. I remember that. Are you going to do the Underwear Man?
Of course I am.
Okay.
Of course, we'll get to him later.
Oh, Neil, prepare yourself.
We'll get to him later.
I mean, we're all in our underwear. What's
So they enjoy their karaoke and they head off, going to their favorite ramen joint. And before they know it, it's 6:50 a.m.
That's a very specific time.
Yes.
because they have to be at work in 10 minutes.
Nishiki comes out of the bathroom and finds Kiryu struggling his way through, his 10th bowl of ramen. From out of the corner, they hear a news report. At 11 p.m. last night, the body of a young male was found severely beaten in a quiet corner of Kamurocho.
We saw that. That was Kiryu.
Police are ruling it as a homicide. And wait, police are now releasing the identity of the deceased. A face flashes on screen, and as you guys guessed, it is the guy who Kiryu beat senseless last night.
Yes. But wait, he killed him.
Nishiki freaks out, kind of putting two together, and he's like, dude, Kiryu, the fuck? And Kiryu's freaking out as well. He's like, Kiryu sat there like, I beat the guy up. I didn't kill him. I know how to beat a guy up and keep him alive.
Scary fact. I'm glad this game is addressing. If you hit someone in the head with your fist, they can just die. That is a true fact. Your brain can just bleed and you die.
Yeah.
So
They're
a
both-
sober opening.
They're both sat there in the ramen shop, kind of like watching this news report and panicking because Kiryu's like, I didn't fucking kill him. And basically, as soon as the news report gets up, Kiryu gets a page. And it's from Dojima HQ.
Oh no, the bosses are not happy.
The bosses have seen this and they are.
Oh, and we're hungover.
Anyway, back to karaoke.
So, Nishiki specifically where there's worries, because he thinks that this is going to put a target on Cosmosan. Everybody knows that Cosmosan was the one who brought them in. And because of, responsibility and who brought people in, any of their screw-ups are his. He brought them in.
Right, but publicly, Kazuma-san has effectively said, I don't really care that much about them. They're not coming to do my thing.
We'll get more into that later. Cosmo technically brought them into the Yakuza. He's just like, you can't be in my family. I will introduce you to my boss. You can be in his.
Okay.
But he is still their dad, and
But
therefore...
he is, in a way, kind of their adoptive father, in a way.
Cool.
Not technically, but that's how they see it. Anyway, obviously, murder is a big deal. And it doesn't matter if this is Kiryu's screw up. Anybody with their eye on Kazuma's seat as captain is going to be on this. So Nishiki goes on saying that there's been a rumor that the lower bosses of the Dojima family had actually leaked intel on Kazuma's illegal gambling halls, which is what led to him getting arrested and put into prison.
Oh, he's in jail now.
So he's currently in prison.
So there's other people trying to take him down already.
Yeah, and specifically the one whose name keeps coming up is one of the lieutenants of the Dojima family named Kuze.
That lieutenant is lower than captain, right?
Yeah, so it's the patriarch, the captain, and then the lieutenants.
Cool. And what was the name of the lieutenant you said, sorry?
Kuze.
Kuze, okay.
There is also Chief HQ, but that's usually only for the bigger ones, and I don't think the Dojima family has a Chief HQ.
Okay.
I can already feel sorry. I can already feel that there's going to be a lot of names to remember, and unfortunately it seems like this isn't going to be a Kingdom Hearts situation where they've all got a silly gimmick to remember them, like Gambling Man, or Guitar Man, like Water Dance Guy.
Your main characters, I think, will.
Okay.
It's your smaller bit side characters that I think you might start losing some names.
Sure.
But yeah, so Kiryu heads off. Nishiki's like, I will go try and round up as much help as I can for you.
Cool.
So off Kiryu pops in a taxi to the Dojima family HQ.
What an ugly building.
I mean, yeah, but it's also a complex. And this is one of the kind of things that's like very important is this isn't like a hidden building. They have Dojima family plastered on the side of the wall. They are very, we are here, and kind of publicly facing. They're businesses. They run themselves legally as a business, a public entity.
Well, you got to invest in that branding.
Yeah, so, this is the Dojima family office. So he's led inside to a conference room where he's met face-to-face with the 3 Dojima family lieutenants. Keiji Shibusawa, Hiroki Awano, and Daisuke Kuze.
Be honest, at least a couple of these dudes immediately look like video game characters who are going to betray us later.
Funny you say that because these are all very iconic actors who are all face mo cast.
I think it's the pompadour haircut that does it.
God damn it.
Also, I'd like to point out these very cool freeze frames where this happens in the Yakuza series anytime that a new character is introduced. Is it kind of freeze frames them and goes doom doom, and it puts up their name and title.
Oh, so these guys are all going to be bosses later then?
Not necessarily. It does this for non-bosses as well.
Oh, okay.
It did it for Nishiki earlier.
Everyone we've seen so far.
Yeah, I think the only one who it didn't do it for is Kiryu.
Cool, fair enough.
Because why would you need it for your main man?
Be totally honest with us, Chase. Which one of these do we need to care most about and really remember?
All of them.
Fuck, okay.
All 3 of them. These are your 3 main.
Can't go with the fact that, Awano and Kuze, literally, in the in-game model, they have the same hair.
This is the really weird thing. They look very similar here. In gameplay, they don't look even vaguely similar. Biggest thing you'll remember, Awano, he's always in a purple suit. Kuze always has the popped collar, and you can see some of his stuff, glass, yeah. They won't look the same when they're not in black and white.
Cool. Pinstripe, pop collar, purple suit. Easy.
Yeah. Got this. Smarty boy, angry boy, smarmy boy.
Okay.
So, Kiryu bows deeply to his superiors who tell him off for making them wait. You have all the lieutenants of the Dojima family lined up to see you? I'm sure you know why. Kuzi says how the loan shark who Kiryu was collecting for called them, insisting that he hadn't told Kiryu to kill the guy. All while Awano goes on about how he's not so sure Kiryu's a murderer. He's surprised as anyone else that a pro would screw up this badly over a measly 300 grand.
Oh, Awano's on our team then. He's on our side. Oh, okay.
So
is he kind of going, I can't imagine that you would have mucked up that badly, right?
Yeah, but these 3 are kind of all currently against Kiryu. They are also all against each other.
Great. Love it.
Everybody is out for everybody. Okay. So Kuze leans back in his chair. None of that really matters, though. The issue is how you make it right for murdering a civilian. Kiryu tries to defend himself, but he's cut off by Awano, saying that guy was scum. 7, maybe 8 years of eating government slop, and he'll be out easy. And Kiryu's shocked that they'd have him go to prison, but as far as they're concerned, that gets the cops off their back. This was kind of a time where, because the Yakuza was very public-facing, if a murder happened, they'd kind of just throw a bit guy at the cops, and the cops would be like, cool. We got somebody to pin it on.
Yeah.
Bye. This is kind of actually, even in real life, only really changed in the past 10 years, where they're kind of putting more responsibility on the higher ranks. Back then, even if one of these 3 killed, they'd just throw one of their lowest ranking members in prison.
Oh, so to your knowledge, in the real world, have there been substantial Yakuza arrests in the past 10, 20 years?
Oh, yes. Yeah, no. And cool. Those are actually reflected in some later Yakuza games. We'll get to those when we get to those.
Cool.
But there have been some massive anti-Yakuza laws put out in the past, 10 years.
Good for Japan.
Yeah, so putting him in prison, get the cops off them easy. But the bigger problem is how are they going to get attention away from the venue? See, it turns out that this is all very much screwed with the plans of the lieutenants, because specifically that empty lot where Kiryu beat down the guy was important to them.
It's just an alleyway. Okay.
That's kind of the point. So seemingly they think it's convenient, thinking that Captain Kazuma is the one pulling the strings behind this murder, just to fuck with all of them.
Kazuma wouldn't sell out his own man, though.
They're all against each other. All 3 of them are trying for his seat.
Yeah, but no, he wouldn't sell out Kiryu, though. Surely.
Well, that's what they think.
Okay.
I mean, that's what they think, is at least.
Well, they probably would sell out their own guys, so why wouldn't they assume that other people would?
Good point.
Exactly, yeah. So, they're kind of sat there like, why did you choose that place? Why of everywhere in Kamurocho was it this specific place that we 3 needed? That must have been Cosmo's doing.
I love that alleyway!
Yeah. And also, where the fuck did Kiryu get a gun? Did Cosmo give Kiryu the gun too?
Wait, Kiryu has a gun?
Well, that's the thing, is Kiryu's like, I don't have a gun. Mm-hmm. The fuck is this? And the lieutenant's like, don't fucking play dumb. Yeah, the body's beaten to hell, but it was the bullet wound to his head that killed him.
Oh, someone's framed him.
So Kiryu at this point is like, bitch, I don't have a gun! I didn't do this! But Awano was like, full of shit. Full of shit, you fucking killed him. You got a gun, pew pew, to the brain. But
Is that what that Yakuza lieutenant says, does it?
yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah, he's also been brain rotted by TikTok. He's been...
verbatim what he says.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Can't believe you
Kiryu, you unalived that guy!
I know that you all have gotten very used to Monty and Neil's accents. I refuse.
Absolutely.
Might be a bit problematic here.
Yeah, in this case, we also wouldn't be doing accents.
Kuze doesn't give a shit about the gun. He's still focused on the lot, and he's asking Kiryu again, why? Like, one more time. He's like, why there? And Kiryu's like, that's where the loan shark told me to do it. You know, put it on him. The loan shark told me to do it there. So the lieutenants calm down a bit, and they're like, we're going to need to question the loan shark. But given that Kiryu's even like kind of related to having this killing, there's still going to be repercussions, especially being there on that other project.
So if you've played Yakuza 1 before this, do you know what this other project is? Are you playing the prequel going, oh yeah, I know why the lot is important? Or do you also not know?
The lot's not important to Yakuza 1. The lot is the plot of this game.
Ah, okay, cool.
I'm surprised you don't know what this lot is, given you played 2/3 of this game.
I remember real estate plays a massive part, but I'm not going to lie, all I remember is the tattoo, Neil.
Which is very funny, because the tattoo's important, but it's not nearly as important as this lot.
And I remember really liking Majima. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't? That's why I made you give me his face.
Yeah.
So Awano looks over at Kuze asking what he thinks. And, you know, he's like, only one thing to be done. Awano and Shibusawa get up and walk out, leaving Kuze alone with Kiryu. Kuze pulls out a cigarette, glaring at Kiryu as he puts it to his lips. Kiryu runs over with a lighter, kind of like rushing out to light it for him. Kuze laughs, saying that Kiryu looks fully lost, filling him in that the body was found in a place that they are calling the empty lot. And the boss of the Dojima family gave an order to the lieutenants that he wants that lot by any means necessary.
Do we ever meet the big boss of the Dojima family?
Yeah.
Yeah, across 50 games, I would assume they have
I
time.
meant this game.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? We'll meet Dojima.
Cool.
You will have met Dojima in the time that you play.
Remember a tattoo?
But yeah, so now a murder's happened there. That's gonna make it a lot harder to make a move on that land. So Kiryu's still like, but what does that have to do with Kazuma? Kuze, he sneers. He's like, seems there's a little prize for whoever's gonna deliver that lot. Kazuma's captain's seat. Ooh. That lot is now everything to these three lieutenants who are vying for Kazuma's seat.
You lose your captaincy if you're in jail.
No, he's very much, because you can still do things from jail.
Yeah, exactly. So why would his captain's seat be up for offer?
Because Dojima and Kazuma kind of have a bit of a contentious relationship.
Okay, right. Okay. So he's looking for an excuse.
He's basically looking for an excuse to kind of oust Kazuma himself.
I do distinctly remember Kuze as being quite a consistent little prick. Out of the three of these guys, he's the one I keep remembering.
Kuze is probably the most consistent antagonist to Kiryu. Right. I wouldn't inherently call him the big bad. Right. But he is definitely the most frequent bad.
So Kuze is a name to really remember. I know you say remember all of them, but Kuze is the one that I'm hyper-focusing on.
Exactly, yeah.
Whereas I would take night classes with Shibusawa.
Yeah.
He looks like a kind of quite stern substitute teacher.
I mean, he's very much like, they're like, you know, hot-headed Yakuza guys. He's the calm, collected, like...
He's the one you need to watch out for, then.
He's the smarty brain.
He's the one who's going to turn out to be the big bad.
Pulling the strings all along. Yeah.
So, Kiryu is...
Yeah, move on. We see you. We see you.
No, I'm just looking at the fact we've done 50 minutes and not finished chapter 1.
That's fine.
Kiryu is furious that they would throw Kazuma to the side like that, but Kuze doesn't give a shit. He gives up, telling Kiryu to turn himself in to the cops for the end of the day, and leave your little finger behind when you do. You're Yakuza. When you say your goodbyes to the boss, you gotta do it right.
What, so as in like you cut off your pinky finger?
It's a very big Yakuza thing that you cut off your pinky finger as kind of like a sign of subservience.
Oh.
This is basically like I fucked up. Here is this. It comes from the fact that back in feudal Japan, you need your pinky finger to balance a katana. Oh. So if you cut off your pinky finger,
you cannot be.
Then you can't wield a katana correctly. So you're basically saying like, I'm doing this so to show that I cannot be of danger to you, boss.
That's messed up, but it's really cool.
I don't know if we'll ever cover, just a side note, one of my favorite things ever in gaming is, I don't know if we'll ever cover Assassin's Creed, but in the original game, you know the hidden blade chase. Yeah. In the very first game, our first protagonist has to have their the ring finger cut off on that hand so the blade can come out. And by the time it gets to 2, several hundred years later, the new protagonist, like, they pretend to cut his finger off and they're like, don't be ridiculous, we redesigned it. Why would you have to cut your finger off to do this? Yeah, you just pull your hand back now, it just comes out.
This is Italy, the Romans invented the aqueducts. We're not doing this shit.
So Kiryu heads back to Kamurocho, fully like, fuck that, I'm not turning myself in, I'm gonna go find that fucking loan shark. I want to know who's set me up. Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm skipping this shit. The fighting teacher shows up again. Okay. His name's Bacchus. He has another guy named Kamoji.
I'm seeing why the script is so long.
No edits.
Well, the important part here is, some guys come to beat them up, and Bacchus' friend Kamoji, he's like weaving, he's fighting, he's dodging. Kiryu's like, that's rad.
It's the 80s.
That's rad.
Yeah.
The only important thing to this is that Yakuza 0 had a very cool system where you have multiple fighting styles. Technically 4, but 3 in the base game. The 4th like special style for later. So this is Kiryu seeing a guy do some cool weaving and dodging moves and going, that's rad, I can make a fighting style out of that, and then getting a fighting style that is focused mainly on dodging.
I remember, I don't know if it's a spoiler, you're going to go in depth with all the fighting styles, because there's one fighting style I remember.
Is it one of Majima's?
I think so.
I know the one you're on about.
Do you want me to mention it, or
no,
you?
Cool.
Yeah,
so
that is cool.
I'll kind of mention briefly, Kiryu has the brawler style, which is kind of your classic beat 'em up. He has the rush style, which is more, bobby weavy. That's his kind of like, that's his like agility based style, his dexterity style. And then I think I mentioned it later. He also has beast style, which is
power bombs and pile drivers.
Very defender. That's much more focused on like, I'm gonna pick things up and hit you with the things.
Cool.
Yeah, that's rad.
I've already got the wrestlers in mind that fit with each of these.
So we head off to the loan shark's office, and there are already men gathered. They are clearly expecting Kiryu there. And we get into the first of our classic kind of Yakuza dungeons. So I use dungeon very loosely here. There's dungeon meaning an office building that Kiryu fights 1 billion men through.
Can I ask, is there a warehouse at any point?
I'm 99% certain, yes.
There are 50,000 warehouses.
There are so many warehouses.
Yeah.
So
maybe a factory down by the docks?
Yeah. So he fights his way up to the office building until he finally makes it to the boss's office. He's there very panicked that his men didn't manage to stop Kiryu. He sat there with a gun. Like, how do you even make it here?
So this is the loan shark.
The loan shark, yeah. So Kiryu wants him to explain why he set him up. Just a little chat. You and me. And he just walks straight. The loan shark sat there with a gun. Kiryu's just like, just a little chat. I just want a little fucking chat. Walking like straight up to the gun, just unfazed.
So I guess banking on the fact that no loan shark would just shoot a Yakuza in the head.
Well, that's the thing is he clearly, Mr. Loan Shark don't got it what it takes. He chickens out and he puts the gun down and he's like, I'll tell you everything. He says he only sent you there because he was told to send Kiryu there.
Yeah, no doubt.
By somebody else. And Kiryu's like, well, who the fuck? And the boss starts to go before he is cut off by, oh no, it was Kuze all along. How could we have seen this coming?
Kuze, don't do this to us.
Wait, Kuze set up Kiryu?
Your face. Sorry, everyone. Monty's face has the sort of fascinated stare of someone going, I don't remember a single moment of this.
No.
And also like a look of, this is quite interesting.
I'm on board. I'm on board.
Kuze walks in and Kiryu kind of turns around and he's like, it was you. And Kuze just walks up to Kiryu and he's like, didn't I tell you to go turn yourself into the cops? Here you are doing fucking dumb shit. He punches Kiryu in the gut. And just Kiryu collapses in a heap. And he looks at his face and he goes, guess I'm going soft. Used to be able to straighten out little shits like you in one punch. So he shoos the loan shark out. He's like, my office now. Go away. Go away. And he sits down in his seat. And he's like, glad we finally get the chance to talk. You and me, Kiryu. Face to face. No bullshit.
We were just in your office 5 minutes ago talking.
Alone.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, that was in his boss's office.
Right.
So he's now like, we're out. Nobody else can hear us here.
Yeah.
Little heart to heart. And he's like, Kiryu, why don't you join my side? Cosma, old shit. Remember that orphanage that Cosma runs? Sunflower? It's just a front. Which, this is the first time we mentioned, Cosma has an orphanage.
Okay.
It's called Sunflower. That's where Kiryu and Nishiki grew up.
Right. So Kazuma has an orphanage where he grooms little boys to join his Yakuza club.
I don't like that word, but that is the implication.
Yeah, so I don't mean grooming that way. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right.
Grim.
That is grim.
Yeah, so Kusei's like, Sunflower is just a place where Cosma builds loyalties from the kids he fosters and he turns them into Yakuza shields for himself.
Kazuma, bad bloke.
Yeah, let's get this Kazuma guy.
Kuze
Let's join
seems
Kuze.
Very trustworthy.
So, Kusei lays his cards out. He's like, I want you, Kiryu, to spy on Cosma for me. Cosma has a secret last piece of information about the empty lot that Kusei needs. Now, Kiryu's like, Kusei, you fucking set up everything to get to this. And Kusei's like, fucking maybe. Who knows?
Definitely winging it.
But if you turn down my offer, you're going to prison. Later. I can get you off if, you take my offer, but you're going to prison. So Kiryu is, of course, like, dude, Cosma's my fucking bro. Absolutely not. Fucking love Cosma.
Kazuma's my da.
Cosma's my dad. And Kusei's like, you fucking want to be making an enemy of me? And Kiryu walks out and he's like, I wouldn't be able to call myself a Yakuza if I got scared of somebody like you.
Ooh, risky. Risky.
Yeah,
you
very
were
risky.
you were running up to light this dude's cigarette 5 minutes ago. We're getting too big for our boots here.
Well, I mean, I think at this point he's kind of like, I've already fucked myself. They have fucked me. I don't have anything to lose.
It's a countdown to the cops arriving now, really.
Kiryu leaves the loan shark office and he gets a page from Nishiki, which I love how in this game, because it was, of course, back in the day when games needed you to go to a physical save point, payphones are your save point. And I love that when you get the page, of course you can't respond to anybody on the page, so you can just go over the payphone. Be like, Nishiki, hello.
Nishiki, I'd like to save, please.
But so he hears that Nishiki is over at the Cosma family office talking to Cosma's captain Kashiwagi for advice. So they're not in the Cosma family, but obviously they're still very close to the Cosma family.
So Kazuma's captain.
Is this of his spin-off family?
So this is of the Cosma family.
Okay.
Cosma is the patriarch. He's
Yeah.
Cosma is simultaneously
Of his
the captain.
subfamily.
Yeah, he is the captain of the Dojima, but he's the patriarch of the Cosma family.
So annoying. Kazuma should just quit being a captain to focus on his full-time
same
gig
way-
elsewhere.
Well, so what would normally happen is if you have a branch family, you're basically working towards eventually becoming Tojo Direct. So basically, currently, he's not big enough to go do his own thing.
But the same
He needs to stay under Dojima right now.
the same way that Kuze is the head of his own stuff, he's also just the lieutenant of.
Exactly, yeah. So each of those lieutenants also has their own family, which is why currently at this point in the series, the Dojima family is the largest and most powerful family in the Tojo clan. Patriarch Dojima holds a shit ton of power.
So excited for your inevitable power vacuum game.
Yeah. So it's like YouTube channels. It's like Kazuma's got like the Monty Xander YouTube channel, which he's trying to build, but at the same time he's just like a little piece of the lordom.
Similar levels of organized crime going on in both.
Dojima is the Monty Xander channel. Cosma's Lordom channel, obviously.
And Neil's bedtime stories coming soon will very much be the lieutenant to the Lordom.
Anyway,
Hey, I'd watch those. Sorry, continue.
Kiryu heads over to the Cosma family office over on Tenkaichi Street, where he finds Nishiki and an older Yakuza slurping on some noodles, Osamu Kashiwagi, who he kind of gives the vibes of like an older cousin to them.
Right.
There's a definite fondness between them, but it's not brotherly. There is enough distance that he can kind of like still hold the air of authority over them.
Cool.
Kashiwagi is a smart cookie. He already has worked fucking everything out. He knows Kuze set Kiryu up. He knows Kuze's going for Cosma's seat. He's in on it. And he also knows that Kuze would have been like, hey, Kiryu, go spy on Cosma. And Kiryu's like trying to reveal all this to Kashiwagi, but it's really more kind of revealing it all to Nishiki because Kashiwagi just fucking already knows everything.
Cool.
And Kashiwagi's like, don't worry, I got you. I know more about the empty lot. So, what he tells Kiryu is that the Kamurocho redevelopment project, which remember we saw on that newspaper from the very start of the game,
Yes.
the Kamurocho redevelopment project needs a shit ton of land. They're basically trying to kind of completely redo Kamurocho, and Dojima has been buying up massive swaths of that land so that basically he's like kind of buying it all low and he's going to sell it as a package, as a premium. The issue is that he has this massive parcel that he wants to sell at a package, but right in the center is a little tiny dot that he doesn't own.
Who owns it?
Who knows?
Okay.
I hope it's just some stubborn old man. Because whenever you see stories like that happening in real life with some old guy in America that refuses to sell his plot and a big development goes up around this little...
My family's been here for 20 generations.
So this tiny little alley, as you called it, it is an insignificant alley, but it is right in the center of this massive parcel of land that Dojima wants to sell off. And because of that, the rest of the land's useless. Nobody wants to buy land with a hole in it.
So Dojima has a donut he's tried to sell. The plot of Yakuza 0, everybody.
So Dojima, he'd be willing to spend 1 billion yen on that lot. But the issue is, owner's gone missing. Dojima's already sunk over 10 bill buying up everything around it. So he fucking needs to find this owner. And he kind of suspects that, that this missing information Cosma has is the identity of this owner.
Oh, okay.
But nobody can confirm that. You're kind of just suspecting that.
It'd be much easier as it is over here nowadays to just Google exactly who owns every part of the country.
There's a whole side plot where Kiryu just works through the yellow pages.
Yeah, so this whole framing Kiryu thing has been double effective. Because not only is it kind of trying to get Cosma out in the open with this info, but it's also like, Kiryu, your head's on the chopping block. But Kiryu's like, I'm taking care of this my own way. I'm gonna leave the Dojima family.
Oh, I thought you couldn't.
You technically can't.
Okay.
You technically can't. He's like, this is my way. This is how I'm owning up. I'm gonna retire as a Yakuza. And once Kuze is no longer my superior, then I don't need to suck up to him. I can find out who really framed me.
£10 says that every Yakuza game involves Kiryu trying to retire. £10. I'm putting the money on the table right now.
Nobody's gonna take you up on that.
Obviously, everybody's fucking against this. You know, you don't just leave the Yakuza. They'll fucking kill you for that. But as you quickly learn, once Kiryu has an idea in his head, you can't fucking reason with him. He is just going to do it. And because Kiryu, of course, loves his extremes, he's not going to go quit to Kuze. No. He's going straight to the fucking top.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, he's going to go speak to Mr. Dojima.
He's going to go speak to Patriarch Dojima and tell him himself.
This seems like a sensible idea.
Well, it's a sensible idea. So Kashiwagi, he goes up to Kiryu. He's like, grabs him by the fucking collar and punch him in the face. He's like, you are a dumb shit. And Kiryu's like, yeah, and? And he's like, Nishiki, get in the car. Thanks, Kashiwagi. Later. I'll be back when I'm not a Yakuza anymore.
Okay, sure, yeah.
He heads off to the Dojima HQ, and along the way, Kiryu, he thinks back on his time at the Sunflower Orphanage. So we see a little flashback where Kiryu and Nishiki are on the ground outside. It's raining, they're covered in mud, and Cosma is standing above them. We see Kiryu shouting at Cosma about how he's a hypocrite for not letting him join the Yakuza. Kiryu's seen the respect, the idolization that people give to Cosma. Is it so wrong for an orphan to dream of that life?
Oh, so Kazuma didn't want Kiryu to join the Yakuza.
No.
Oh.
No. But the next day after that argument, they were Yakuza. So they Cosma didn't want them to join. He's like, this isn't a life for you.
So his orphanage isn't typically a feeder into the Yakuza. Oh, okay.
Ah, good guy.
It's all very unclear.
Unless one child slightly argues with you,
Parenting.
then get them into the Yakuza.
Yeah, so he's
Kiryu, go sit on the naughty step.
So he basically, he's like, I don't want you guys to join the Yakuza. Now that I say that, they might have actually gone around his back to just join the Dojima family. I don't 100% remember as to whether Cosma introduced them or whether they just went around his back.
Right now, how do you think we should feel about Kazuma?
Confused.
Cool, that's fine.
I think that Cosma gets a lot of information dump about him.
Right.
I think that the kind of biggest important fact that you need out of Cosma at the minute is he's very powerful and Kiryu idolizes him.
Cool, okay.
Those are like the two Cosma 101 facts that are important. So they get to the gate of Dojima HQ, Kiryu going up to the gate guard and telling him to pass Dojima a message that Cosma Kiryu is here to end his oath. Nishiki wishes us luck, and we head in alone.
I mean, I've been scared handing in my notice for a job before. But this seems a whole other level.
So Kiryu heads in, and he's brought to the same conference room as before, where of course Kuze sat there waiting for us.
This guy.
With all his men. I mean, you see, Saturdays at 8, it's bad time, and the boss's favorite show's on TV. So I guess anything that Kiryu wants to say to Dojima, he's just gonna have to tell Kuze instead.
I'll wait for Deal or No Deal to finish, thank you very much.
Kuze looks at Kiryu, saying, why the fuck is your pinky still in your hand? What is that? Asking to leave and showing up empty-handed? That ain't how things work.
No, I showed up full-handed. That's the problem you have.
So
Come on!
Very good. So if Kiryu cuts off his pinky, he can probably leave the Yakuza? Is that
Oh god, no, they're gonna kill him regardless.
Right.
Or send him to jail is the best case scenario as far as Kuze is concerned.
The pinky is just a punishment for cocking up.
Yeah, at this point, they're basically like, you're just showing us more disrespect
You are
not only showing up, asking to leave, but by showing up and not even having this gift of your pinky.
You're the scapegoat either way. You're gonna die or go to jail. But now the jail option's probably kind of gone, right? You're gonna die. Like,
I don't think that they're quite yet to the you are dead. I think they're still vaguely on you are in prison, but he's gonna have a bad time. He's gonna have a real bad time. So Kiryu ain't having it. He's like, take me to Dojima. I want to go to Dojima. So Kuze gets up, he punches him right in the stomach. No pinky, no cash. You think you can just come and ask to leave? Yakuza ain't some sort of after-school club, and you can't just quit when you get tired of it. Snap, snap, snap. Kuze leans in, telling Kiryu that again, kind of like very quiet, he's like, the only way out of here alive is if you agree to be a spy for Cosma. Kiryu, he's like, I want to see the boss. Take me to the boss. Kuze's like, you had your chance. I'll wash my hands. And he turns to one of his boys like, erase Kiryu. I'm gone. And the other guy's like, well, it's not fancy, but, a live burial up in the mountain's probably easiest. Or they could just, melt him down with chemicals, dump him into the river. But no, Kuze wants a body. It shows that the Dojima family's big on discipline. Tojo HQ's gonna like that.
okay.
From the ground, Kiryu looks up, asking Kuze if he's really just gonna kill family without the boss's permission. Kuze sneers down at Kiryu, saying, you just left the family.
Yeah, good point. I was just gonna say the same thing.
I like Kuze.
That ain't the boss's problem anymore, which is just what Kiryu was waiting to hear. Kiryu throws a massive punch right into Kuze's boy, knocking him across the room. Kuze turns like, you fucking crazy? He outranks you. And Kiryu's like, outranks me? You just fucking said I left the family. I'm a civilian now.
Yeah.
That was your words, not mine. I can go toe whoever the fuck I want.
This is just wordplay. None of this means anything.
We're confused henchmen. Like, can we hit him now? Or are we not allowed to?
Who's in the family? Who's out the family? Who's a subset? Who's got a spin-off family?
Kuze goes. He's like, if you manage to make it up to me alive, maybe I'll hear what you have to say. Cue the Dojima office dungeon. All of Kuze's men rush him. Kiryu's like rushing through, jumping through windows.
I remember this being like, it's fun. It's quite comical though, how many men are in this building. It's like corridors of like 50 blokes you're punching through.
Oh, that is straight up like every single Yakuza dungeon. It's like just an office building, and then you'll like turn a corner and somebody's like going at it with a machine gun or something.
Yeah.
There's like 80 dudes. There's always a big old fat dude who's like holding a couch or something, and he hits you over the head with a couch, and you can't walk past him. You need to kill him.
That's someone's couch.
It's his couch. It's his weapon of choice.
It's almost like the second Matrix movie where he fights all the Agent Smiths. It kind of feels like that at points.
Just a building full of 500 orphaned men.
My favorite one is you jump through a window and you end up in a bathroom and you kind of just grab all the people's faces and you shove them into urinals.
Oh, God.
Just swirling them through the toilets.
Swirlies.
But he eventually makes it up to the top. Up to this point, it's been kind of very office building. Here's the top, and it's a very ornate Japanese-style room.
Oh, I love that.
Very, like, the sliding doors, the tatami mat floors. And right in the middle of the floor is Kuze. He's got a jacket draped over his back, and he compliments Kiryu, saying how, Cosma scouted a pretty solid kid. Kiryu tries to demand answers as to who's behind the empty lot hit. But Kuze tells him, no, don't get ahead of yourself. He gets up, throwing off his jacket to reveal the first of our sick-ass Yakuza tattoos.
He's ripped.
Oh god.
He's not old.
Yeah, so the background for Kuze is that he used to be a boxer.
Oh.
And he's like, I liked punching people, so I became a criminal.
Cool.
Which legitimately is the motivation for like half of the Yakuza. But yeah, so he's got his sick ass Enma tattoo. Which the real cool thing about all these tattoos in the series, every one of the tattoos in the series was designed by actual tattoo artists who do tattoos for the Yakuza.
That is awesome.
We love that.
They're all very correct, very traditional.
That's bad. That is the coolest thing you've told us, Chase.
Sadly, those tattoos don't make him any stronger. So Kiryu, whack, pat, pow, boxing moves straight to the face, no holds barred. Kuze's down.
Cool.
From the ground, Kuze's calling for the other lieutenants. He's like, fucking deal with Kiryu. And they come in, and they do walk into the room, but they just kind of look at him.
Oh.
And they move to the side as a man fully dressed in traditional Japanese attire walks out. Patriarch Sohei Dojima.
Oh.
The big man.
He kind of looks, and this doesn't help anybody at home, but he kind of looks like my father-in-law.
Oh my god, he does. Oh my god,
Holy
he does.
shit, he does. Yeah. Anyone that wants to know kind of what a Japanese version of the Nubus's father looks like, it's Dojima-san, patriarch of the Dojima family.
That's so funny, and I kind of want to put him in some Yakuza cosplay now.
So do I.
Oh my god.
Very good. Sorry, so Dojima's here at last.
Oh, so Dojima looks down, he's disapprovingly at Kuze, saying how he can't have his lieutenants making asses of themselves. You're certainly no Kazuma.
Whoa.
And he looks over at Kiryu, and he's very calm. He's like, "Here, you wasted a guy on a collection run. Sound like a fucking moron."
Not wrong.
Kiryu looks up at Dojima in the eye, and he's like, I didn't kill that man, but, you know, I'm here. Because of me, there's heat on the family. And he asks for Dojima to expel him from the family.
Cool.
Kuze gets up, and he's like, it ain't gonna fly. You know, Dojima, I'll take care of him. Dojima looks over, and he's like, Kuze, you'd kill a civilian?
Oh.
Put a shirt on.
Yeah, you're doing too much, cause
I mean, he's sat there like, dude, Kuze, you decided on your own to let Kiryu out of the family. I'm not taking that back. Kiryu's out. You're gonna go kill a civilian? Kiryu tries back. He's like, I didn't do that. And the lieutenants are like, okay, but you did.
Yeah.
You did. Are you lying to the boss, man? And Awano walks up to Kuze, and he places a small wooden board on the ground next to him.
Oh.
And on the board, he puts a knife. Kuze kind of looks pleadingly at Dojima, but he's met only with this just stone face. The lieutenants walk up to him, telling him how he knows the drill. Gotta take accountability and show everyone what kind of man he is. He gets down, drawing the knife and putting his hand on the board. Ooh. Pinky outstretched. He goes, look close. And he downs it on the pinky.
Wait, so who does he say look close to? Kiryu?
All of them.
Oh, all of them. Just
yeah, he's like fucking...
So Dojima cuts off Kuze's finger.
No, Kuze cuts his finger. No. The boss won't cut off your finger. You need to do it yourself.
Understood.
You need to do it yourself to show the boss.
But Kuze does it, not willingly, I guess, but he's like, I know the rules and I will follow the rules.
He's kind of like, this is the kind of fucking man I am. Watch this.
Wow, here, Kuze, badass. Sorry. I don't know if this is a thing.
So back and forth on
I feel like I wasn't expecting Kuze to get this much love.
Kuze is currently my favorite character.
I love how the other lieutenants are such little shits. Everyone's such a little shit in this. They're like, oh, here you go, boss. I brought the knife. There you go. We heard him say it. We heard him.
Kuze had lost a verbal sparring match with Kiryu and has now just gone, fine, yeah, I lost, cuts off his own finger. Yeah. Stellar.
A great end to the game, by the way. He gets out of the Yakuza. Yeah. The boss is defeated. It's a good end to it.
This was short and sweet, Chase. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. An hour and a half and we've already finished the game.
Wow. So, thank you, everyone, for... Oh, no. Epilogue.
Epilogue. Blood splatters. And Shibusawa goes over, grabs the pinky, he wraps up in a little handkerchief, and he hands it off to the boss. Kuze looks,
Does he pickle them? What does he do with the fingers?
It kind of depends on the boss. Even in the real world, some of them bury them next to like a tree in their garden. Some of them keep them in the freezer. Some of them put them on like a little altar in their room.
Can you grab me a drink? No, not that freezer. That's the finger freezer.
Yeah, so Kuze kind of like glares at Kiryu and he slinks off to go nurse that. Dojima looks over at Kiryu, again saying, you're out. You're gone, expelled, bye. Kiryu, nice low bow, and Dojima's like, why would you go through all this trouble? Kiryu's like, I didn't kill the guy, but, regardless, it's the guy I beat up, so I will, that's giving the family trouble. I will go, take some wave responsibility here. And he kind of begs Dojima, he's like, but please leave Cosma out of this. Dojima's like, how are you going to take responsibility? And Kiryu's like, I'm going to catch the real hitman. And the lieutenant's like, leave that to the police. You're a civilian now, not your place. Dojima walks over to him and he's like, yeah, responsibility's been paid for the hit. He'll handle the rest. But the screw up here still made it harder on them to get the land. And because Cosma brought Kiryu in, don't know if they can let that slide. He kind of pats Kiryu. And he's like, go get a nice cushy civilian job.
Oh, he's let him leave.
Well, he's letting him leave, but he's like, but Cosma's still getting, don't get involved, and Cosma's not getting out of this.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
This worked out great for Kiryu.
No, he didn't. His father's gonna get killed.
Screw Kazuma.
Yeah, screw Kazuma. The Kazuma, because I've been neck deep in June and rereading June at the moment. The Kazuma Dojima relationship reminds me a bit of the Emperor and Leto. I don't know if you know the books or the films at all. But like the Emperor kind of sees Leto, who is the father who, spoilers, dies in the first book in the first film. Sees him kind of as a son, but is also sort of intimidated by him and working against him because he's almost similarly like an underboss who's like risen up the ranks, maybe a bit too big for his boots in the Emperor's eyes. I don't know, that it's kind of the way you've described it's kind of reminded me of that relationship.
Yeah. So Kiryu leaves, and he returns to Kamurocho, kind of very crestfallen, falling to the ground dramatically as the rain pours down over him. Sad boy moment. When suddenly he's approached by a mysterious man. Ooh. He extends a hand to Kiryu, introducing himself as Tachibana.
It's such a good look. So Tachibana has, he's wearing a suit, but he's wearing leather gloves with the suit. It's always such a cool look.
Yeah.
I love that look. Leather gloves with a suit.
And he tells Kiryu that he's been waiting a long time to meet him. And then the screen fades to black.
Oh, wow.
End of game.
Wow.
Chapter 2!
Oh, there's more chapters.
The real estate broker in the shadows.
I told you fucking real estate's in this game. It's all about the real estate.
That. The whole plot in this game is real estate.
So, the scene opens with Tachibana. He has a luxurious penthouse overlooking the series. And we get a nice shot of Kiryu in the shower. As well as the first shot of the beginnings of what will become Kiryu's iconic dragon tattoo.
Oh, so it's just the outline.
It's just the outline for now. He is not...
Yeah, you got to do that shit over a few sessions.
Symbolically, he is not... See, this is... This is where we're starting to get into some things where whether I did Yakuza 0 first or I did Yakuza 0 later, there's some things that it kind of expects you to know, and you don't necessarily need to. What you will know is that Kiryu iconically becomes the Dragon of Dojima.
Right.
This is like his title through the rest of the games, which I'm not massively kind of a spoiler because he is called that by the starting moments of Yakuza 1.
Who calls him that? Does Kiryu call himself?
Everybody calls him that.
Call me Dragon.
No, Kiryu doesn't shun the nickname, but he doesn't call himself that.
Right.
But so this is kind of basically symbolic of he's not yet grown into the dragon name.
Cool.
This is still BB Kiryu.
BB Kiryu.
So Kiryu comes out, where Tachibana explains to him that he is a civilian. Oh, okay. And he's like, I run a real estate business in Kamurocho. Also, look, I have a prosthetic hand. He's like, there you go, Kiryu. Things you need to know.
Is that why he wears the glove?
Yeah, that's right. He wears the glove.
Oh.
So he goes on to describe Kiryu's life, how he and Nishiki grew up at Sunflower with Ayumi Sawamura, who we'll get into Yumi Sawamura later. But basically, Nishiki, Yumi, and Kiryu essentially like a little family unit. Kind of felt like siblings. They were all orphans at Cosmo's orphanage, Sunflower, and they kind of all saw Cosmo as their father.
Okay.
So Kiryu is like, fucking done your research, but what do you want? Fucking obviously the empty lot. He's a real estate broker.
Yeah.
And he's like, Kiryu, I got an offer. Join me, and we'll get the lot before the Dojima family. Then we can protect Cosmo. Kiryu's like, can I have my clothes back?
This whole conversation takes place in the shower.
No, it takes place in the penthouse. He's like come out in a bathrobe.
Oh, okay. Still.
Looking very sensual, muscles rippling under the bathrobe. He's like, that offer's way too convenient. And Tajimon is like, hope you'll reconsider. Here's my card. There you go. So Kiryu heads to the Cosmo family office. But he's a civilian. He doesn't really have a place in a Yakuza office now, so he kind of like looks up at the window and he sees Kashiwagi-san in the window, and they kind of like exchange a glance, and then Kashiwagi walks away.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, different worlds.
Yeah.
Oh.
But obviously,
Passing ships.
Nishiki, they're bros. So he comes down, he's like, yeah, you're not dead. Woo! So they fill each other in, and Kiryu goes to his apartment, but not before he's accosted by, oh no, it's a huge Reddit man who wants his money.
Reddit man. Is that because he's wearing a fedora?
Oh, it's the neckbeard, it's the fedora, it's the glass. Can you not tell me that this man gives you Milady energy?
He's too built for that.
It's Mr. Shakedown.
Oh.
He's gonna shake you down for your cash.
Oh,
right.
He beats the shit out of Kiryu.
Really?
Yeah, he beats the shit out of Kiryu and takes his money.
Oh.
Mr. Shakedown, I just wanted to put him in here because he's really amusing. Basically, he's a dude who walks around town, beating up people and stealing their money. And anytime you see him, he'll kind of have like a cash pot over his head.
Oh.
And if you can beat him, you can take all his money.
Is he a difficult fight?
In the early game, oh god, yes. He will wreck your shit in the early game.
Oh, he's like a little optional boss just walking around the world. That's really fun.
Yeah, basically, he kind of just wanders around Kamurocho, and you can go and kill him. And every time, like, the longer you leave him, the bigger his pot grows.
Amazing.
So it's great.
Are the Yakuza not doing anything about him?
Yeah.
He keeps beating the shit out of them. I just wanted to put Mr. Shakedown in there. Love Mr. Shakedown. Kiryu heads home. Nishiki comes home with him. We'll sleep over. And he's like, Kiryu, the president of Toko Credit, who's the loan shark, turned up dead a couple hours ago.
Ooh.
He was shot in his office. They're like, probably Kuze. Assumedly Kuze. Seems like his kind of bag. Kiryu's like, Nishiki, there's this guy, Tachibana. And Nishiki's like, I know Tachibana. Now, granted, he only knows Tachibana in whispers, but apparently his real estate business, they're more Yakuza than the Yakuza. They will stoop to any measures to get the properties they want. And even Tojo HQ is, like, trying to get rid of them.
Oh.
So apparently this Tachibana is hot shit. So Kiryu heads back to Kamurocho, and he's, like, scoping out the locals. He's trying to get any info on this elusive Tachibana. And all he kind of keeps getting back is, like, a lot of people have heard whispers, and none of them are good. It's all very shady shit.
Seems like a bad guy to join.
Yep.
They kind of just keep driving people out of business and then swoop in to buy the property.
Great.
Oh, it's a conglomerate. Okay. He's left a local coffee shop and gone to work. No, he's left Costa and gone to work for Starbucks. Yeah.
I also have a note on the badass lady.
Oh.
Who Kiryu happens to walk by, and she's smashing people over the head with like crates and stuff.
Why?
Because that's rad.
Is this his response to every fighting style?
That's right. I already explained beast style. This is just when you get beast style.
Great, no problem.
Anyhow, so he fucking leaves that now.
Please tell me you have every that's rad in here, because I loved that. More of that, yes.
Of course I did.
Stellar.
So he leaves that mess, but he quickly finds a confrontation between a Yakuza demanding protection money from a local club owner. And the owner's like, no, not giving you protection money. And he's like, where were the Yakuza that I hired from you when Tachibana tried to run me out of business? You know, what kind of protection is this? Why am I going to give you protection money if you're not protecting me? So Kiryu, of course, punch first, ask a question later, beats the shit out of him.
Whoa, he's now going around beating up Dojima guys.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Are the Dojima just going to put a hit out on him now?
Yeah, he's now just...
Well, to be fair, keep in mind, a hit is still a very serious thing. You know,
Right.
Dojima himself usually needs to approve hits. So
Yeah, but if he's personally warned this guy to stay out of it. And then he gets a report that this guy, this civilian, is going around beating up his men. That, to me, is justification to make an exception and be like, yeah, we'll make him disappear.
Yeah, you're right. Hashtag kill Kiryu.
So no, Kiryu beats the shit out of him just so we can have a little chat. Just a little chat. This is when we learn what Tachibana's true weapon is. Intel. He comes at them with their parents' home address, their daughter's schools, their cafe suppliers, their customer lists. You know, every bit of information. He's like, I know you.
Yeah.
Now go the fuck out of business.
Is that tactics that we've witnessed from the Yakuza? Because that's too much.
This is even more underhanded.
That's what the cartel did in South America. That was I think they even show it in the opening scene of Narcos. That Escobar knew everything about the police and where their families lived and levied that information against them.
But it's not. It's in that situation. It was the police. This is just a random business owner, and he's using that to threaten his family. Tachibana, bad bloke. Like, so far, more on the Yakuza side than Tachibana's side.
Fair.
Screw Tachibana.
I mean, that's valid. But you know, this cafe owner is like, you know, who wouldn't turn tail at that? You know, obviously they're driving people out of business. And he's like, dude, the Tachibana employee who drove me out, he's probably still over at the old location. You know, go if you want info, go fucking find him. So Kiryu's over, and it's basically a big building that had a bunch of, like, call it smaller businesses inside of it. And he finds that only one of these businesses has kind of stood firm. It's called the Namaste Cafe. And he goes in and he meets the owner, who kind of rudely tries to close the door on him. When he hears that Kiryu isn't from the Yakuza family that is there to protect him. Kiryu kind of like shoves his foot in the door. He's like, who can turn down sweet Kiryu? So it seems like the Jinsei family, some low-ranking fourth-tier Tojo whatever that used to run protection, they got driven away by Tachibana. Tachibana's men rather, just kind of showed up one day announcing the building was theirs, and most people, they just heard the name Tachibana and ran.
That is not rad.
No. No, unrad.
No, they kind of just all went running. And what we've actually seen at this house is the building's kind of filled with homeless, and what apparently is Tachibana hires these homeless to go in, basically squat in a building and devalue it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he's kind of there, like, go, I'll pay you, sitting there to drive everybody else out who's, you know, not just going out on the Tachibana name alone. And as of late, the Namaste owner, he's been getting phone calls through the night. Nobody on the other line, just silence.
Oh, God.
Just phone calls.
Really don't like this Tachibana guy. I take back what I said about his cool leather gloves.
So, suddenly we all knock on the door. And from the other side we hear, hello, it's Tachibana Real Estate. And Kiryu's like, dude, open the door. I fucking got this. So in walks this very kind of like simultaneously well-dressed yet also very sleazy looking real estate agent named Oda.
So where are we right now? So we're in the Namaste Cafe.
Yeah, we're in the Namaste Cafe.
Cool.
And this is Oda from Tachibana Real Estate, kind of flunked by a couple cronies. And he starts trying to persuade Namaste to leave. He's very nice about it. You know, he's very professional. He's not like he's... This
is like the other side of the business almost. The like face of the business.
This is the good cop.
I would not call Oda good cop.
Oh,
he's just not being like violent.
There's a facade of...
Exactly. It's very like honeyed words. You know, he's like, we're the legal owner of the building. You know, can't have you causing trouble and sticking around just for selfish reasons. And he looks over at Kiryu and he's like, Namaste, bringing in the Yakuza is only going to make it worse for you. And Kiryu's like, dude, I'm just a bodyguard. I'm a civ.
Yeah.
I'm a civ, don't worry about me. So Oda reaches into a pocket and he pulls out a fat stack of money. He's like, a gift from the boss of the Jinsei family. And it's all the protection money that the owner of the Namaste Cafe had ever paid to the Jinsei family. It's like, have it back. Don't need their protection.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's about a clean 2 million yen.
Why are we doing this?
And he's like, Oh, you like that 2 million? Have another. Gift from our president. Why not? Another 2 million. Milk money for your baby.
Why are we doing this? Why are we going in to help this cafe?
I mean, we're just trying to get information on...
Okay.
But we've, kind of heard that it's a very sleazy company.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just standing up against the sleazy company.
Okay, alright. So he's the kind of guy who will stand up for what's right. Is that what we're
He has his set of morals.
Okay.
What are his morals?
Yeah, I've yet to see
They're
those.
morals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because 1 second he's beating up a guy for money. And then...
Well, to be fair, he's only beat up criminals.
No, he beat up that one guy at the beginning that ended up getting shot later by someone else who just couldn't pay back the debt he owed.
Yeah, he's a loan. He was beating up a guy for a loan shark. It's like scum of the earth.
Hashtag kill Kyrie.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, Namaste is like, you can't bribe me. It ain't about money. And this is when kind of Oda's facade slips, but he's like, drop the fucking pretenses. And he throws the money in Namaste's face. Oof. And he's like, if this isn't about the money, then what the fuck is it about? Kiryu gets behind them, at which point we hear crying from behind them, like the wails of a newborn child, in the back room. And Kiryu's like, is throwing cash in a father's face in front of a kid how Tachibana does his business? And Oda's like, you don't look like the kind of person who gets to be giving an ethics lesson. And he leans over at the cafe owner who's kind of on the ground. He's like, we'll be expecting a call this evening. Walks out, but not before throwing a comment behind his shoulder that Kiryu's fetish for playing the hero, it's going to get him killed one day. Which Kiryu absolutely has a fetish for playing the hero.
Yikes.
Kiryu looks back, and the scene's changed. Namaste is so happy. He's, giggling. He's like, money for me, money for me. All it took was a little, pushing back against them. And look at all the money they gave me.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So, cafe owner himself, not a great guy.
I mean, he's not done anything particularly wrong. He's just, levied the position he knows he has by having land that they want to get more money out of a deal.
Oh, I mean, yeah, sure. It's more just that, he's sat there trying to proclaim his morals and, you can't buy me when, yes, you could buy him.
Enough. Who's he doing it to? A big evil corporation? Fine.
Take the money. Go off in the cafe elsewhere.
Fine with that.
Yeah.
So Kiryu
Good for you. Got you.
Hashtag kill Kyrie. Sorry, continue.
Kiryu leaves, and he heads outside, asking one of the homeless men outside where they went. Or rather, there's only one homeless man left. He's like, where's the rest of the homeless people? Right. He's like, Tachibana sent us on to the next job. This one's done. Kiryu tries to ask the man about Tachibana, and he's like, he just gets a simple, don't mess with him. Tachibana are the very shadows of this town. They're scarier than the Yakuza. The Jinsei president was made to lop off a finger by the head of the Tojo just from a bit of intel that Tachibana slipped them. Any more, and he'd be dead.
Jinsei were the subfamily that were originally providing protection to this building, correct?
Running a protection racket, but yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And basically Tachibana slipped them some intel
Yeah.
that made the Tojo be like,
Oh, it's all a racket, but that was who was referenced earlier as it was previously the protection on the cafe. Right?
Yeah, so basically, because Tachibana only gave him enough info to just lop off a finger and not to kill him, Tachibana has the info that could get him killed. Right. So Tachibana kind of now has Jinsei president on a leash.
Tachibana is so powerful that he can play the Yakuza off each other.
Exactly.
Tachibana organized the hit on the man in the alleyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. All right, continue.
I like how I have a note directly after that. It's highlighted in bold saying insert panty selling sub-story. Which I suppose I'll just give a brief mention on.
Okay, here we go. So we were just talking about the morals of this character. Let's see how we go with this.
Oh no, Kiryu doesn't sell the panties. Basically, he comes up and this guy comes up and he's like, I'm scared for my girlfriend. She's selling her panties.
Oh.
And it turns out there's a whole high school ring of girls who are selling their panties to old men.
Oh my god.
For money. I'm not really going to say more because legitimately I do not remember the sub-story and I didn't include it. Sorry. Kiryu convinces them, don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
End of story.
What's the man's stake in this?
He just wanted his girlfriend to not be...
Right.
Wait, did he have a girlfriend in high school?
That was my question.
No, he was a high school kid.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
He's not like a grown man.
Yeah, okay.
He's like a high school kid.
Oh, this isn't the underwear man story I know.
No.
That's a different underwear.
That's a different underwear man.
There are two underwear subplots.
Not
Neil.
many game franchises where you can get confused by a term like that.
I also like how I have another highlighted note about inserting the dominatrix story, where Kiryu's walking down the street and she hears a dominatrix who's trying to dom, but she can't dom. She's really bad at it, so Kiryu teaches her how to be a good dom.
Yep, I did that one.
And the sub-story is called How to Train Your Dominatrix.
I don't like that.
No, it's great.
Why would Kiryu know how to dom?
Because Kiryu's really sweet about it, and he's really reassuring, and he's like, you can do it.
Okay, so this dom didn't know about aftercare, or like...
No, she was being too nice. She didn't know how to be mean to her subs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Kiryu's like, this is how you do it, and he gentle parents her. gentle parent's a weird term for that, but you know what I mean.
He teaches her how to dom.
He teaches her
Yeah.
how to dom.
Excellent.
It's a great sub-story I wish I could have included.
Yeah, so you got a good handling on Kiryu so far, so he knows how to
I have
dom.
no idea where we are. I have no clue who this fucking character is.
Are you ready for more? Because Kiryu keeps walking down the street, man.
He can get mugged. He's very powerful in Yakuza, but he can get mugged by just some Redditor.
He beat up 50,000 of Kuze's guys and Kuze, and then just a big guy in a fedora kicked the shit out of him, and now he's walking up the street teaching sex workers how to do their jobs.
Mansplaining sex work. These videos are not getting monetized.
I might cut some of that out.
No, so Kiryu keeps walking down the street when suddenly he hears a woman, and she's calling out, and she's like, "Racers, come sign up! Racers!" And Kiryu's like, "What's a racer?" And he heads over, and the woman's like,
What's a racer?
"Well,
Well, I guess be more specific. Does she mean
Horse racing.
space racing?
no." Kiryu heads over, and the woman's like, "Well, pocket circuit racing, of course!
Oh.
It's a great game where you build, customize, and race your motorized slot cars. Everyone's playing it."
Right.
And he's like, Kiryu's like, got time for this. Yes, this.
Kiryu immediately walks in to the Pocket Circuit Stadium.
Is this just a story about a guy with potentially ADHD who can't stay on track?
Pocket Circuit is...
Better get my father out of prison. This does look cool, though. I'll do 45 minutes with Hot Wheels.
Pocket Circuit is, after Karaoke, potentially, I think, the second most iconic thing in Yakuza.
I mean, this does look fun. For anyone listening along, we are looking at a sort of huge... I don't know if this was the same brand name everywhere. We had Skillextrix in the UK, which was like a sort of plastic track where you could put a little car down and it would run along on a little electric grid. And this looks like a sort of souped up version of that.
It basically is, yeah. This is a Pocket Circuit. And it's basically, it's an entire minigame. It is a massively in-depth minigame.
I'm gonna play the shit out of this tonight.
Where you build the cars, you customize them. Different types of tracks have different like car like setups that you can do. You can like customize it with the colors. And you go race against everybody.
a video game that does this, like does a good in-depth, whether it's Gwent, whether it's, I just finished playing Kingdom Come and it has a dice system, which is very simple at the start, but then you can find all these sort of cheat-loaded dice throughout the world and play it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of a good Cyclone.
We will do Final Fantasy VII Series one day, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is this to a T. It's minigame every 5 minutes.
Yakuza famously has a lot of minigames. Not all of them are great. You have some very simple ones, you know, casinos, cards, classic like Yakuza, you know, ones. But you get shit like this. These ones are very in-depth. They're very fun, very silly.
Is this a side quest? So for context, everybody, before we started recording today, Chase was like, I need 10 minutes. Locked themselves in this office. We were away from the room because they needed 10 more minutes to add in one more side quest. Is this the side quest?
This was the side quest. Because you can't leave Pocket Racing out.
Continue.
Please go in the comments and tell them that if I had left Pocket Racing out, nobody would have been happy. It would have been a depressing time.
And it's your fault that this is going to be 3 episodes.
I am not kidding. This might have been the thing that convinced me that I'm going to play this later this week.
No, but can you describe outside of like the Skeletrix of this? Like it's buzzing here, you know?
It's like a movie studio. They've got like lights set up, and there's people standing around, brightly big banners everywhere. This is like a full sporting event almost.
It's so great. And then suddenly the music blares in as our fucking boy Pocket Circuit Fighter shows up.
Whoa. Is this our rival?
Nah, this is the dude. This is the Ash Ketchum of Pocket Circuit.
Yeah.
Dude.
Okay.
This is he comes up and he's like, dude, he's the one who runs the stadium.
Yeah.
Basically, Pocket Circuit, national organization, they have these stadiums set up everywhere, and each one has its own fighter who is there to basically, they welcome you, they run the races, they teach you about Pocket Circuit, they teach you how to customize. He is the dude, he loves this shit, he is so here for it.
If only hobbies in real life had people this consistently nice and helpful at every location.
You know what this reminds me of? You guys wouldn't know this, but maybe some of the listeners is when the Boy Scouts do the Pinewood Derby. where they build little wooden cars and then race them.
I was in the Scouts for many years in this country, and we didn't have that.
I was about to say, I think this is American Scouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Pinewood Derby, it's great.
Were you an Eagle Scout? Did I make that?
I am an Eagle Scout.
That is wild.
Yeah,
Congratulations,
I know. Deep in it.
forest nerd.
Ha! Deep in it. Where the fuck was I with this? Anyway, the fighter shows up and he's like, new blood? Let's fucking go! Get in this pocket circuit! So Kiryu introduces himself as Kazuma-kun. That's gonna be his racer name.
Is Kiryu like thinks this guy's pretty cool?
Oh, Kiryu thinks that this guy's cool as shit.
Like, it makes me like Kiryu a lot more that he's like, I need the honor and respect permitted by, get granted by being a Yakuza. My life is violence. My life is service to the family. Oh my god, this brightly colored neon boy is the coolest hobby man in the world.
He loves the pocket circuit fighter. We all love the pocket circuit fighter. So the pocket circuit fighter gives Kiryu a little beginner's kit, and they sit down and he teaches him how to build his car. And he teaches Kiryu how to, customize and how to race, and they go do some races, and he introduces him to all the kids and all the other adults, because everybody of all ages plays pocket circuit. I like how Monty has put on his sunglasses and is just
Zoning
already
out.
done with pocket
Yeah,
circuit.
this is me. I've bought in. Yeah,
Stop encouraging this.
Meanwhile, Neil, who is fully on board.
we're on chapter 2 out of what,
Get
3?
back to the
We're
Yakuzas.
we've probably got one chapter left after this. So
Where are the shirtless men?
Oh, I mean, maybe we'll get some shirtless pocket circuit fighter. He's got, a racetrack on his back. Over the next several hours, these two men, they're going to grow to become the closest of friends, maybe even more. They're going to be eternally bonded in the greatest sport that ever was, pocket circuit.
yes,
But they're not alone in their journey. No. In fact, here's a child coming up to the fighter right now. It's Takuma-kun. And, he wants to know, fighter, are you a virgin?
No, you can't leave. Because I was about to leave. I've had it. I'm sick of this. 2 chapters in, there's 100 games. I'm getting a drink. You continue. I don't want to be here for Pocket Racer anymore.
Oh, I can't believe that we're already.
Oh, however many games I finally managed to make Monty leave.
Right. So this little piece of shit comes up. Where is he getting this?
Well, so that's the thing is Circuit Fighter.
I mean, probably, right? Let's be honest. Probably.
Pocket Circuit Fighter is taken a bit back, and he's kind of not sure, but he's very good with the kids, and he's like, that's a very big word for somebody of your age to know. Yeah. But where did you hear that? Maybe we shouldn't use, words we don't understand what they mean. He's like, I know what it means.
My dad tells me everyone that comes here is one of those.
No, he's like, I know what that means. It means you've never been on a date.
Oh.
Aw. So wholesome.
Oh.
So wholesome.
Monty's back.
Why are we still on this screenshot?
Wait for you.
No.
No. So Taka was like, it means that you've never been on a date. Oh, right to the heart. And he's like, where'd you even hear that word? He's like, oh, it's Hideki-kun. And Hideki-kun rushes over and he's like, my mom told me that anybody who spends this much time playing with toy cars must be a virgin. And then they both clap their hands and do the virgin dance.
Virgin. Why have we been wasting our time on serious games?
Can you see why it was essential that I added this in this morning?
You do the virgin dance every time you get on a dance floor, don't you?
I do, yeah. What is it? Just hat clap over the head.
It's just clapping while you chant virgin. Virgin, 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 virgin.
I feel like I'm back in school.
Okay.
Kiryu assures the fighter that he is actually the super coolest non-virgin in the world. He's so cool that the girls are throwing themselves at him all the time. To which Hideki-kun goes, why would they throw themselves at him? That sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
But
Get these little shits out of here.
well, they think that Kiryu is the coolest guy ever, and so cool guys can't lie. So they're like, sorry for calling you a virgin, Mr. Fighter. Bye. They leave, and the fighter's like, thank you for sticking up for me, Kiryu, but it's true. I am a virgin. And Kiryu's like, don't worry, man. It happens at different times for everyone. It's not like
Kiryu.
it's not like it's a race or anything, but
Lucky for you, Pocket Racer, I've just helped a dominatrix out. I've got her number.
and no, that's a dominatrix. They don't sleep with you. They just dom you. Come on, please get it right.
Yes.
And the Pocket Circuit Racer's like, but I'm almost 30. And Kiryu's like, oh, but it's okay, fighter. Kiryu's a virgin too.
Is he?
Maybe you can, wingman each other or something.
Oh, do you ship Kiryu and Pocket Racer Man?
Me and the entirety of our Discord ships Kiryu and Pocket Racer Fighter.
I'm not going back into that Discord. Discord link below, everybody.
Yeah, the next 6 months, you're yeah.
But very, very seriously, Kiryu makes the Pocket Fighter feel seen. He has such an amazing talent for working with the youth, understanding them, seeing them from their level.
They just called you a virgin for 2 minutes.
The fighter has nothing to be ashamed of.
I don't think they have any respect for him.
The men's friendship.
Virgin.
The men's friendship only grows over the track. The fighter teaching Kiryu the hidden techniques. Best parts are his build working late into the night. The fighter guiding Kiryu's hands with his own.
Oh my god, this is beautiful.
But one day, the fighter he up and vanishes. Where could he be? The children rush to Cosmo-kun. They need to know where their beloved fighter is. How can they race without their fighter? Kiryu rushes out, finding the fighter on a street corner, handing out pocket tissues. From Pocket Circuit to Pocket Tissues.
Oh.
He takes his fighter, sitting on a bench, hearing his woes. The fighter, he has to have many part-time jobs. Pocket Circuit only pays him $8.50 an hour. It's not enough to support himself. But this tissue job, handing out tissues, pays him $10.50. He needs them both. But Kiryu tries to get him to come back, but how could he ever show his face there again, having put his own selfish needs, like buying food, above the dreams of the children?
It's a couple of part-time jobs, man.
Yeah.
What right does he have to see their smiling faces? Kiryu screams, who cares about the kids? I need you, fighter.
Oh my god, this is beautiful.
I need you, fighter. Do it for me. Oh, Cosmo-kun. Nobody's ever talked to me like that before.
Kiss him.
They lean close. No. Kiryu taking the fighter's hand in his own, leading him back to the stadium. And they race. Deep.
I bet they
night.
finish at the same time.
They do.
Oh, beautiful. He was the only one who'd ever made him feel seen. Oh, this is beautiful.
So does this take place like across the entire game? Do you just keep going back to Pocket Racer?
You can technically the videos that I captured this from. The thing. This substory is the longest substory by miles. I'm not gonna. I may have fan fictionized at the end a little bit there and cut it a tiny bit short, but. Although I will say, the line, who cares about the kids, I need you, fighter, do it for me, and then, oh, Cosmo-kun, no one's ever talked to me like that before, or in the game, I did not make those ones up.
Chase, I got to say, that is one of the most beautiful ends to a game you've ever given us. What a perfect end to the epilogue. He forgets about his Yakuza worries, and he ends up with Speed Racer.
So remember Tachibana?
Oh,
Oh, Kiryu still needs to find where the homeless went.
Oh.
So, Kiryu's gonna go head over to the park.
Oh, okay.
All the homeless are over at the park.
We're still on chapter 2.
All the homeless folks, they're huddling around a barrel fire, and they're like, oh, we love Tachibana real estate. They're the best. Oh, they're great. Seems Tachibana gave him a little year-end bonus.
Oh.
Because I will say, this takes place very near Christmas.
Glad someone's looking after them.
Yeah.
So Kiryu goes up, he's trying to get info from them, which they're like, yeah, we will, if you give us booze. So Kiryu goes off, gets a booze, comes back.
Oh, so Kiryu's an enabler as well. Yeah.
To be fair, I feel like buying stuff for people who can't afford it, so they can have a little celebration after.
I don't mind him buying booze for a person who is homeless. It's just the game being like, what do these folks want?
Yeah,
I guess just booze.
It's not. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's implying they're alcoholics. I think they're implying they're having a little celebration and just can't afford more booze for their party.
I think I do remember this, and if I'm not mistaken, is it not a case of like you go around convenience stores and it's like a particular brand or something, and you go in and this shop doesn't have the brand, and you go to the next shop and they don't have the brand, and you see why I gave this up.
One of them's like, I want the finest champagne, which Kiryu goes and finds at the Donkey.
Give them the money, like.
Nah. Anyhow, they tell Kiryu, what they tell Kiryu, it's not really much more than Kiryu already knows. You know, Tachibana hires them to hang around the sites they want, cause a nuisance, drive people out, drive the property values down. And it seems that it's not just Tachibana, the Tojo have also done that.
Right.
So, you know, it's just all very Tachibana, very Yakuza. in
All
their
these
ways.
bad blokes doing bad bloke things.
Bad blokes doing bad blokes things.
Who are
So-
we supposed to root for, other than Pocket Racer Boy?
Anyway, talking about his next target, it's probably over in the Champion District. You know, all those properties so tightly bundled together, it's a tantalizing target for anybody. Yeah. Kiryu heads over to the Champion District, where he finds some local residents who, you know, after a little quick beatdown, you know, they're like, "Oh, Kiryu, I'm sorry for not telling you before. Tachibana's men, they're not here to drive us out. No, they're protecting us from the Yakuza."
Right.
Right.
They're not, though.
Well, at which point, Oda, the guy from the bar, shows up and he's like, "Why the fuck are you sniffing around us?" Kiryu's like, "I had a meeting with your boss." And Oda's like, "No, you didn't." He calls out and he's like, "What? Why?" And Tachibana's like, "You want more info? Go talk to Tachibana yourself. Same apartment as last night." Don't know why Kiryu just didn't go to that apartment in the first place.
Legit.
But-
He has his cards. Tachibana gave him his cards. Like,
Well, he doesn't.
doing that.
He doesn't trust me. He wanted to hear it from the common folk. So Kiryu's like, "Oda, is it true you protecting the Champion District?" And Oda's like, "Yeah, we are. You know, it's one of the boss's policies. Things like this district were here before Kamurocho burned down in the war, and it's the roots that this town grew out of. So newcomers like Tachibana have no place meddling." So he's, you know, happy to rough and tumble some new businesses, but the old stuff, nah, they get to stay. This is when Oda kind of officially introduces himself to Kiryu, saying that he's been with Tachibana longer than anybody, and that he's the one who runs on-site acquisitions.
right, okay.
And he asks Kiryu, if he's gonna come, and Kiryu's like, "Yeah, I'll come." So Kiryu heads back to the apartment, where there's a bunch of armed men telling them that their coworker Oda's like, "We gotta beat you up, Kiryu.
Why?
Sorry." Oda doesn't trust him at all.
But he's been on the phone with his boss.
Yeah,
Why
he doesn't.
bring him.
He doesn't care. Oda's like, "I gotta rough and tumble you."
Oda's an idiot.
So Kiryu, of course, punches his way up to the penthouse where Oda's waiting for him, and he's like, "I needed to test you, Kiryu. See if you're really worthy of meeting with Tachibana, who you already met with before, but I don't care."
met.
So there's a little boss fight with Jun Oda.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it. So Kiryu obviously smashes him into the floor, which Oda's like, "How did you do that? What?" And Tachibana comes from the shadows, and he's like, "I knew that you were going to test him, Oda. But you're invaluable to me, practically one of my limbs. Are you satisfied?" And he's like, "I trust Oda. I would have needed Oda's approval before welcoming you into the fold. You know, he's my trusted advisor.
Right.
So, fair enough if he wanted to test you. That's fine." So his boss is fine with punching his new guys. Kiryu's like, "Drop the fucking secrecy. I'm so done with this chapter. What do you want?" And Tachibana's like, "What is Kamurocho in your eyes?" Kiryu doesn't understand, so Tachibana explains to him that he sees Kamurocho as a feeding ground for Dojima and the Tojo. People flock here with their neon and their money, and the Yakuza drink it all up. He tells Kiryu that the Tojo's power has encased the city in glass, and he wants to crack it open.
Isn't he doing much the same thing?
Exactly, yeah.
I think it's mainly he sees the Yakuza as like an organization. He's like, "I want to be the one who breaks that organization."
So just get rid of the competition, basically.
Yeah.
So he's like, "This is how I'm gonna do it." And he puts his hand out, and he's like up on this window, and he puts his hand out over the skyline. And he just traces it across, and as he does, one by one, every light flickers out as his hand goes across the city.
I think he had a poor tech guy, and that's a really cool shot. There was some guy in the back flipping fuses in time with him doing that.
No, you're ruining the cool moment.
Yeah, sorry, that is really cool.
The people below on the streets are going into a frantic panic as the entirety of Kamurocho is plunged into a blackout, all with a simple wave of this man's hand. "Money is power," he says. "I intend to use my money to see how far it can get me against the Tojo clan. Although I'm afraid, at the present, the answer is not very." He drops his hand, and the lights flicker back to life. Kamurocho coming back to how it was. "As it stands, I can manage a meager 10 seconds. But by securing the empty lot, I plan to stake my claim among those who control Kamurocho. Such is the power of that lot." "Who are you?" Kiryu asks, but he's ignored. "I'm not sure if you're aware, Kiryu-san, but the Tojo is far from united. By way of evidence, I would offer the name of one Tojo member acting as my ally in all this. In fact, it was at his assistance that I was led to approach you in the first place.
Can I pause you there? So, the hand over the city causing it to be in a blackout, he said he can only manage it for 10 seconds. So is his plan a blackout to then take out the Yakuza?
Oh, not specifically. He's basically like...
More a shorthand for how much influence he has.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wasn't sure if this was meant to be a literal or metaphorical.
No,
I did wonder.
It's mainly metaphorical. He's
like a power plant or an EMP in that alleyway, but yeah, cool.
No, he's basically like, this is all the power I have right now.
Cool. Okay.
So Kiryu's like, you got a mole in the Tojo clan? Who? Tachibana's like, the man who wishes to see the two of us allied is the Tojo clan's Dojima family captain, Shintaro Kazuma.
Oh, Kazuma's working for him.
With him.
For him.
But, so he goes on to tell Kiryu that the secret information Kazuma has isn't the owner of the lot itself, but rather the one who can locate the owner, which is Tachibana.
Who's Tachibana?
Tachibana.
Oh, that Tachibana. Yeah.
Tachibana's our real estate bank.
Sorry, so the information that Kazuma has was
Is
that
basically
Tachibana
Tachibana.
knew who the owner was.
Yeah, pretty much.
So who is the owner? Is it a satisfying reveal when we find out who the owner is? Or is it just some guy?
managed to get further towards the empty lot than the Dojima had.
But it's fucking Kazuma. Forgot.
So it seems that Tachibana has managed to get a lot further towards the empty lot than the Dojima family has, and once the Dojima family figures that out, all hell's gonna break loose. Kazuma entrusted Kiryu to Tachibana half a year ago, just before he went to prison. Seems that Kazuma is the big brain of this series,
Right.
and Kazuma was like, Kuze's got me in his sights. Kiryu's gonna have to leave the family. I can see all this 6 months in advance before I go to prison.
Right, so he's got a kind of savant genius brain.
Pretty much. So he's like a master strategist, is like his role in the Tojo. And he's basically like, Tachibana, when that time comes, take Kiryu. So truly, he's a man not only able to rise to the top of the Dojima, but to the Tojo clan itself.
And Kazuma's aware that his ally is actively working to dismantle the Yakuza, pretty much?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, Kazuma is... I won't go into too much, but Kazuma is kind of very frequently shown as being at odds with a lot of the Yakuza.
Right. Well, I guess, he did tell Kiryu, like, don't join the Yakuza, Kiryu, so...
Yeah. So, anyway, not only that, Tachibana suspects that Kazuma's plans for the empty lot go far and above simply protecting his own safety, and that even his being in prison must be part of his big brain 4D chess plan. He's like, I went to prison on purpose. You didn't put me in prison. I went to prison.
Right.
It's all for my protection. Okay. So he's like, where the fuck's the proof? And Tachibana, in turn, produces a small brass pocket watch, which Kiryu gasps seeing. He immediately recognizes it, opening it to show a picture of Kazuma with a much younger Nishiki and Kiryu. A gift from Yumi Sawamura to Kazuma that he's kept close all this time.
Who's Yumi Samamura?
Their sister from the orphanage, right?
Right, okay.
Right.
So that's all the proof Kiryu needs. He pockets the watch, shaking Tachibana's hand, signing on.
Oh, so that's it. He's bought in.
The second that he sees that Kazuma trusts this man, he's like, I'm in.
Okay.
This empty lot plot is more convoluted than anything that has ever happened in Kingdom Hearts.
I kind of like it.
Oh, I don't hate it. I just think it's ridiculously
You've
convoluted.
forgotten how many members of Organization 13 there were and how many versions of those members.
Not 13.
I miss
More
the
than
days
13.
of Xehanort.
Chapter 3,
Yes, this is when it gets good.
a Gilded Cage jump cut across the country to Sotenbori, Osaka.
Okay.
Different city.
Welcome to the Yakuza series' essentially second home, Sotenbori. This is Japan's nightlife capital of the West. So we speed through its sights, noting the iconic river that runs, the bridges over it. They've got all these massive... If you've ever seen that picture of Japan where there's like the river and then over top there's like the Running Man, that's in Dotonbori, which is the real-life equivalent of Sotenbori. Okay. In Osaka, in Kansai. So we see also there's a lot of like massive statues and stuff. It's a very cool nightlife street. Personally, this is my favorite city in the series. I adore Sotenbori. And at the heart of it all is the Cabaret Grand.
Yes!
Oh, I can finally see your wheels are turning.
Yeah.
You're getting hyped.
I'm hyped.
A little bit of theatre. There
This
he is.
is the best moment of the entire franchise. I've played 2/3 of one game.
One game.
It's certainly up there. This moment's fucking great.
Yeah.
So it's a massively upscale cabaret venue with a full live jazz big band. The city's finest of girls pouring the finest of drinks for the less than finest of businessmen and bigwigs, all for the finest of tips.
Oh.
We see a pair of businessmen walk in, seemingly they're on a trip from Tokyo. The younger's telling the boss how a trip to Sotenbori that doesn't end in a trip to the Grand is like takoyaki with no octopus. He's going to show the chief a real good time.
Love it.
The chief's concerned, though, noting how the Sotenbori is the Omi Alliance's backyard. Surely the place is crawling with Yakuza. It's probably the best time to introduce the Omi Alliance. At this time, second biggest Yakuza organization in Japan, and they are the direct rivals of the Tojo clan.
Okay.
So this is kind of an East versus West rivalry.
Okay.
So it's like the Tojo clan almost has like a trickle-down system almost, it
Yes.
seems, whereas the Omi Alliance, it's an alliance, so the heads are equal?
No, the Omi, you hear so many different names for everything. It's all just naming. It's marketing.
Cool.
It's all marketing. The Omi Alliance is just the same structure as the Tojo. They are just over on the west. Tojo's on the east.
Gotcha.
I think that historically, for most of the series, the Omi technically have more manpower, but the Tojo have Tokyo,
Yeah.
which kind of gives them a better footing over like politics and stuff.
Cool.
So, they're seated up on the balcony, VIP section, as a couple of girls come to quickly join them, easing the chief's concern, while the younger jokes, he's joking to the girls, he's like, I recommend the place, so you really got to show the chief a good time for me. My reputation's on the line. They pull out the drinks menu with the chief, and the chief sees that a bottle of champagne costs 100,000 yen. That's about 1,000 pounds. The younger businessman laughs it off, saying, it's all part of the experience. And he joins in, and the girl's like, is only one bottle enough? They, of course, then go buy 4 bottles. Can't make the chief think that Osakans are cheapskates, can they? Yeah.
You were telling me when I played this, Chase, that this is quite a common thing in modern day Japan, even. Their hostesses.
Yeah, most modern Japanese hosting, to at least my understanding, is more of a cabaret club perspective, where this is a proper cabaret, just kind of a different venue style. But yeah, there's this culture of like essentially hiring somebody for their time, to drink with you, to spend time with you,
And to encourage you to spend more money,
it's
really.
almost in a way escorting, but strictly on kind of like the date perspective.
Yeah. And there's like a similar thing with like family or friend experience, right, as well, or like
There
or,
can
or
be,
like
yeah.
or like romantic partner experience without a sexual aspect to
Yeah.
it. It's the kind of hiring of someone's time.
Exactly.
It's company for the night in a nice, decadent building.
Yeah, exactly. But of course they are going to try and milk them for every cent they have.
Yes, yeah.
So the chief quickly relaxes. The chief's not like thrilled that they're spending the money, but he's not paying for it, so whatever. He relaxes, and the younger businessman tells him how the Grand only recently jumped up in society following a recent change in management. Seems this new manager poached all the best girls from the other club and did things you shouldn't talk about. The girls back him up, and they're like, anybody who's anybody in nightlife wishes that they could know their manager. Suddenly, there's a shout from below as we hear a drunk customer trying to molest one of the girls. I'm paying good money.
Ugh.
Let me get a good handful.
Ugh.
The staff
Hope
tries
something happens to that guy.
The staff tries to stop him, trying to remind him that, it is a no-touching establishment. Go somewhere else for that. The man gets up, and he grabs the staff by the face, and he throws him to the ground, and the band cuts off at this. From up on the balcony, the chief's back to worrying. He's like, there's gonna be a fight, oh no! But the younger man, he kind of jokes, he's like, of all the places to start something, don't worry, it's gonna be over in a second. He'll come handle it. Him.
Oh.
From the stairs, we see a pair of sleek black crocodile skin shoes, each tipped with silver, and a man with his hair pulled back into a ponytail, eye patch over his left eye, walk out onto the floor.
Got like a full tuxedo on as well.
Oh, he's sleek. Sleek man who apparently looks like me.
I take it back in this lighting.
I can see it to a degree. I do not fully agree, but I can see it to a degree.
No, you have much softer features than Majima does.
And your wordlessly menacing presence as well.
Yes, of course.
That's true, of course. So the man walks up to the drunk, telling him that his patronage is very much appreciated. Thank you so much. The drunk's like, "Are you the bouncer?" And the man's like, "A common mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. I am the manager of this cabaret." He extends a business card. He's very professional, this whole thing. So he like does the full like bow, handing it off with two hands, and introduces himself as Majima.
Okay.
The man scoffs, and he's like, "We got a Yakuza running the place?" And Majima's like, No. Despite appearances, I am a civilian. But regardless, please refrain from touching the guests. The man goes into a rage. He's like, "You can try and stop me by force." And Majima's like, No. The customer is king. I could never touch you. "Quite a policy," says the drunk, and he walks over to the table and he grabs a bottle of champagne. "Real impressive. I'm a big fan." "Well, in that case, this one's a treat. Drink up, friend." He raises the bottle over Majima's head and he just tips it. And it pours over him. And I wish I had a picture of it. It's great. He just sits there like that same still face is like the champagne, which remind you is like $1,000 bottle, just pours over his face.
Freebie.
And he just sits there. He's like, "Very kind of you, sir. I always said I love this brand so much. I wish I could bathe in it." He smiles. He wipes his face. He's like, "You've made a dream come true." The drunk calls him a smug prick, and he tries to swing the bottle at Majima, but Majima easily like sidesteps him, and he just keeps going for him. Majima just boop, 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 just easily dodging every single one. And Majima's like, "Well, if that's how you want it." And he raises his hand, and he's like, "Hey, band, give me one with a real beat."
I think Monty is smiling like a little boy.
And the band bursts into life. The trumpets and the saxophones are going feral. And Majima's like, "If you insist that I overstep my station, sir, then I, Majima, shall dance with you. I will, however, not raise a hand against you at all. The customer is king."
Amazing.
It's showtime. This fight is iconic.
Yes.
This is Majima's combat tutorial. It literally is just dodge the guy for like 10 minutes. And then anytime you have a heat action, which the game has a lot of like quick time events, you'll get a quick time event and like the guy will swing after him and then Majima will like swing it from the side and he's like, "Hot towel for you, sir."
Yeah, he's serving the guests the whole time and stuff.
Oh my God.
It's all very patronizing, like professionalism to the guy.
This.
It's
As a former long-time veteran in the service industry, this is my new favorite character in video games.
it is one of the most iconic fights in a video game that I can think of, and it's a tutorial fight. I love this fight.
We'll watch it at lunch, for sure.
No, I'm gonna play this shit this weekend.
The instructions, when it lists out the instructions for like how to do the tutorial, it's like the first rule of management, the second rule of management,
Amazing.
press X to do thing. He has other ones where he like pats the guy in the back. He's like, "Very good, sir." At one point, the guy tries to like grab an ice pick, and Majima kind of throws him over his shoulder. He's like, "I'll hold on to that for safety."
I just
I'll
had
take
this
that.
ice pick lying out, I guess.
Because it's a classy joint.
Oh, they
when they
actually
serve you
shave the
ice,
ice.
they
Got
serve you
it.
ice in a bucket,
Oh, I
and you
feel
shave
like
the
a
ice
dummy.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then everyone claps.
Good, yeah.
I would clap.
Yeah. Majima uses this chance to address the customers, telling them that he could turn the man into the police, and they'd be justified for doing that. But please, give this man your compassion. Now, even the staff are confused, but Majima continues. He's like, if he were turned over, he would lose the social standing a lifetime of hard work has built. Isn't that too harsh of a punishment for a single evening's misguided actions? Instead, he asks the customer a favor. As is custom in nightlife, pay the soured wine with fresh wine. If the man simply covers everyone's tabs that night, gives everyone a nice night of libations, then they're even. He pulls out the drunk's business card that he had like swiped off him while doing all that dodging dancing. And realizes the guy's the head of Soten Pharmaceuticals HQA. I imagine your annual entertainment budget clears $100 million with ease. And Majima gets into a full, like, hands and knees bow, like, head on the floor. I don't want to see a customer made a criminal. However, I also don't want to see my customers suffer. I know it's a selfish request, but will you please grant me this indulgence? The man is, like, fully just like, I don't know what to do in this situation, and just agrees. And Majima just jumps up and he's like, is this acceptable to you? And everybody cheers. And Majima's like, give this man a cheer. What? He's so brave for doing this. And everybody cheers for him. And he's like, enjoy your evening, folks. And he walks off.
Excellent.
From the balcony, we see the chief again. He's like, I fully understand how the Grand made it number one to that guy. Everyone sees that after seeing him in action, the younger businessman jokes. The manager of the Cabaret Grand, Goro Majima, Sotenbori's own Lord of the Night.
So what, if Kiryu is the Dragon of Dojima, you said, he's the Lord of the Night? Is that his title?
He technically has another one, but we'll get to that one later.
Okay,
This is his title in Yakuza 0.
Cool.
So this is Sotenbori's Lord of the Night.
Wow.
Top 10 character introductions of all time.
Oh, it is such an iconic.
Both our main characters are bisexual. That's cool.
Yeah.
What makes you think that Majima's bisexual?
Oh, just vibes.
Just vibes.
Because he's a theater kid.
Well, no, yeah, but just vibes.
Just vibes. We cut to Majima up on the roof smoking. He looks down as a homeless man pulling a cart goes by and looks up at him. Majima looks troubled, throwing his cigarette away as he walks back inside. Back in the office, the floor manager thanks him again for his help. Make sure Maki-san gets a bonus tonight. Nothing kills morale like getting felt up for nothing. He continues to keep an eye on Captain Grabass.
Captain Grabass.
Majima has his card, but nothing to really stop him again from trying to run out on the tab. And the floor manager's like, I got it. We got it. Majima asks about the staff, to which the floor manager's like, there's not much to know, although one of the new girls seems to be butting heads with some of the older girls. Majima's like, this shit again? These women are going to put me in the nut house. Majima complains. He's like, I'll go drop some wisdom. So very behind scenes, he's, I'm not going to say a dick, but he's a much more normal guy behind scenes than when he's not out.
He's actually just the worst manager.
No, he's actually a very shrewd manager. He's very good at reading people and getting what he needs out of them. And we see a lot of this in his managerial style.
You just finished a 12-hour back shift and some guy's like, let me drop some wisdom on you guys. We've had that manager and we were thinking of the same guy. Let me drop a gem on you.
The sort of manager that has like a sign in the office where it's like, it's a you problem. What was the sign he said?
He had a sign up saying, your feelings are your fault.
That's it. Your feelings are your fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
12-hour shifts, Chase.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So we see more of this kind of in his managerial style. At one point, he's like talking to a waiter, and the waiter's like, I racked up a hospital bill, and Majima immediately pays it off. And he's like, take a few days off. You know, he will do anything to keep this place running smooth. Whether it means throwing money, doing customers, keeping this place running is like his first and foremost. He will do anything for it.
So it's less about kind of human compassion and more about, if my employees are happy, the business is happy.
A bit of both, but mainly the latter, yeah.
Cool. That's fine.
He's not going to get anything out of being a dick to them.
Yeah.
And clearly the business is being run by the Yakuza, who are being dicks. You know, they're working, but they're not doing any sort of numbers near the grand. So, with much of the manager work done, we're grabbed by an employee who tells us about a customer refusing to pay a bill. Seems he's been going through ordering the most expensive set on the menu, and he's already racked up a solid $4 million. What is that, like $40,000, something like that?
Yeah, probably.
Majima heads over, and...
In 1980 as well.
Majima walks over, and immediately just, his face grimaces, and because he immediately recognizes the man. Ah, Mr. Eye Patch Manager, the man jokes when he sees Majima approach. Majima asks if he can have a word in private. It will only take a moment. Oh, the man's like, I was just starting to get a buzz, but fine. And he comes with Majima. They move to the back office, where it is immediately clear that these two, like, they know each other very well. The man's name is Sagawa. So Majima goes, and he's being very managerial in the office when Sagawa's there. You know, he clears the ashtray, gets Sagawa a hot towel. And Sagawa's like, I'm just here to see you in action, buddy. Although, it's nice to drink for free. Majima's like, can you at least please behave? You're going to drive off the customer. And Sagawa puts a cigarette in his mouth, and Majima runs over with a lighter, lighting it for him.
Oh, good parallel with Kiryu there.
And Sagawa's like, just got a little carried away. Sagawa commends Majima for the show he put on that night, joking how he keeps telling him straight and narrow's a good look for him. Majima's like, screw that. Who lives like this on purpose?
Oh.
Sagawa scoffs, saying how Majima has money, standing, fame, probably drowning in women. Doesn't he know how good he has it? Majima continues to kind of serve Sagawa, getting him a fresh ashtray, pouring him a glass of champagne. While he goes on about how it's ironic that the man who has everything wants something else. It's only natural after all. This was supposed to be Majima's punishment. If he were to have too much fun, it would be a problem for Sagawa and his brother Shimano. Majima tells him to get to the point. How much longer till you let me back in the Yakuza, Mr. Owner? Oh. At which point we get the title card for Tsukasa, showing him to be the retainer to the 5th Omi Alliance chairman and patriarch of the Sagawa family, Tsukasa Sagawa.
Where does that put him in the alliance? Quite high up?
He is like second rung after the chairman.
So he's a captain basically, but and also
he's not a captain. He's I believe the retainers are kind of on the level of the lieutenants.
Okay.
So the Omi has their chairman. The Omi has a chief of HQ, which is technically above the captain.
He's one of the senior dudes who has his own family.
He's an executive at the Omi.
Yeah. He's a big boss.
But West Coast.
Oh, West Coast big boy.
Yeah.
And he is the owner of the Cabaret Grand. So Majima walks over, getting a metal briefcase and placing it on the table. This month's take. It's filled with cash. If you can keep up the pace, Sagawa will have his 100 million by next month. Sagawa laughs and he's like, I'm impressed, but Majima tells him to cut the bullshit. He gets Sagawa the money and Sagawa convinces Shimano to let him back in the family. That was the deal. Sagawa's memory's a bit hazy on that though. Maybe an extra 500 mil will help him to remember having that chat with Shimano. Majima goes to punch him, but stops his fist inches from Sagawa's face. What? You gonna punch me or not? Silly question. You can't. Because if you did, you'd be right back in the hole, never to see daylight again. That's how it works in the world you're desperate to get back in. Think the Yakuza's gonna let a cash cow like you go free? Majima's like, fuck it. 500 million, a billion, whatever. I'll make it. If it gets me back in the game, I'll do anything. Oh, anything, Sagawa chuckles. Even a hit? The breath catches in Majima's throat at the question. Which is it then? If it meant getting back into the family, could you kill? Sagawa gets up, grabbing the briefcase. I'm just joking. Just wanted to make sure you are aware that one day it's a line you may need to cross if you come back into the Yakuza. Of course, before he goes, he puts one last jab, poaching Majima's best girl for another one of his clubs. Before telling him, don't let your profits slide. You got another 500 million to go, buddy boy.
Ugh.
500 million shouldn't take too long in a club where they're selling, tables are doing 400,000.
Well, I think the implication is that every time that he hits the thing, Sagawa raises the threshold.
Yeah. He's never getting back in unless something changes.
So the Grand are immediately put into a panic as their best girl is gone. Yeah. So Majima dons his finest disguise of sunglasses and a golden chain instead of an eye patch and dope bow tie, with literally no other change to his attire, and sets off to poach his own girl from the town's second best club, Odyssey. But of course, he is immediately caught by the owner.
No, I don't know what you're saying. My name's not Majima. It's Mijimi.
Yeah. The Lord of the Night, who every other club owner should know, is immediately caught.
I'm the Lord of the Day.
Because he requested specifically their best girl and then asked her nothing about employment questions.
Ha!
Smart.
Interesting calls, all right.
So how much are they paying you?
Yeah.
What are your hours?
But turns out it was all a ruse, silly Majima. He was actually there for the manager.
Oh.
He points out a dozen issues with Odyssey, methodically picking it apart before offering an arrangement. If the Odyssey parts with Nozomi, their best girl, in exchange for a few of Majima's girls who will help to expand the clientele, Majima will give them, a cash advance of 10 million to sweeten the pot.
How big is Odyssey? It's clearly not the Grand, is it?
It's very big, but the main issue that they're having is that their clientele is very old. Majima is appealing to everyone, whereas he has a very specific clientele because of the girls that he has. So Majima's basically like, I can give you some girls who will help expand your clientele, but I want your best girl.
Right.
So the manager, Yamagata, agrees, but he's like, don't fucking do anything like this again. Majima's like, hee, that's okay. and he goes off for some din-dins. On the way to get some food, he sees a dude down an alley beating a guy senseless over the head with an iron rod. Holy shit!
Is this Majima's That's Rad?
That's Majima's. he sees him over.
Oh, I can't wait for these two to meet.
Holy shit!
I hope the other's not doing anything exciting.
Yeah, so he sees him beating him over the head with a thing, and immediately all he goes into is, that could be like, he develops, I forget what the name of it's called. I think it's called Slugger, and it's essentially a baseball style.
You would help the guy who's having his head caved in
not.
with it.
Oh.
Of course not. He just sees it and he goes, that's a great fighting style.
That's right.
And he develops the Slugger style, which uses weapons.
R.I.P.
He goes to meet away before he meets, oh shit! It's a way better fighting teacher. It's your boy Komaki! Or Komeki, excuse me, it's Komeki! Who I'm going to kind of glaze over a little bit here. Needless to say, this is the most important fighting teacher in the entire series. He is in every game.
Right. Does he ever enter the main plot, or is he just here for combat tutorial?
He's here for combat tutorial, but he's also, I will vague spoil, he's Kiryu's iconic fighting teacher.
Right.
Who kind of helped him develop Kiryu's iconic fighting style.
Right.
So he's important to Kiryu's character. They kind of just put him in Majima's.
They
just put him in Majima's story here because they couldn't have had, he's meant to canonically meet Kiryu in Yakuza 1, so they couldn't have him meet Kiryu in Yakuza 0. Yeah.
Well, it's also interesting again, it's another parallel that both have met this man and learned under him, and
Yeah. So I'm not really going to mention him anymore. He's kind of just known for a very ruthless and seemingly insane style of teaching. Okay. But he gives you some batshit insane, overpowered fighting moves that I will get into more in Yakuza 1. Okay. Anyway, he's like, dude, that guy beating him over the head with a iron bat, that's Fui Hu, and he's actually a secret weapons dealer.
So there's this murder happening right there, and the two guys are like, you seen that? Yeah, well, I was thinking about developing a fighting style. Oh, I know that guy. Yeah, I know that guy.
He'll sell you some weapons. It's actually a really weird. It's a really weird system where basically he runs the guy who was beating the guy up. Apparently he was beating the guy up because he was trying to buy weapons, but he wasn't worthy of the weapons.
Right.
Okay. And you can basically commission him to go on like these adventures to like Peru and Mexico and Canada and Africa to find and develop new weapons. And you send him out on missions, then you'll get a page when he comes back and you can go to the ramen shop and pick up new weapons.
Cool.
Hey Majima, I've just got back from Peru. I've got a brand new weapon. I'm down by the ramen shop. Come see me.
Yeah, I just picked up a crowbar in Ecuador.
Anyhow, Majima goes to walk home, but he's called over by a man who's hiding behind a pillar.
There's just this street has too many fucking people in it.
Neil, you want to play this game?
I know.
This is the experience.
Yeah, see,
You can't walk 3 feet.
Trying to get home.
This is literally the big thing. I remember you raging about it when you were playing. Is
so annoying.
You don't go up and start sub-stories.
No.
Sub-stories start themselves when you walk.
Excellent.
Which, to be fair, is a very dynamic way for side quests to be given, like, to credit to the game. But it is like you finish a
is
side
every
story, you
person.
walk 3 feet.
A lot of games, you can see them coming. There's someone going, hey, you! And you kind of just walk in a big enough circle round it because you need to go and save or something.
It happens all the time in Dragon's
anyway,
Dogma. Sorry. Continue.
Guy behind the pillar doesn't have any pants.
There he is!
Ah! Is this the underwear quest you wanted?
Man.
There's a different underwear man that I thought you were talking about.
Oh, there's a third underwear man.
For the smaller percentage of our listeners who actually listen in a country in the UK, we mean trousers. The man is not wearing trousers and is
true.
wearing pants.
He's wearing briefs.
But for the 60-something% of you that live in the States,
He's wearing some tidy whities.
Yeah.
And only tidy whities.
but also some black loafers. He's got his
Bloody
black
hell.
business shoes on still.
He's a mysterious man. What's his deal?
Well, he's like, well, yeah, I called you over because I want your pants. Give me your pants, old man. And he fights Majima trying to take his pants.
Is Majima hitting people now that he's not in the club?
Oh, God, yeah. You know, he just learned a baseball bat style.
Yeah.
So he grabs a baseball bat and smacks him over the head with a baseball.
Oh, this is just some poor man who's obviously having a bit of a breakdown and just came up and asked for his trousers. And Majima's beating him half to death?
Yeah.
You-
Let him walk 3 feet.
So you make him soil his pants, and he's like, he's profusely apologizing. He's like, I'm so sorry. I was mugged by the Bontan hunter. He steals the cool kids' school pants from the students of Soton North High.
Is this a student?
Yeah.
It's a student, yeah.
Do we hit him with a baseball bat?
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, no. So the Bontan hunter is going around stealing Bontan, which are kind of like, you know, when you get that stereotypical like cool bad kid in a Japanese like school where they have like the puffy pants.
Yes.
Okay.
Those are Bontan.
Right.
Oh, right.
So
thank you. Okay.
he's going around stealing Bontan.
Right. The Bontan Bandit.
No, it's the Bontan hunter.
Should have been the bandit.
Yeah.
Bandit's a better name.
The Bontan hunter's a fucking elementary schooler.
Oh, we need to go and
like 10
get a
years
gun.
old.
Get a gun this time. Yeah.
He's crazy, man. He's been going around everywhere, and soon nobody's gonna have pants. And he like begs Majima to get involved. So Majima wanders around until
So this kid puts a bounty on the Bontan Bandit.
basically the Bontan hunter. So he walks around until suddenly, nice Bontan you've got there. I'll be taking those Bontan. Oh fuck! It's the Bontan hunter.
Oh, he's not an elementary school kid.
He is. He's 10 years old.
No, he's not.
He's 10 years old.
No, he's not.
For anyone listening along, a fully adult man has walked up.
Like, not even pretending here. This isn't bad graphics. That is a grown-ass man.
So what do we do to the 10-year-old boy
10-year-old
who wants our trousers?
Well, no, he wants our Bontan. And Majima was like, these are tuxedo pants. What are you on about?
Yeah, they're not even the pants you're looking for, bro.
So of course Majima takes out his baseball bat and beats up the 10-year-old.
Pants you're looking for. What?
Say that again?
Majima takes out his baseball bat and beats up this 10-year-old.
Right. But this is not a 10-year-old. This is a grown-ass man.
It's a 10-year-old.
He looks like he has children of his own.
To be honest, when I said this was my favourite character in gaming, I shot my wad way too early. That was...
Well, the 10-year-old Bontan Bandit that's actually 50 is your favourite character.
No, I imagine, all we've had since is him beating up children with a blunt weapon.
Yeah, no, this is the Bontan hunter.
Right.
So Majima beats him up, and then some kids run over. They're like, please don't hurt Ryuji-kun. He's just doing it for us.
Why?
So now, despite being like 3 times the size of these, like, remember those little kids who were shouting virgin?
Yeah.
This is what those kids look like.
Yeah.
Ryuji's like 3 times the size of them.
Okay.
But he's one of their classmates, actually.
So is this like a so he's not 10 years old?
He is 10 years old. He is legitimately 10 years old.
Right.
I wasn't shitting about that. He is legitimately 10 years old. He's just a big kid.
So the joke is just that this is a grown-ass man who's apparently 10 years old.
He's not a grown-ass man. He's just a 10-year-old who's big.
I hate this.
So we've bought the Bontan Bandit with a baseball
We're
bat.
so excited for this quest.
This isn't the quest I thought it was. I think I'm thinking of the third underwear. There is definitely a third underwear quest, but it's more famous, right?
Oh, there's so many underwear quests. So yes, these are Ryuji's classmates. And they're like, Ryuji's taking revenge for them on the delinquent kids of Soton North High. They beat up kids our age. They take our money. And then they threaten us not to tell the grown-ups. So they're sad though, because they're like, we don't deserve Ryuji's vengeance. Because they all shun him.
What is Majima saying to any of
Why
this?
does he care?
Majima's just kind of sat there listening to the kids.
You've got to earn $1 billion yen, bro. You own the biggest club in the city. Go home.
But no, so what we learn is that Ryuji's dad is a Yakuza. So when all the other parents found out, they're like, you can't hang out with him anymore. So all the kids shun Ryuji. So they're like, we don't deserve him taking vengeance for us. Imagine was like, I mean, why is that a big deal? Heaps of kids' dads are Yakuza. But it seems that his dad specifically is like an Omi big shot. Ooh. Like he's like a big Omi guy. So everybody is scared of him. Suddenly Ryuji wakes up. And they're like, we're sorry, Ryuji, for treating you. Thank you for looking out for us. And he's like, it ain't for you. I just can't stand those Soton North punk asses walking around like they own the place.
Right.
And one of the kids laughs. He's like, you're lying, Ryuji. We saw you get mad when those Soton North kids were picking on the girls in our class. And he's like, no, shut up.
Virgin.
He's like, I can't stand those Soton North pussies. Made it to high school, but none of them can fight. Bunch of losers.
Spoken like a true 10-year-old.
He looks over at
This
Majima.
is sad. Violence is cyclical and passes through families.
This character is sad. Ryuji's whole thing going on here. I don't like it.
He looks over at Majima and he's like, except you, Cyclops, man. You're tough as my old man.
Don't call him that.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
You little shit.
Yeah, fuck off.
And he looks over at Majima and he's like, you sure you're still in high school? Majima's like, they're not Bontan. I'm not a student.
Leave me alone.
Go away. And Ryuji's like, I don't care. I'm gonna be a bigger man than my dad. Can't be losing to strangers on the street. I ain't forgetting your face, bro. Next time I see ya, I'm taking your Buntan. I won't rest until I rip those pants off your ass.
You just know for a fact that this guy's Yakuza dad in the workplace pretends he doesn't have a son. People are like, how's your family doing? It's like, my wife is doing well.
Part of the reason his son is like this. I'm assuming then, is this character a little tease for somebody who's in the...
Yakuza 9, he appears and he's some big shot. He's the new head of the Omi Alliance.
He's gonna come rip Majima's pants off his ass.
Right.
So they get Majima to return the original Kin's Bontan, which he does, and he heads back. He finds Ryuji surrounded by like just bodies. There are bodies all over the floor, and Ryuji's like, oh, "What a bunch of mooks! What a waste of time! I gotta get home. I have math homework."
I hate this. Move on. Get back to the plot.
And Ryuji walks away, and one of the kids looks up at him from the ground. And they're like, "Wait, what's your name?" And he looks over. Ryuji Goda. Majima chuckles. He's like, "There's a dragon in the making."
Yeah, you called it, Neil. We're gonna see this. We're gonna see this character in 3 more games tops, and when he returns, he will look just like this. He will not have aged a day. That'll be the running joke. I hate this. Back to the plot.
Majima gets home, and we see, and what we see his home is it's a small, dingy, single-room apartment adorned only with a small futon in the corner and a single low coffee table in the center. A pack of cigarettes already sat waiting on it next to an overflowing ashtray.
Okay, so we're saying something about Majima actually has no inherent interest in wealth or in his private life or of kind of flaunting it at all. And I wonder if, tied with the look he gave to the homeless person on the street, maybe there's some stuff going on here. Maybe we're gonna...
Well, every penny goes into the billion yen or whatever he's trying to raise.
Majima drops his jacket on the floor, grabbing a cigarette and going to open the window, looking out across the river, where he sees an ominous man watching him. One from another apartment, one on a rooftop, another on a boat going down the river, and then he looks at the bridge, seeing the homeless men that he saw at the Grand.
Oh.
This city's a prison, he mutters.
Oh.
How long till I'm free of these walls? Bro?
Bro?
Who's his bro?
Blackout. Chapter 4, Proof of Resolve.
Ooh.
Woo! We open on a flashback 3 years ago in Kamurocho. A thick, ripped guy with long black hair and a back tattoo of a tiger looks confusedly out of a window. He turns around to a man entering. Hey, bro. It's a younger Majima, only with shorter hair and, both his eyeballs.
Okay.
Okay.
You got the stuff? Asks the bigger man. Majima opens the bag as he puts it on the table, and inside are several guns. Oh. Not a fake among them. Sourced them from the Dojima family. 6 guns, 6 rounds apiece. Gives us 36 shots. Good maths. To take out Yoshiharu Ueno and every Seiwa clan goon he's gotten there with him. The scene shifts and we see Majima's been called out to a warehouse. You wanted a warehouse.
I did.
By a man named Shibata. I'll be blunt with you, he says.
Shibata?
Shibata.
That's the name of a very well-known wrestler. I wonder if this is one of the cameos we mentioned.
I'm fairly certain it's not. Anytime there is a wrestler cameo, it is not by their name.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's usually, if they are playing an actual character, it's not by their name. Usually it's because they'll be like a character in like a mini game.
Got you.
I'll get to those when I get to those. So Shibata calls Majima out. And he's like, I'll be blunt with you. Today's raid on Yoshiharu Ueno, please don't go. Majima kind of gets a tremble in his voice. He's like, how did you know about that? And Shibata's like, you and Saejima plan to strike Ueno, freshly released from prison, at a ramen shop. Turns out the plan's problematic, so we're making some changes. You go ahead with it, and it will be trouble for the Dojima Patriarch, and for Shimano-san as well.
So it seems like Majima's working for the Dojima clan. No?
Okay, so this is technically background that you should kind of know. We'll get into this in a second. At this point, Majima is a member of the Shimano family.
Right.
Who themselves are a Dojima subsidiary.
Right.
So he's kind of, by second rung, he is kind of working under the Dojima. In the same way that Kashiwagi is working for Dojima, but under Kazuma.
Okay.
So he's just under Shimano, who is, I believe, a lieutenant at this point.
So the Tojo Patriarch, if he hears the name Majima, he probably knows who that is.
Not currently.
Gotcha.
No,
He's just a goon. He's a goon. He's a...
Yeah,
that's fine.
at this point, Majima's third rank.
Cool.
Like, Majima is, like,
lower than Kiryu, it sounds like, even.
at this point, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Like, Majima is down there at this point.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, so he's like, plan for you guys to kill Ueno. Problematic. We're making changes. Don't want to cause trouble for Dojima and Shimano. Now, underscoring all this, we see scenes of a small ramen shop. A car drives up to it, and a man opens the door as Patriarch Ueno steps out. We see Saejima from a car, who watches on and then gets out. 2 guns strapped to his... 2 guns in his hand, 2 guns in his waistband, a gun in his coat pocket, and a gun in his mouth.
What's the gun in his mouth for?
It's because Majima didn't show up, so he needs all 6 guns himself.
He has an unused top pocket in his suit. Is he trying to talk?
Shut up.
But like when we did Metal Gear Rising Revengeance and stuff, you had like Raiden with the sword in his teeth, and that was cool though because you turn your head and you cut someone. You cannot shoot someone with your mouth gun, sir.
He's not planning on it. He's planning on, once these bullets run out, he grabs the one from his mouth.
Right.
Put it in your back pocket.
Yeah. Put it in a bag.
Loser.
Try hard.
But anyway, so basically what it is Majima didn't show up, so Saijima's like, I'm doing it anyway, and he brings all 6 guns.
Okay. So Majima decided not to go because Shibata...
No, so while this is happening simultaneous with Shibata having Majima over in that warehouse.
So he just went for it because his partner didn't show up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they're like, this hit needs to happen.
Okay.
And legitimately, I forget, I think that they decided on this hit themselves. I don't think this was a hit approved.
Oh.
Which is why he was worried about, why did you know about this hit?
Dumbass.
So he walks calmly and determinedly down the street towards the restaurant. And it's a very cool scene. It's like a straight street. The ramen shop is directly at the end of the street.
Okay, cool.
And it's just him walking straight down the middle of the road, like guns in hand, straight towards the shop.
Yeah.
Very Western.
Yeah.
Except for that mouth gun.
Yeah.
In the warehouse, Majima throws Shibata against a wall. My bro's already on his way there. The hell do you expect me to do? Are you telling me to betray my sworn brother? To just sit here and let him die on his own? Shibata urges him to calm down, but Majima's seeing red. I'm going anyway. Saijima's the only brother I have in this world. Shibata tries to stop him, saying that he'll be signing his death warrant, but Majima doesn't care. He's long accepted death. A small smile creeps over the corner of Shibata's mouth. Well, then I'm afraid I have no choice. Boys, a group of men come out of the shadows, and we jump cut over to Majima beaten and bloody, chained up in the air to a metal beam.
Oh.
Shibata walks up to him, raises a knife to the sky, and plunges it down as the screen goes black.
And that's how he lost his eye then?
Yeah.
Right.
Jump cut, and Majima is strung up by the wrists in a cell naked. A larger man walks up. I'm disappointed, Majima. It's his boss, Shimano. Orders are absolute in the Yakuza. Thought you knew that. Majima begs him to tell him what happened to Saejima, but he just laughs it off. Yakuza who lose their way end up here in the hole. Don't worry, we won't kill you. Although all the guys we throw down here end up crying and begging to die.
Shimano is a big, bald, angry man.
Shimano was a massive.
Wilson Fisk vibes.
Yeah, pure
I
mountain
think
man.
he's meant to be a bit sumo wrestler-esque.
Okay.
But he's massive. Basically, this is his underground torture chamber. Yeesh. So he is like the Tojo's torture boy.
So Majima spent years down here before being granted leave to go and run the venue. This was where he spent all this time.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Shocked that he's able to keep it together, to be honest.
Yeah.
Thought he would have snapped.
Yeah, well, he did. He beats up kids in the street, if you remember. Not the actions of a sane man.
No, as a 50-year-old man pretending to be a 10-year-old.
I mean, they tried to steal his Bontan.
He wasn't wearing Bontan!
Majima wakes up in a cold sweat. But he doesn't have time to dwell on it. It's back to work. Woo! He gets to the Grand, quickly being told that the owner is calling for him. Sagawa wants Majima to come drinking with him at Ashitaba Park. Majima doesn't even get a chance to protest, so he pops to Ashitaba Park, where he finds Sagawa waiting at a food stall. Take a seat, Tiger, he says, ordering Majima a drink. Drinks just don't taste right when they're with you, Majima retorts. No, but he doesn't turn it down. Seems it's been about 2 years since they met. And that Sagawa, who is Shimano's oath brother, if you remember from when he first met him, basically said Majima toughed it out for a year in the hole, and then Shimano let him out and threw him to Sagawa as a slave. He wasn't even given a proper expulsion from the family. So technically, he is still a Yakuza. He's still a Shimano man.
But in this kind of shamed,
in this shamed,
subservient position.
Exiled slave to... And not even to Tojo. Like, remember, Shimano's Tojo. Sagawa is Omi. So, like, he didn't even send him off as a slave to his own family. He's like, West can deal with you.
Yeah, okay.
Yikes.
There is some kind of avenue of communication between the East and the West then, where they're sort of appeasing the other, keeping the peace. Almost.
During most kinds, there's kind of a balance between them.
Yeah.
And they work together to a degree as suits both of their goals.
Yeah.
But they are very much at odds with each other. But because they kind of have their own turfs, they don't oft clash.
You can almost read like an insult into it as well, though. It's like, have our cock up. Just take him.
That as well.
He's not good enough for us. You can have him.
Have this excellent restaurant manager.
So Sagawa asks Majima why he's so desperate to get back into the Tojo, questioning if it was because of 18 Counts Saejima. It was a huge story, as he recalls. Solo raid. Took out 18 men and walked away breathing. Guy's Tojo clan legend. Now it seems Saejima he's still alive, but he's in prison.
Right.
And Majima is convinced that he will be coming back.
Okay.
And that Majima needs to be in the Tojo waiting for him when he comes back.
Right.
Waiting for Saejima to come kill him.
Saejima to come kill him?
Because he didn't show up for the raid.
Oh,
he betrayed his blood brother.
Yeah, so he thinks that because he betrayed...
Because he's not going to know that he was trying to get to him, to help him.
So the only reason he was back in the Yakuza is to protect himself from his old brother that he...
No, it's so that he can go be killed with honor from his sword.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He's like, I let my brother down, so I'm going to go be waiting for him to come kill me.
I heard prior to starting this series, I think I read it somewhere on Twitter, or maybe it was a video essay from years ago, that Yakuza is all about toxic and positive masculinity. I'm yet to see aside from fucking Pocket Racer, I'm yet to see an example of positive masculinity. Now we are on zero,
You will get more. There is a lot of... Overall, I would absolutely call Kiryu a positive role model.
Right.
Overall. I'm not going to say he doesn't.
Not yet, maybe.
It's an origin story, I get it.
It is very much Kiryu finding his own sense of morality, his own code of honor, but yeah.
Okay.
Anyhow. So Sagawa, he doesn't get why, Majima would want to go kill, but he changed the subject, cutting to the chase. Can you kill a human being? Majima's stunned, but Sagawa continues. You said you'd do anything to get back in, wouldn't you? Who? Majima asks. With Sagawa responding, have you heard of a Makoto Makimura? Seems he runs a local prostitution ring, snatches up young college girls and puts them to work, scooping up all the profits. Word is, any girls who try to get out of the ring get beat so bad they'll never have kids. To serve as an example.
Jesus.
Scummy mark. Easy kill, yeah?
That's disgusting. I'm curious to know why the hell Sagawa cares.
Taking his profits, he just said.
Assumedly, yeah.
He's got a corner of the sex market.
I mean, yeah, they're controlling the sex trade, so it's probably just a guy.
Scumbag, right? But I mean, what we learned from Kiryu's story is that it takes a lot to put a hit out on somebody. Would that count as a lot to a Yakuza person?
Well, he's not quite a civilian. The thing we heard was that you can't put a hit on a civilian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay. Fair
because
enough.
somebody underworld you can cover up a lot easier, and the police won't necessarily ask as much.
It's just weird that they've not put a hit out on Kiryu's people haven't put a hit out on oh crap, what's the real estate villain called?
Tachibana.
Tachibana.
I mean, how do you know they haven't?
Huh? Okay.
Remember, the Tojo are looking for Tachibana. They just haven't been able to find him.
Okay, fair. Okay. Cool.
They haven't been able to look up and see him from the window, waving his hand across the skyline.
He's in the shadows.
Which is even funnier because his apartment is literally in central Kamurocho. It is the biggest apartment in Kamurocho.
That is that's a kind of big dick move. I've got to be honest. That's
very funny. It's right in Theater Square. Anyhow, Sagawa tells Majima that he has 2 days to find Makoto Makimura and take him out. Any longer, and he's going to be the one with the target on his back. Are they clear? He gives Majima a number, telling him to call that when the job is complete. Majima goes to leave, but he's stopped by Sagawa. With murder, who and how many doesn't matter. You kill one guy or you kill 18, a saint or a scumbag. Murder's murder. When you end a life, that's the end of any hope for normalcy for you as well. Whether you're just walking the streets or at home in your bed, you'll never escape the memory. Just a little advice from somebody who's been doing the Yakuza thing a lot longer than you. If you can get by without killing, do it. Goes without saying, right?
All right, Batman.
Are you really capable of offing a total stranger for your own personal agenda? Majima shouts at him to quit his nagging. Not like there's a future for a Yakuza who can't pull the trigger. I'll do your damn job. Not being able to change his mind, Sagawa gets up, paying for the food, and tells Majima that he'll be seeing him.
Why Sagawa? So Sagawa's like, can you go kill this guy for me? Majima's like, sure. It's like, oh, well, maybe don't.
I don't think I'm necessarily conveying this as much. Sagawa is very much like his slaver, but I think there's an impression given off that Sagawa does actually have at least a modicum of fondness for Majima.
Oh.
Like, he kind of sees him, I feel like, as a pet is potentially a way of, like,
Right.
he's like, I've given you this life of pretty much luxury.
Yeah.
You can't
You can stay doing this with me. You don't have to kill this guy.
Exactly,
You can
yeah.
stay and do this with me.
Like, I think that Sagawa is kind of implied to have some regrets of his own. And that he's kind of like, look, I've been in this game a lot longer. If you can live out this cushy life working the Grand, I would recommend it. I personally, if I could go back, would choose it over. I think is the impression. He never like fully is like kind to Majima, but subtextually it kind of seems like he has at least some level of fondness.
Okay.
But yeah, so Majima wakes up the next morning, resolved to end Makoto Makimura's life. Going off Sagawa's advice, he hits up the telephone clubs, which are kind of like clubs where you can go.
Like sex call clubs.
Basically, yeah, you go and they have a phone on the desk, and then sex workers will call into the phone.
Yeah.
And you can have phone sex. And
the 80s were wild.
they're real grim because it will be like a little tiny like cubicle, and it will have just tissues and lube on the table next to the phone. It's a bit grim.
Yeah. Whatever works for you.
And it's just like a desk with a single chair and the phone in front of it. We get to Kiryu goes to a few of them later, and they're very amusing. I'm fairly certain you put a picture of it in the trailer for Lord Up this year.
Probably. I just picked random shit online.
Anyhow, so he's come here trying to track down any of Makimura's girls. So he keeps calling the lines, and eventually he happens to strike gold with a college girl who coincidentally happens to be interested in tattoos, saying that she's willing to meet up with anybody who has them.
Tattoos! Yeah. Here we go.
We've not gotten there.
Finally get to main plot shit.
So, finally when he's hooked one, he asks about Makimura, and the girl gasps, quickly saying that she's got to go, but Majima kind of reels her back in. He's like, I'm a freelance writer, I'm trying to do an article on Makimura, so they decide to meet up. Majima walks outside, no shit, it's the walking erection!
This guy! This is the underwear man I know!
It's Mr. Libido, the walking erection!
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not actually going to get him too much, but he's very amusing. He teases Majima about being swimming in women as the manager of the Grand, and yet he still goes for phone sex first thing in the morning, you poon hound.
You enjoying yourself, Neil?
Oh boy.
Majima tries to retort that, he's the real perv if clearly he goes to all these pieces, and Mr. Miura's like, oh, you don't know the half of it, 3 times a day ain't even enough, I go place to place. Majima's like, how much jizz do you have in you?
Look at Neil. He refuses to look at the screen.
From pocket circuit to this.
You will pay attention.
This is a roller coaster for me.
He tells Majima that they're birds of a pervy feather and that he wants to trade tips. Wink wonk. Majima prays that he means info.
Wink wonk.
He tells Majima that anytime he goes down the street, he makes a mental note of every girl he passes to see if they filmed a porn.
Oh, God.
Then he tells you where to find the best porn and he runs away.
Oh.
And basically this is because
We don't get a chance to take a baseball bat to Mr. I take a mental note of every woman in the street. This is a walking red flag for future crimes.
Sounds like Grums' fan base. So I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to that shit. No, it's the people that are like, Harley Quinn's not sexy enough in the new Suicide Squad game. All that shit.
You need to get off Twitter.
Basically, this is for a minigame that I won't really go in depth to. It's basically you can find telephone cards around town with pictures of sexy girls in them, and then you can go to the telephone club and call the girls and have sex chats.
Right. Is there anything else going on here?
That's kind of it. It's just a minigame.
Is it hot?
It's there.
Is it just one of these sort of side games that was put for in Western games too, was put in for sort of teenage boys and no other reason?
Well, I think that it was put in mainly because that is just legitimately the culture in Japan there. In these nightlife towns is These telephone clubs, these telephone
Yeah,
cars
but it doesn't
are real
strike me
things.
as something that this character would do.
Well, I think it's there mainly because it is something that the Yakuza have their fingers in, and this is trying to just put as many things that the Yakuza have their fingers in the game.
I'm overthinking it.
Amusingly, anytime that there is like a sexy women minigame, it's very often real life women in like actual just FMV. Like it's not mocap, it's not animated. It is just videos of the women.
Anyway, can we get back to killing the pimp?
Okay, yeah.
Don't be silly, we have Libido Man to deal with.
No, we've got Libido Man, and Majima's going to go do the sex calls, but also this entire time he's got to the back of his mind that he needs to go and save some sex workers.
His friend is coming out of prison to kill him. No one has any sense of urgency.
No, just no sense of tone.
Anyway, Majima heads to Iwayo Bridge to meet the college girl, Akko. And when they do meet, he tries to put her at ease, saying how he's a super sexy movie star and that she's seen through his disguise. Oh, drat. And I love this image that I have that I just so happen to catch where you can see under the glasses he's like squeezing his empty eye shut under the sunglasses and he's got like lips in a duck face like, nuts. I guess not even a getup like this was enough to disguise myself from a sharp kid like you. It's a real curse being this handsome. Sometimes, you know.
No, he's the Lord of the Day.
So she laughs. She's clearly not buying at it, but she at least thinks that, you know, he's just a goofy guy. He's not, like, a threat.
Yeah.
And she's like, no chance that this goofball is the guy. Gore's like, the guy? But she's not talking. Oh. So Majima takes her out for some expensive sushi. They get talking. He's like, do you do this often? She's like, recently it's been daily. Majima's surprised, commenting on something like about how she has such strict quotas. And she's confused, but she's like, I don't have any quotas. It's the best part of the job that she can make her own hours, no strings attached. Majima's now the one baffled, saying that he thought Makimura was gathering up college girls to make them work and steal their take. But that seems to completely blindside Akko, who says that Makimura is nothing like that at all. 95% of the girls only do escorts on dates. They're not prostitutes. And what's more, Makimura's never asked for a cent from them.
We've been duped.
So Akko asks if the whole reporter thing was just like a ruse to get her into a hotel, but Majima's like, no.
Who do you think I am, Mr. Libido?
Which she says is good, because if you had tried that, you'd be in a world of hurt. They continue the date, going on, they go to the arcade, they play the UFO catcher, he wins her a little stuffed bird, they go to the disco, it's adorable.
Okay.
Basically she's like, if Majima accompanies her and pays for everything, tee-hee, that she'll tell him anything about Makoto that she wants.
So chapter 4 is just Majima goes on a date with a sex worker.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the way to the disco,
Cool.
Majima happens to witness a fight breaking out. And then Komaki shows up and he's like, judging from their attire, they are practitioners of the new breaking dance.
Yes! This is the one I wanted to mention earlier. Yes!
We see a bunch of breakdancers on the bridge, and Komaki shows up. He's like, these are practitioners of the new breaking dance the kids are so fascinated with these days. It is their custom to settle disputes by dancing. These kids break the dance. Holy shit!
That's right.
Majima's no longer Lord of the Day. Call him Michael Flatley. He's Lord of the Dance.
This is the single best fighting style in the game.
Yeah,
it is a
it is.
breakdancing fighting style.
Amazing.
It's also crazy OP too.
It is so OP. He fucking goes around, he's like spinning tops, he like fucking leg sweeps, he's like does cartwheels, flips.
You can just turn him into a Beyblade and he just like, it's so good. Yeah, really good.
It is the best fighting style in the game. Holy shit, indeed. Back on track. Majima and Akko head to the disco, where Majima spills, he spills in the VIP room. He's like, asking Akko if she has any friends, but she's like, I don't. Where we learn that she actually ran away from home, and not many people want to be friends with a runaway, or, you know, let her couch serve. They say that a lot of the girls in the industry are like her. You know, some grab guys just to be taken to a hotel just for a place to sleep, you know, even if it is risky. But that's where Makoto Makimura comes in. He's looking out for the girls with no place to go, keeping them safe on the streets at night. Anything goes wrong and they page Makimura, and he's there to rescue them in no time flat. He's tall as a tree, with muscles like a bear. She gets up to go and dance, but is accosted by someone who seems to be a prior customer. Seems he tried spiking her drink, and still feels like he's owed some action that he didn't get when she noticed. Ain't got your meathead boyfriend here to rescue this time. But who needs a meathead when you have Mr. One-Eye himself? Majima struts over, breaking dancing them into the floor.
Yeah.
This is literally the breakdance fight style tutorial.
Love it.
Right here to beat up this sleazebag who wanted to drug her.
Excellent.
amazing. So they leave, and Akko tells Majima that Makoto-san's a chiropractor most of the time. Got a place over on Shofukucho South called the Hogashi Kaikon. Majima finally has his target. He says goodbye to Akko, who tells him not to tell Makoto that it was her who told him. These details are meant to be kept super top secret, but he seems nice. Majima says that she really has a lot of trust and respect in Makimura, and of course she does. Sotenbori's overflown with girls who will tell you that it was Makoto-san who saved their lives. Girls who got tricked by terrible men. Girls who've been put through all kinds of hell. Girls on the verge of suicide. To all of them, he's practically a saint. Seems there's only one catch with the work, she says, is that if they're working and happen to find a guy with a tattoo of a bat, I was waiting for that breath, they need to let Makimura know right away. Seems all the girls have banded together to repay Makimura by tracking the guy down. Hence why she was asking if Majima had any tattoos.
Right, okay.
Who's the man with the bat tattoo, Neil?
As she goes to leave, Majima comments to himself that he knows where Makimura is, but it ain't adding up. He's nothing like how Sagawa described him, but it doesn't matter. Saints are scum, he's killing Makimura, that's the job.
Oh.
I now have a note to insert the sub-story where Majima accidentally breaks the Japanese economy by inventing sales tax.
What?
In the Yakuza universe, canonically, Majima is responsible for the bubble economy popping for recession in Japan and also for sales tax.
How?
Because he goes out for drinks with a politician who's like asking him about things and then teaches him, and the politician's like trying to propose sales tax because the West has it, and Majima's like, 3% ain't enough, we need 8% sales tax.
Right.
And yeah, together they get an 8% sales tax through, which is at least partially responsible in the real world for crashing the bubble economy.
Why does Majima care, first of all, enough to pursue this?
I don't know.
Secondly, it seems more like the politician's fault to have a drink with a guy at the bar. We've all been in a taxi in Glasgow and some guy goes, I think we should send criminals to the moon, and you go and you sort of go, oh yeah, no, absolutely. You don't sit in the back taking notes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, right next.
So
When is this going to tie in with Kiryu's plot?
Anyway,
Okay.
Majima's tense. He's going for a hit. He needs to calm the nerves.
Yeah,
It's probably his pal or something. Like,
I love you.
Stop it.
24% or Cinderella. It's the male power fantasy. A bunch of men on roller skates in idol costumes singing about being Cinderella.
I mean, I do love that.
This is the best karaoke song.
It is the best karaoke song. Well, outside of Bakami Tai.
Don't remember what that
Which-
is. I know this one.
Might I add, because I don't think I have a note anywhere, Bakami Tai is the iconic, it is like the most iconic Yakuza karaoke song.
Right.
It's the one that I sung at the end of the Arkham Knights one.
Yes.
And really amazingly, it's in every single game, it has Kiryu looking down at a locket with a picture. And it's always a picture of like somebody, because the song's very melancholy. It's like, I've been a fool. I waste away and drink because I lost you. And in every one, it's like somebody who reminisces on. And in Yakuza 0, it's the Pocket Circuit Fighter.
Oh my god. That is just textual.
Kiryu, canonically bi. Yep.
Anyhow, nerves sung away. It's time to commit a murder, yeah? So he heads over to the Hogashi Kaikon. He heads up the stairs, pulling this very ornate knife. He's got a very cool knife. Real slick, like Japanese style. It's very straight. One piece when it's still in its handle. And he pulls it out of his jacket before kicking in the door and rushing into what looks like a medical office, shouting for Makimura. But he checks the whole place and it's empty.
Oh, okay.
He does happen to note a picture of the esteemed chiropractor up on the wall, kind of studying his mark before he goes to leave. He is a bear of a man. He's like, I'll come back later. But as he does, he hears a voice from the door. Is anyone in there? A woman's voice calls. Majima hides the knife behind his back as the woman in the doorway turns to face him. Is that a customer? He holds his breath.
Oh, yeah.
He holds his breath, pulling the knife in front of him and starting towards her, still looking at him. And she's like staring right at him. She goes, that's odd. Sorry, is anybody in here?
Mm-hmm.
Now Majima stops, realizing the truth that this woman is blind. She continues, did I leave the door open when I went out? She goes to close the door and walk in, and Majima kind of tries to awkwardly, like, backstep. He's, like, cartoon, like, pushing himself against the wall as she walks in front of him. But he fucks up and accidentally bumps into her, and she screams. She's like screaming that he's a thief and running for help, and he tries to calm her down. He's like, no, I'm a customer. But I only just came in behind you. That's why I wasn't here before. That's why you missed me. Is because I came in behind you. Yeah. But I'm hurting real bad. I was told the doc in charge had them god hands. And she's apologetic for mistaking him for a thief. And he's like, I definitely for sure am not that. So she bursts into tears.
Oh, great. Well, glad she's feeling the blame.
Sadly, it seems that Makimura isn't in for the rest of the day. He goes... So Makoto's like, oh, don't worry, little lady. I'm actually feeling better now. I'll see myself out, which immediately caused her to be like, you are a thief!
Yeah, this is the most suspicious anyone's ever been.
He's not a very good con man.
Yeah.
Luckily, our sly guy turns around saying that she turns around asking if she could give him a massage instead, because he is definitely for sure a customer. So she begins to work on him, noting his rock hard muscles, saying they must hurt real bad, and asking what he does for a living. You do get some options here to lie, but the closest that you can give is that you're a cabaret waiter. She says how she gets a lot of those, noting recently that someone from the Grand saying that it looked like a war zone because the manager was totally out of control.
Well, I thought it was everyone agreed that it was running
amazing.
excellently.
Yeah. It was the best cabaret in the world.
Maybe. So they continue the small talk.
Well, mind you, he's not been there for 2 days while he's been wandering around doing bullshit. Place has gone to hell.
Dealing with Mr. Libido.
Comes back, yeah, obviously we fired you. You didn't show up for days. We just saw you going in and out of an office.
So they continue the small talk. The woman loves hearing about her customers, and eventually the conversation does turn to her boss, who she says really helped her to turn her life around. He's the only reason that she's made it this far. No one else would take a blind girl. Majima asks about her boss, who we learn just has a scary facade and treats a real swafty. He's a real swafty.
Wait, I thought this guy was the pimp that exploited his workers.
No, we found out through the last, half an hour of talking that that's probably not true.
Okay, sorry,
That's just
my
what
bad.
Sagawa told them.
Right, okay. Sorry. So the man he's got to hit is actually nice.
Yeah.
He's a lovely man.
Sagawa seems to have misled.
Seemingly he really prioritizes his clients and their health first and foremost, even going off and doing house calls to those too in pain to make it to his clinics. She really looks up to his humanity.
Right.
The massage continues, and Majima eventually completely dozes off. He's so comfortable with this woman. She wakes him, asking him to turn over while she goes to grab a pillow. When suddenly we hear from the other room, "Boss?" Majima immediately comes to alertness, and we hear the boss's voice come from the other room, saying how he left his wallet. Oopsies, so he came back to grab it. He asks her if she's working on somebody coming over to greet the customer. He pulls the curtain over Majima's bed, and just sees this shirtless Yakuza with very obvious tattoos lining his thing.
What are
That's his knife, and there's the woman who's currently massaging him.
The woman has a cane, has a stick. I mean, how did he not immediately tell?
He's not very smart.
No.
What's Majima's tattoos? Sorry, did you explain this earlier? What's it all?
Oh, so we can see it there. It's of a Hanya, which is a, it is a Japanese demon of some sort. But he's got a real cool one, where most people just have it on their back. His wraps all the way around his arms and sleeves.
That is cool.
The chiropractor who's just come in, I've forgotten his name now, the guy we're trying to kill.
Makoto Makimura.
He seems to have Yakuza tattoos as well.
Yeah, so he's also absolutely covered. He's even more covered than Majima in tattoos.
Neil's Yakuza alert is going off.
So there's no words needed between them. Their looks between each other give them a full understanding of the situation. And they both glance. His knife is right here at the bottom of the bed on a cart. And they both kind of glance over to the knife. And they keep talking as normal, trying not to alert the woman. But all the while, he's kind of slowly walking over to the side to grab a bunch of massive chiropractor needles. And he's like, hey, can you go off and get me a box of smokes? I need them to light up the needles for acupuncture. I'm gonna give this guy the full course. So she goes and heads off, and the facade just drops. So Makimura tells Cyclops to grab his knife. And he does, jumping out of bed, and right into a fighting stance. He asks Majima where he heard the name Makoto Makimura, but it hardly matters. Majima comments how he seems awfully relaxed considering the situation. The man says how he doesn't know if Majima's Omi or what, but that he's not really shaken by some rookie hitman dumb enough to get comfy in his shop.
Yeah, that's a very fair point.
He tries to give Majima one last out, but no one's budging. So we have a boss fight with Massive Man.
Oh.
Do we just kill him with a knife?
Nah, you just beat him up.
Okay.
But at the end of the fight, they're both kind of winded, but Majima is clearly, like, considerably more, like, beaten up than this man. It's more like kind of you just happen to fight him off than actually beat him. They go to swing at each other with a punch, and it's kind of one of those ones where, like, they both punch and they, like, stop an inch before the face because suddenly, they hear footsteps from behind them. So they stop, and a bunch of men in suits walk in.
Oh.
Both of them are like, these men are yours. And both of them are like, these men aren't mine.
Oh.
A third party has arrived.
So the lead of the man who just walked in looks at the owner saying, you're the owner here, right? Wen Hai Lee, yeah? Where's Makoto Makimura?
Oh.
Majima's immediately confused, but the owner holds strong, saying, I am Makoto Makimura, which causes the Yakuza to just laugh hysterically, telling him to cut the crap. But before they can ask anything else, the woman comes back with the smokes. The Yakuza all turn around to look at her. Makoto, the owner mutters under his breath.
Oh.
She's Makoto.
Perfect timing, the Yakuza says. Welcome back, Makoto Makimura-chan. Lee shouts at her to run, rushing the man, but he pulls out a gun, shooting Lee twice. Oh. Makoto starts screaming, shaken and not understanding what's happening. Lee continues to scream at her to run. Holy shitballs! The hell's going on here? Majima says from his bed.
An appropriately weighted response.
How old is Majima meant to be? 20s.
He, I believe, is in his early 30s in this game. Okay. He's a decent bit older than... He's not, like, massively older than Kiryu, but he's a decent bit older than
It's not how a man in his 30s should be speaking.
Holy shitballs.
Well, I just spent a year in the hole. I don't know where his... Sorry, you're right. I don't know where his head's at.
Anyhow, the Yakuza grab Makoto, pulling her from the shop, while Majima goes to chase after her. The Yakuza asks who the fuck he thinks he is, and he says, well, she's my mark. And seemingly, same goes for them. She's their mark too. He pulls a gun, pointing it at Majima's chest before a needle goes straight through the hand, and he drops the gun. He writhes in pain, clutching his hand, as we see Lee from the ground turn to us, having managed to get up to his knee despite the gunshot wounds to his chest.
He's great.
I like this guy.
Yeah. And he's like begging at us to go help Makoto. The Yakuza just shoots Lee again, this time in the stomach.
No one goes for the head.
Put him out of his misery, yeah.
The Yakuza looks at Majima, telling them that both of them are going to be floating in the Sotenbori River tonight. And then you fight them off. So Majima quickly dispatches them and runs outside after the men, finding them trying to shove Makoto in a car. Majima fights them off and runs to grab Makoto.
So at this point, are we just supposed to assume that Makoto is a chiropodist who helps sex workers? Like,
no, so this is where we have found out Makoto is
just a woman.
Just a woman. She's a blind woman. It seems like...
Why do they want to kill her then?
What we're meant to lead to assume is that Lee, the chiropractor, has been calling himself Makoto Makimura.
Yeah.
Probably in a way that if anybody came looking for the woman Makoto Makimura, they'd be led to him.
Yeah.
And he could kill them. But he is the one who has been helping the sex workers.
Okay. Well, the opposite has happened, and he's got her captured because of his strategy.
So this is one big setup for Majima then.
Seems it.
Yeah.
So he runs out, and Makoto recognizes his voice, asking him what's going on. From the side, one of the Yakuza says that more boys are on the way, so Majima tells Makoto that he'll explain later, and he grabs her and ushers her away. Then we have a horrible stealth section where you run through the streets of Sotenbori and you keep hiding down alleyways.
Oh, I remember this too.
While people run by. It's not great. It's fine. But they're trying to make for Majima's apartment. And they manage just to get to the door before they get annoyingly caught by the man with the gun from the clinic. Majima beats them down one more time, demanding to know who they are and why they want Makoto. The man laughs at Majima, saying how he doesn't understand Makoto's value, that he doesn't know what he's stepping in, and then he collapses. Majima grabs Makoto's hands, running through the streets of Sotenbori before finally losing the man and catching their breath in a dark alleyway. Makoto collapses on her ground to her knees, terrified, and clutching onto Majima's leg, crying about how she's scared. Majima comforts her, putting a hand on her head and telling her it's all right. She asks about the boss, and he tells her that he made it out too. They'll be together soon. She continues to cry as Majima slowly reaches his hand into his jacket,
What?
pulling out his knife. He unsheaths it, looking down at Makoto. We catch a glimpse of his reflection in the knife, and the chapter ends. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
I mean, he doesn't kill her.
Dunno, back to Kiryu.
Yeah, so back to Kamurocho. It's time for Chapter 5, An Honest Living!
Oh.
We do get a little, like, last time on, The Adventures of Kiryu Kazuma. Like,
Oh, I love it when they do all that stuff. Alan Wake did the same
recap thing.
thing.
But you guys don't need a recap, so you're not getting one. Bye! So we come back to Kiryu and Nishiki, and they're at the local batting center, just hitting some balls. You know, playing some baseball. And Kiryu is catching him up, telling him that he's now working as a real estate agent for Tachibana. Now, see if Tachibana has already started digging around for info to clear Kiryu's name. And what we've learned is that the cops already have Kiryu's name because his prints were on the body from, you know, when he beat him up.
Yeah, well,
that's
from when he
probably-
almost killed but didn't quite kill that man.
Important clarification.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that seems to be why he was sent to be the one to do it, so his prints got all over the body. Oops. But seemingly Tachibana has enough power to at least get them to hold out on coming after Kiryu for 2 or 3 days.
Right.
So he can get a stall on the police.
He's bought some time to go pocket racing.
No, they're playing baseball.
Sorry, now it's baseball.
Nishiki asks Kiryu what he's going to do in the meantime, but Kiryu's already told him. He's a real estate agent. He's got to get to work.
It's a stupid big dumb man doing big dumb man things and not focusing on the main plot. And I know technically this is connected to the main plot because just continue.
So they need to go do real estate until they can pin down the owner.
Right.
So Oda is going to show Kiryu the ropes, but before he can, we got to get a new fit.
No, we don't.
Can't be looking like a Yakuza, eh? So, of course, fashion lad Nishiki's on the case. They head off, Nishiki ribbing Kiryu the whole way about his shit fashion taste. Now, big bro Nishiki is going to turn him into a real businessman yet.
Nishiki is definitely the one that set Kiryu up. He's the one that killed the man in the alleyway.
You've said that about 8 people now.
Yeah, but this is the one I'm committing to now. It's Nishiki.
Well, Nishiki's dead by the end of the game either way, whether it's a sad friend death or he's the villain.
What do you think? You don't think he'll continue into the next one?
No.
Well.
I think you often introduce a best friend in an origin story, don't you?
Yeah, I think he's the baddie.
So they end up at a small suit shop where Kiryu picks out a sleek white pinstripe suit with a banging gold chain print shirt. Pops that collar open.
The iconic shirt, according to Monty.
The iconic shirt, according to Monty.
Yeah, this is the iconic look, right? The white pinstripe suit.
Iconic.
Okay. I don't know. This is the look I know. This is your origin. This is your prequel moment, isn't it? It's like, oh, now he's got the suit.
How did Han Solo get the gun?
Exactly.
So despite Nishiki having picked it out, he still obviously makes fun of Kiryu for looking goofy as fuck. But of course still pays for it, treating Kiryu for his bro's fresh start.
Sure.
I don't actually think Nishiki did pick it out. I'm pretty sure Kiryu picked it out and Nishiki's just like, fucking fine, whatever you want, man, I'll pay for it.
Sure.
Congrats on the new job.
Yeah.
So Kiryu sets off for Cafe Alps to meet Oda.
I wouldn't buy anything from a man dressed like this. Just want to put that out there right now. Wouldn't trust him from a mile away.
Look at his crisp haircut, though. He looks so respectable. Look at his 5-pixel eyebrows.
Yeah.
Strong eyebrows.
Strong eyebrows. Kiryu sets out for Cafe Alps to meet Oda, but not before a parting warning from Nishiki that our old pal Kuze is still on the warpath. He's dead set on ending Kiryu after the last run-in left him short on fingers and patience.
Yes, this is what the plot needs. Get back to Kuze.
You just want Kuze and Majima, nothing else.
Yes.
Right, so we go to meet Oda. What's Oda saying?
Kiryu meets up with Oda, who runs him through the basics of a civvy office life, of course.
Yeah, okay. This is going to be 4 hours of gameplay.
This is how you intimidate a small business owner.
They meet up with an older client of the firm who's got a problem with squatters. Because of protection laws, the owner's not going to get out of this without paying off the squatter, so it's their job to make that cost as little as possible. Now, before they go in, Oda hands Kiryu a little case of business cards, his own little civilian business cards, and he dubs him an official Tajimana real estate agent. So they head in and immediately...
What's Kiryu's... I just want to get a sense of like what his expression is. What his response...
Yeah,
is he like, ooh, cool business cards? Or is he like, meh?
Does our character reflect on the fact that he's kind of now doing the evil thing that he was trying to stop them doing earlier in the game?
Or that he's just gone from one Yakuza to another one?
I think that y'all have read it not the way the game wanted. The game wanted you to read it as, no, the people that they're taking these business from are actually money grubbing, and so they aren't actually doing a bad thing.
Right, so we're supposed to be on the team of the conglomerate.
We're supposed to be, clear out the small business owners.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not,
I mean, yeah, that is the way the game reads it, yes.
I thought this was building up to I thought this was all building up to a whole anti-capitalist thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of wealth disparity shown in this game. It's fine. I'll meet the game in its terms. I just had expectations that were maybe.
Who's to say that it's not still that? Just through different avenues.
Sure.
You don't know. You don't know where the journey's ending.
He got some business cards though.
But is he happy about his business cards? Is he like, oh, I like these? He's just such a nothing man.
He's a bit of an indifferent person through most of this game, to be honest.
Get back to Majima.
Oh, this just feels like our texts when you were playing this game. So we head in, and immediately the test begins with Oda testing us on which table we choose, what seat we pick, how we talk to the customer, how we offer the business card, because he's a fucking hard ass. So it turns out the squatter has Yakuza backing him up. But never fear, Mr. Owner, our resident Yakuza otaku, Kiryu, is here to help. The owner tries to offer him a generous tip, but Oda turns it down, saying that Tachibana told him not to accept any gifts.
Right.
The owner's generous patronage over the years is enough. On their way to deal with the squatter, we run into... Is that a familiar face? Is that Kamurocho's very own Mr. Libido?
Oh my god, he's come... Wait, what?
He's back! He's here to tell us about telephone clubs, the hottest new phone sex minigame brought to your very own home game console.
So has he just got a bus over here after speaking to Majima?
No, it's another one.
There's two of them.
They're twins.
Oh.
Is he also naked?
Yeah, he's also naked. So of course, Kiryu doesn't have time to go deal with squatters. He needs to go to the phone booth.
No, he doesn't.
His fingers are itching at the trigger.
Sick of this.
His fingers are itching at the trigger to pick up that phone.
What is happening?
For anyone listening along, we've got our newly outfitted Kiryu in a sort of anime pose, very dramatically. I'm assuming in slow motion.
Of course.
Pulling the phone out of the receiver. Yeah.
And what's he doing?
I would like to know as well that the way this works is you're sat in the chair staring at the phone until a quick time event comes, and then you quick time event the phone and you rip it out. So and then he puts it to his ear very calmly. He's like, "Yes, hello."
So is this just Kiryu learning about the same minigame that Majima's been doing?
I don't actually think technically Majima could do the minigame. I think Majima was just told about the minigame.
Right, okay.
Right, so this is different from the phone sex office, or is this...
Yes.
This is Virgin Kiryu getting his rocks off.
So, no, he's not a virgin anymore. He held hands with Pocket Circuit Fighter.
Right. Okay.
They held hands. So Kiryu spends the next few hours sexing up ladies to some very visual imagery that I'm not allowed to show on YouTube lest we get hit with the old demonetization hammer. But I did put into your Facebook message chats.
You did probably.
I remember sending to you and going, I don't think we can show this.
Oh,
You
yeah, I
went,
do
"No."
remember, yeah.
Yes, I do remember this now, yeah.
So instead, Kiryu's just going to slowly walk out of the telephone club and pretend that none of that ever happened.
Just like us, Kiryu.
And he's going to walk down the streets when suddenly he hears the smooth tones of the Prince of Pop is in town. Miracle Johnson's in town.
Miracle
Oh my
Johnson?
God. So it turns out...
Why is the character's name a reference to a popular basketball player from the era?
Hold on, man. Miracle Johnson's in town, and it turns out he's in a bit of a bind. Now, one of Miracle's team tells Kiryu that he's been having trouble with his latest music video. And oh no, well, Kiryu's never been one to turn down somebody. And, you know, he's a man of many hats. So, of course, he'll be the director.
A question for you, Chase. The entire time Kiryu's doing all of this nonsense, is there just like a little main quest marker on his map to say go here to do the next main story thing?
Yes.
Or is this all main story shit?
No, this is side story.
Right, okay. He's trying to get to the main plot, and every 3 feet, Mr. Libido's here, Miracle Johnson's here.
No, so the guy tells Kiryu that Miracle's vision for this music video is that he's going to be dancing through hordes of attacking zombies.
I did do this.
But he ain't going to think it's real enough unless they're really attacking him. So he needs Kiryu to protect him. So we head with
Wait,
this...
so the video is also going to have Kiryu in it fighting off...
Yeah.
Fighting off the zombies while Miracle Johnson dances. Yes.
And annoyingly, Kiryu doesn't do breakdance. This feels like a side quest that should have been for Majima.
So we head to the bar to meet the director. Mr. Steven Spinning.
For anyone who's listening along, it's just Steven Spielberg down to the baseball cap.
No. I don't know who that is. This is Mr. Steven Spinning.
Right.
The hit director of the global smash movies. Like Indian Jeans.
No.
Or
me back! That got me back!
or what about that other one, A.T.? You know, the one where the boy rides a unicycle with an alien over the moon?
A.T.
A.T. Suddenly, a man bursts through the door and moonwalks into the room. Hey, Miracle, looking rad as ever, Steven calls. Yes, Steven, I was bone cool.
No,
Sunglasses emoji. It's Miracle Johnson.
Yeah, I did wonder when you said zombies if it was going to be Thriller. But I also was confused by that name being a reference to Magic Johnson.
I remember the action of, filming the thing and fighting the zombies. I do not remember Miracle Johnson or Steven Spinning. How do I not remember this?
The worst part of the quest.
Yeah, apparently.
I love. He moonwalks into the room. He does literally the spin, the crotch grab, the like.
They must have got this signed off, or maybe they just never expected that the Jackson estate would ever see this.
Does this game make you think that anyone on the team seriously gives a fuck?
So yeah, then we do the music video. It's Miracle moonwalks down the street while Kiryu beats up actors dressed as zombies, and everybody loves it. Best music of all time, true masterpiece. And I have a note: please God, show this quest to Neil. So I'll show it to you later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not as set on playing this as I was 2 hours ago, so maybe.
So back on track, Kiryu goes to grab a gift box and heads to the building where Oda's waiting. They head up, knocking on the door of the squatter. And he kind of like opens it, sees them, and he goes to shut it, but they shove the gift box like right through the door, so he can't shut it. As well as their business cards. It's like one arm's the gift box, the other's the business card, and then Kiryu is underneath it also with his business card. So it's like 3 arms in the door.
I do appreciate what dweebs these characters are, like a lot of what they do kind of sucks, and I quite like that about them.
So they've got their work cut out for them though, because the squatter knows his rights. And honestly, it's hard to kind of say when he's in the wrong when Kiryu and Oda try and force him to give up. Kiryu even kind of trying to force him to being there for a relocation bonus. Oda though has it figured out. He's big brain. He's like, squatter, bring out the Yakuza you work for. And he passes on a little message that Tajimana Real Estate's on the case. So they leave. And Kiryu teases Oda that, where'd all that business etiquette go? But there's a time and place, Oda chides. Besides, the squatter isn't their real business rival here. They just need to bring the real ones to the table. Luckily, the Yakuza are nice and punctual, demanding $7 million in cash to remove the squatter. But Oda has a different negotiation tactic in mind, calling forth his Pokemon Kiryumon to smash them into the pavement.
Did you write that? You're proud of yourself? I'm proud of you. That's fun. That's really fun.
I was telling Neil in the car that after 20 pages, it became very difficult to find creative ways to say that Kiryu punched somebody. So Kiryumon. He does this with ease, and the men say that they won't forget his face. Before they can run off, Kiryu asks them what family they run with. Taihei Association. Awano's boys.
Oh.
He was one of the big 3.
So he's one of the lieutenants.
Yes.
And now you can see his little purple shirt and his turtleneck.
In my head.
That makes him not look like popped collar Kuze.
Yes.
In my head, he's like a Michael Madsen character from a Tarantino movie,
I see that.
Like kind of like...
Hey.
Yeah, kind of smarmy, kind of...
That is practically how he talks, yes. I really like Awano. He is so hateable. As they stand there, the squatter comes out, seeing the carnage left by Kiryu. He's none too keen to pick back up their conversation, so Oda tells them that they'll be expecting him out tonight. If they find him tomorrow, who knows what Kiryu might do. So, Oda tells Kiryu to go report back to the owner, then meet him at the cozy little bar on Tenkaichi Street called Serena. Some celebration drinks are in order after his first job. Anyway, the owner's a hardcore bowler. Got his own balls and everything, so we head off to the mock bowl.
Oh.
Who I didn't put in, but there's a chicken that runs the mock bowl.
What?
The chicken likes bowling. So Kiryu bowls with a chicken.
How did they know that the chicken likes
The chicken likes bowling. Kiryu's not going to do that right now, though.
How did
I
the
think- is
chicken's
this the
not
one-
just lost?
I think this is the game where the chicken's called Omelet.
That's a funny name for a chicken.
That might be a different game. This isn't the only chicken in the series.
No, there's numerous chickens.
There's numerous chickens.
The chicken's running 10-pin bowling, French bowls. What are we talking here?
Who knows? We're not even there yet.
Who knows? Because the chicken can't consent to liking bowling. It's just lost.
Chicken doesn't have business etiquette.
Anyhow. So we head over to the mock bowl. So we're heading to the mock bowl, but on the way, Kiryu happens to run into some men, and he hears them discussing the owner.
This fucking street. He can't go anywhere without hearing anything.
No, it's fine. This is still main story. This isn't side content.
I know. Even if it's main story.
Who also, I would like to put that I have a note here saying I forgot to mention that the owner's name is Yamanoi because I didn't remember that he becomes important. So, there's his name. It's Yamanoi.
The owner of what? The bowling chicken?
No. This is the owner that Oda and Kiryu were just doing the job for. To get the squad route.
Okay.
So he's going to report back. And
It's like
that guy's name is
Omelette
Yamanoi.
Omelette owns the bloody bowling.
Sorry, I forgot.
Exactly. Please get it right.
Got a Morgan. She bought the place.
Fun was what I was going to do with Majima's new sales tax.
Neither being able to consent to be aware of the number 3 or 8.
So, anyhow,
No, you can't do this. We're done. This is it now. Podcast taken over by Omelette the Chicken.
so on the way over to the mock bowl, Kiryu runs into some men who are discussing Yamanoi, saying how he barely has any properties left to his name, and soon he'll be driven out of town by the Leisure King and the 5 billionaires.
Oh, okay. There's this 5 characters.
A billionaire's less impressive if we're talking yen, isn't it? I mean,
That is
nothing
true.
is impressive about being a billionaire, but in this kind of world of money and power, what's a billion? That's like, 50 million?
The 5 tens of thousandaires doesn't really have the same ring to it, does it?
So you get to the mock bowl where you happen to find Yamanoi, and he's beaten to shit. He is covered in blood and bruises, and he's asking you to help him get to the Sugita ability, where he tells you about the 5 billionaires.
None of these people look like billionaires.
It's the Leisure King.
Well, that one maybe nowadays.
The Leisure King, the Pleasure King, the Electronics King, the Gambling King, and the Media King. Yup, they're 5 real estate tycoons who own the majority of property in Kamurocho. Now, it seems the Leisure King has it out for Yamanoi because he owns property on the King's area, Tenkaichi Street, and he won't back down. But Yamanoi's getting old. He doesn't have the strength to face their endless barrage of business and violence, but he chuckles. You could, he says, pointing at Kiryu. Kiryu tries to get out of this, but Yamanoi's having none of it. He's going to make a real estate tycoon of Kiryu yet. And what's he got to lose anyway? The business is on the verge of folding. And it seems as well, Tachibana personally recommended Kiryu to him to become a real estate tycoon, even telling Yamanoi about his connection to Cosmo, a man that Yamanoi supposedly trusts more than anybody in the world. But that's ancient history for another time. And I have a note saying, remember to actually put what that is. I didn't do that. So we're just going to assume that Yamanoi knows Cosmo for some reason.
Are any of these 5 kings, do any of them return in a future Yakuza
Nope.
game? Okay, so we
You know exactly where this is building. It's your favorite part.
I don't remember what this
He
is.
ropes Kiryu into the Great Business Minigame,
Oh, I do remember this.
which I am summarizing in one bullet point because I don't care. Basically, it's an entire minigame where Kiryu goes around town buying properties, investing. He walks up and he's like, "Oh, buy this in cash," and he like opens a briefcase to the owner. The owner goes, "Wow!" And then
Shocking
Kiryu
amount
says
of depth is given to this.
Oh, this is straight up like a 15-hour minigame.
Jeez.
With a full subplot storyline that is like hours long.
Look, you can't diss the game for $60, giving you just a wealth of capital C
For
content,
$60,
right?
the game usually goes for like $5.
Well, yeah, like you can't diss it for that, right? And we are obviously taking the piss with it. It's very
People
impressive.
love this minigame.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, I mean, you could just package that up into 15 hours of real estate tycoon and sell it for a tenner.
Yeah.
I like how I have a note to please summarize this for the love of God, and then just did not do that, so we're skipping over it.
We're assuming like months are passing here as he's becoming.
Oh no, this is about 2 days.
Right.
2 days. Kiryu becomes a billionaire in a couple days.
Okay. So does he at any point use this power and influence to try and speak to his father figure in jail or like figure out?
No. So if you
Still not interested in finding out who shot that guy in the head, no? Clearing his name.
It's not important. Kiryu has real estate to do.
Right.
A few property investments later, and it's probably about time that we head to Serena. maybe. So we head over and up the elevator to a classy little bar where we're surprised to see Nishiki is here. Turns out that this is actually Nishiki's regular hangout, coincidentally. No,
You're definitely right.
Yeah.
and no thanks to the cute Mama Reina, who I should probably add. Mama is a title. He's not just calling her Mama Reina.
Right. Okay.
The owner of a bar in Japan is often either the Mama or the Master. So she is Mama Reina.
So it's the karaoke bar, isn't it?
It is a karaoke bar, but it is not the one they were at before.
Okay.
Different one. Lots of karaoke bars.
Cool.
This is like a little one. It's like right down the street from the Cosmo family office. Cute little one. It's up an elevator on the second floor. This is the one that, remember when I said that there was that alleyway that's really important? That alleyway is behind Serena.
And the alleyway's different from the lot.
This quickly, through his brother, also becomes Kiryu's kind of like regular hangout.
Cool.
This is like Kiryu's bar. So it seems that Nishiki comes around and just constantly talks Reina's ear off about Kiryu and their other friend Yumi, with Reina saying how he should bring her by sometime and him joking about giving her a job there then. Which, at this point, I feel like I should say, we're not going to see Yumi in this game.
Oh.
Yumi does not appear at all in Yakuza 0. Nobody understands why Yumi doesn't appear in Yakuza 0. We will meet her when we get to Yakuza 1. When she gets to Yakuza 1, she works at Serena.
Right.
So there's your, haha, Nishiki convinced her to give Yumi a job moment. Haha.
Cool.
Anyhow, Kiryu immediately hits off with Reina. They're fast friends, and the three of them are enjoying their drinks. A fair amount of time passes. Nishiki's commenting on how Oda's taking his sweet time. So they decide to kill some time with a bit more mandatory karaoke.
Nishiki, how does Nishiki feel that his brother is working for the guys that his Yakuza family are actively looking to take down?
So Nishiki very much puts his brothership with Kiryu above Yakuza drama.
That they just don't talk about it?
Basically.
Well, then why is Oda coming for a drink with him? That seems odd.
Well, Oda was coming for a drink with Kiryu.
Oh, I see.
Nishiki just happened to already be there.
If I was Nishiki, I would be worried about what this looks like. Kiryu, fair enough, I understand, but Oda being present? Like, the Yakuza might think that you're selling them upriver.
Nishiki's not the smartest person.
Right. That's it. He's just dumb.
You're not wrong. Even more time passes. Nishiki comments how this Oda cat is seriously late by now, saying that Kiryu didn't make him out to be the flaky type. Before Kiryu can even respond, though, they hear the door. Reina goes to run over to greet the customer, but stops, her voice catching in her throat. In walks Oda, beaten and covered in blood.
Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah.
He collapses to the floor as a number of Yakuza walk over his body, tailed by Awano.
Oh, purple suit man.
Purple suit man. He asks Kiryu if he recognizes the men behind him, at which point Kiryu realizes that they were the Yakuza that he beat up earlier the day at the squatter's apartment.
Oh.
So they went running to Big Boss Awano. And they came back to Oda for revenge.
So Awano kidnapped the chiropractor.
No, chiropractor is a Majima plot line, which has currently got nothing to do with this plot line.
Yeah, those are entirely separate plot
sides
lines.
of the country.
We have no clue who kidnapped Makoto.
What Yakuza were we beating up a minute ago?
These are
then?
the ones who...
When Oda was doing...
Squatters.
Yeah, real estate stuff.
Right. God, my bad. Sorry. So we're beating up a lot of people. I'm so sorry.
We're beating up people as part of the real estate subplot.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
So Awano pulls Kiryu's business card out of his pocket, looking at it, saying how Tachibana has been pecking at the Tojo for a while now, and then Kiryu joins up with them straight out of the family. Ain't got no sense of gratitude at all. One of the men earlier asks Awano to handle it. Seems he was the one in charge of the squatter job, and after Kiryu got in his way, he had to take responsibility, and we look down and we see his bandaged hand, one finger kind of looking... Nose, so...
Kerry is just accidentally lopping off fingers.
Everybody but Kiryu is losing a finger.
Nishiki looks over and he's like, the fuck did you do, Kiryu? But Amano goes over, grabbing the back of Nishiki's head. Lackey shouldn't interrupt. He slams Nishiki's face down on the bar, breaking his nose.
Oh, that would make me really angry if I didn't think Nishiki's a traitor.
I'm having a nice little chat with this civilian over here. Got that, Nishikiyama? Bitch-ass punks like you should keep their mouths shut. So one of Awano's men pulls a knife, pointing it at Kiryu. Boss, can we ice him already? Looking at his face is making me sick. Awano goes, sure, but don't make any trouble for the locals. Kiryu leaves as Awano leans in close to Nishiki. Let's have some fun here, eh, Nishikiyama? So Kiryu heads out back to the men, back to the alley. We have so many fights in this alley.
Important alley.
We legitimately have so many fucking fights in this alley. We have at least one fight here a game.
Excellent.
So they try to get him to grovel and apologize for inconveniencing them. And in return, Kiryu introduces their faces to the pavement.
Excellent. You're doing very well with these.
Thank you. Ono walks out. So the way it's structured is it's on the second floor and there's like a fire escape on the back.
Right.
So he walks out into the fire escape. He looks down at Kiryu, joking about how Kiryu's turned way more Yakuza since leaving the family. Funny how that shit works. Kiryu asks if he wants some next, only getting just a little try me from Ono. Kiryu throws a punch, only to have his fist grabbed from the air. Ono doesn't even look shaken as he calmly asks why Kiryu's with Tachibana. Seems Ono's worked out that this is Cosma's doing, that Cosma's using Tachibana to make a move on the empty lot. Kiryu tries to deny that.
What about the lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, the lot!
Kiryu tries to deny anything, but he just gets back that he's a shit liar. And Ono asks him if Tachibana's found the owner of the lot yet. No, but he has a clue. Kiryu remarks that he hasn't told Ono anything, but Ono didn't need to. Your eyes tell me everything I want to know. I love how easy to read you are. Kiryu tries to leave, but Ono stops him, telling him to set a meeting with his oh-so-mysterious new boss. Kiryu simply responds that he left the family. He owes no favors now.
That's right.
Ono is willing to bargain, though, saying that he'll drop the squatter business and the fact Cosma and him are making a move in the lot. Either that, or the member of the Dojima family will be out for his blood. Doesn't matter where he runs, not even prison will save him from a slow, torturous death. Kiryu tells him to give it his best shot, and Ono delivers, saying that it won't end with just him. They'll go on. Nishiki will be next. That gets Kiryu's attention, and he turns back, asking what Ono plans to do with Tachibana. Beat every bit of intel he's got on the empty lot out of him. That's all. Well, that and send a message to outsider who want to meddle with shit that doesn't concern them. Meaning, kill them? Kiryu asks. Ono smirks. I'll give you till morning to decide. Hand over Tachibana, or die in this place. Take your pick and call me tonight. I don't hear from you, and the hunt's on.
Ooh.
Chapter 6, The Yakuza Way.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Back in the bar. Oda has regained consciousness and Reina is attending to his wounds. Kiryu enters, apologizing to Nishiki for getting him involved. They tell Kiryu that while he was downstairs busting heads, Ono told them that the Dojima family are in an all-hands search for Tachibana. Seems that he also told Nishiki to convince Kiryu that the only way that he gets out of this alive is to give up Tachibana.
Okay.
Oda shouts back, asking if Kiryu's going to just give Tachibana's head on a platter, but Nishiki tells him to shut up. That if it's not Tachibana, then it will be Kiryu's head on that plate. It's you shitheads who dragged him into this anyway. Kiryu tells him to take a step back. He knew that he'd make an enemy of Dojima sooner or later. Nishiki thinks that that's absolutely crazy. Not even Cosma could have known this would get this bad. Oda seems to agree with him, saying that Tachibana had thought that he'd already have the lot before war with Dojima. They thought that they'd have some sort of play against Dojima, but with the lieutenants acting this fast, who knows? Oda borrows Reina's phone, calling Tachibana, who already seems to suspect the reason for the call. Oda continues, though, telling Tachibana that he needs to hide. He looks into Kiryu's eyes. I don't think we can trust Kiryu anymore. He'll sell you out to Dojima.
No.
With that, Oda hangs up. Now not even he's going to know where Tachibana is. Kiryu goes to leave as Nishiki turns, asking him where he thinks he's going. I'll go nab Kuze and clear my name. Back to square one. It's my only option.
Oh god, it only took us long enough, Kiryu. Jesus Christ, right.
Chapter 6.
Go fight Kuze.
Kiryu leaves Serena, deciding that there's no better place to start the search than the empty lot itself. He gets there, seeing bloodstains still on the ground, and hears a sound from behind him. He turns. It's Tachibana.
Oh.
He tells Kiryu what he already knew, that the police have already cleared any potential evidence. If Kuze really is the one who framed him, though, he'll have hired an assassin to do the hit. But the issue with that is, there's no trace of him having done that. According to Tachibana, it's likely Kuze wasn't actually behind this at all. He tells Kiryu that's all he has to tell him, and that he wanted to tell him it in person. He won't disappear from Kamurocho, though. Even with the accelerated timelines, everything's still within expected tolerances. Kiryu tells him that Otis certainly didn't seem to think it was going that well, but Tachibana has a bomb that he hasn't told Oda yet. He's located the owner of the empty lot.
Ooh.
All he needs to do is find them and buy the lot from them.
Okay.
Easy. Okay.
There we go.
Here we go.
Ramp it up.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
We're gonna go buy the lot.
Plop, plop, plop.
Then the Dojima will come to them begging to buy it. He tells Kiryu that he needs to stay alive at least until they can broker the deal. He needs one day, and he needs Kiryu not to tell anyone, not even Nishiki or Kashiwagi. Kiryu gets sassy back at him, saying, "Oh, you know I could just, like, sell you out instead, yeah?" But Tachibana doesn't...
It's the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
But Tachibana doesn't think that Kiryu's that kind of man, hence why he was willing to meet with him in person. He leaves, telling Kiryu to stay safe and out of Dojima's hands until he contacts him tomorrow.
Do the Yakuza know what he looks like, Tachibana?
No. So as Kiryu leaves, he happens to run into a man getting hassled, but with a wave of his hand and a chant to the magic word peasants, they're suddenly all on the ground. Oh my peasants truly are a sordid lot.
You can always tell when it's bullshit side quest stuff.
Kill the fuck out of this guy. No, wait, no, what happened to the plot? We were doing plot, remember?
Plop.
It's your boy, Mr. Moneybag.
No, the plot!
Kiryu needs to stay alive for a day, so this is what he does with that time.
He teaches Kiryu that all problems can just be solved by throwing money at the commoners.
Great.
That is literally the whole thing here. It is literally just a gameplay method that you can walk through town, and usually what would happen is enemies just kind of run up to you, forcing you to battle, but instead you can just throw money in the air and they'll go collect that instead of fighting you. It's your run button from a fight.
It's your run button.
It's your run button, but it costs money.
Can you do that for the side quest people too?
He tells you that if you want to become filthy, stinking rich, to head to Theater Square and look for Vincent. Well, Kiryu has some time to kill, so why not spend it on a get rich quick scheme? But before he gets there, a man approaches him, telling him...
He can't fucking walk 5 feet. Sorry, continue.
Leave me alone!
This is the equivalent of Chase trying to get through a lore dump with us.
Nobody with social anxiety can fucking do what he does for a job. He'd be constantly exhausted.
But before he can get there, a man approaches us, telling us that a member of the Dojima family wants to talk to us.
Right.
They're waiting at the batting cages. Oh shit.
Okay.
Kiryu heads over, looking around for the Dojima family, only to be called over by a small child in dress shorts, suspenders, and a bow tie. Oh fuck! That's Daigo Dojima, heir to the Dojima family.
Oh god, I forgot. I'm leaving. I just remembered all this little shit and his little shit.
See you later. Bye.
Continue. I'm actually going to the loo, but continue. I remember exactly what.
Enjoy, have fun. You and me now, Neil.
Oh god.
Anyway, his parents are too busy and his friends are shit, so he just wants to hang out with Kiryu.
Right, okay.
Just want to hang out.
Why would who's taking him here?
He came with a couple of friends, but they're kind of like, we don't like you, Daigo, and they run away.
Okay, but why would he come to Kiryu, who is ejected, from the family?
Because as the heir, Kiryu kind of had to, like, look after him a lot, so he sees Kiryu as kind of like a friend of sorts. Okay. I mean, a friend that was bought with money, but a friend nonetheless.
Does he call us a virgin?
No, he might call us a peasant.
Oh, great.
He's that kind of kid. So, Kiryu's hesitant about seeing, being seen with Dojima's kid given, everything, but Daigo refuses to hear it, and besides, wink wonk, Daigo's paying.
Wink wonk.
He's all cute. He gets annoyed at Kiryu for calling him Master Daigo, despite not being a member of the family, and saying that they're just friends and they should have dressed each other as such. Yeah. They head off for a day of fun at the arcade, but little Daigo wants something a bit spicier.
Oh no, what?
He suggests anything from bikini bars to telephone clubs, but he's ultimately just talked into a boring lounge. Boo, Kiryu buzzkill. Kiryu doesn't want to see boobies.
Neil, you'll remember that the next game takes place, 20 years later? So obviously this kid's going to be important. Yeah.
They get to the lounge where the owner's obviously like, my dude, no children, the fuck. But Daigo pulls, my daddy's a massive crime boss, scaring the owner into letting them stay.
Brilliant.
Daigo sits down, demanding that the owner call them over women.
Oh my god, this is horrible.
But the owner's like, this is a karaoke lounge, not a sex lounge. But then an older woman who's like singing karaoke is like, I'm a hostess, little boy. I'll show you an adult time. And Daigo's like, guess you'll fucking do. Be quick and sit the fuck down. He's a little shit.
I hate him.
He's a little shit. All my homies hate Daigo Dojima.
Are we your homies?
All my homies. Including the Discord. I got really excited when the Discord agreed with me about Daigo Dojima hate.
Wait, is there a small sect of Yakuza fans that think that this little runt is good? Well, I guess you're going to see him in 20 years when presumably he's a cool guy and he's doing cool things.
Daigo Dojima is the worst Yakuza character. Daigo is an angsty boy, though, and he quickly gets annoyed by the old lady calling him adorable, and the barkeep who keeps serving him alcoholic drinks, which was at Kiryu's request. He kind of like slipped him a tenner. He's like, just give him juice. Just give him juice. Yeah. Tell him it's whiskey.
Yeah.
Daigo's a big boy! And he tells Kiryu to blow this joint. He runs out and immediately gets kidnapped by three masked men and dragged into an alley.
Let him go.
Kiryu beats him up, unmasking him to find out that they're Daigo's old friends. What?
This thing has friends?
Thing. Daigo don't have time for fake friends, so he tells Kiryu that he won't kill them, but, break their legs so they won't walk again. Thanks.
Well, that's that.
He's pissed that everybody only hangs out with him because of his status. He's just the precious prince of Dojima, when really, he just wants to be Daigo. Kiryu's heard enough, though, telling Daigo to shut the fuck up, punk.
Really?
He wants to throw... He does actually say, shut the fuck up, punk.
Excellent.
He doesn't work for the Yakuza anymore.
Yeah.
He wants to throw his daddy's name around, fine, but torturing a defeated foe? Nah, that's not how a man does things. Kiryu punches Daigo in the face, saying how it will be a lesson to remember.
Christ.
Kiryu, best character.
We don't applaud that either.
Hashtag kill Daigo.
Luckily, Daigo comes to his senses and breaks down crying. And him and Kiryu have a heart-to-heart, with Daigo finally deciding that he's done depending on others and he's going to stand on his own 2 feet. No more daddy's money, no more Dojima name. He runs off, addressing Kiryu not as a servant, but as an equal. And Kiryu watches him leaving to say, take care, and grow up to be more than he is.
See you in the next game.
Anyway.
Has a day passed yet?
Anyway, Kiryu still wants that get-rich-quick scheme.
So I can't wait for the next game set years after where you start the game with no money despite becoming a billionaire in this one, I'd imagine.
Kiryu wants to go to his get-rich-quick scheme, so he heads to an underground vaulted door at Theater Square where the bouncer tells him to shove it. But Kiryu, flashes him a bunch of money, and he's like, oh, money, you can come in to the JCC, the Japanese Catfighting Club, bikini battles, baby! This minigame is just rock, paper, scissors, but with sexy bikini girls.
No, it's not. I hate this.
It is literally rock, paper, scissors.
No,
sexy bikini girls.
Next.
And they beat each other up. I have a
Don't
note.
make him like this anymore, am I right?
Literally, this was a big part of wrestling when I was a child.
I have a note saying how you this is what happens. The gambling king is there, one of the 5 billionaires. You beat him up and then you get this sign where you slap him with money and then money falls in the sky and it goes complete domination.
This Kiryu player is a billionaire.
Yeah.
So is he not one of the 5 kings?
No. Because he doesn't own real estate, man.
Right.
I thought we were owning real estate.
Not enough real estate.
What if you max out all the real estate and have billions?
Well, you wouldn't have because you need to beat each one before you can go into the next one's zone.
Oh, is it like boss fights? Proper boss fights?
Yeah.
Cool, that's fun.
I mean, they're not good, but they're proper boss fights.
Well,
Great.
was a day past, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a note that P. you can beat the entire minigame now, so you beat them all up and Kiryu becomes a real estate mogul.
Yay! So he now owns Kamurocho.
Kiryu owns Kamurocho, that's right.
I think the Yakuza see him as a threat now.
That'll be important later.
He's now a 3rd player.
Kiryu decides to have a little nap, and while he does, we get a meeting of the 3 lieutenants and the other Dojima officers in the Kazuma family office.
Oh,
this is like a cutaway from Kiryu's point of view. Has this happened before in the game? This is just it's a new thing.
We get some cutaways.
Oh, do we? Oh,
We get a couple cutaways. Plot! So they're all having a meeting. It's dawn, and Kiryu hasn't given up Tachibana. Awano calls up Dojima, getting final approval to take Kiryu out for good.
Oh.
And we actually see Kashiwagi is also at this meeting. Oh. And Awano looks over at him, asking if the Kazuma family understands. They wouldn't be dealing with this mess if not for Kazuma bringing Kiryu in. The Kazuma family better be the ones hunting harder than anyone else. Kuze gets up, telling the men in the room to bring Kiryu to him personally, alive, and they all run out, leaving one straggler, Nishiki.
Oh.
He looks over at Kashiwagi, and they share a nod.
Oh.
What does that nod mean? We're not going to look, right? We're not really going to look.
The next morning, Kiryu leaves his house and is immediately chased by Dojima goons from the second he gets into Kamurocho. Now, why he decided to come to Kamurocho instead of, literally anywhere else in Tokyo.
Get on a train.
Literally any biggest.
You had a day?
The biggest city in the world, and he decides that he wants to go hang out in this one neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's one street.
Yeah. Stay at a B&B for the night.
But yeah, so much running and fighting later, Kiryu is approached by a stripper out on her smoke break. She tells him that if he wants it, they have a secret underground passage that he can use through their club. Oh. Everyone hates the Yakuza. The little guy's got to stick together, right?
Yeah. It's a good message.
Yeah, that's the plot of the game. Little guys stick together, fuck the conglomerates, etc.
No. Remember, we work for the conglomerate, and we're the biggest one now.
Yeah, you're right.
She leads him
So
through,
there are no points.
she leads him through the club and down what looks like a sewer pipe, telling him it leads out to Theater Square, which is like dead center of Kamurocho, so not even vaguely helpful.
No, go back the way you came almost.
Kiryu thanks her, saying that if he makes it through this, he'll come back a paying customer. As he walks away, she says to herself, "Sorry, stud. I don't think that day's coming."
Oh, she sold him out.
Kiryu sprints down the pipe when suddenly a bright light in his eyes, the revving of an engine. It's Kuze, shirtless, on a motorcycle.
I remember this boss fight.
Kuze's running down the sewer on a motorcycle.
with a sword, with a katana.
That is a metal pipe.
It is a metal pipe. Wow. Excellent.
So Kiryu stupidly, instead of dodging, just tries to like stand his ground and block. As Kiryu, with the full momentum of a motorcycle behind him, slams him in the face with a metal pipe.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Dead.
Luckily, Kuze can't drive, so he immediately crashes the motorcycle after that, falling off.
God, the guys told me not to do the motorcycle thing.
My favorite part as well is when you get out of here, I'm fairly certain that it is through like a manhole. So he clearly had his men like lower this motorcycle down here.
Oh my god. Oh no. That's going to be a tough climb back up the ladder to see them.
So he falls off and he gets up, telling Kiryu how he's making this fun. Kiryu is on the ground bruised, as like Kuze like walks on the pipe, the club's trailing behind him, he's just dragging it along the ground.
Cool thing to do.
I know, he's gonna let Kiryu in on a little secret. Yakuza ain't nothing like boxing.
Right? Oh, I was waiting for part 2.
Oh, there is more. I just wanted to pause dramatically. It ain't the ones who get beaten down who loses. It's the one who can't tough it out to the end. In the Yakuza life, there are no KOs. See, to Kuze, a few fingers, doesn't give a shit. Having Awano or Shibusawa beat him to the captain spot, couldn't give less of a fuck.
KO is not the only way to win in boxing. I mean, sort of points based most of it.
Don't argue with Kuze.
Sorry, Kuze.
Best character.
He'll keep getting back up for more. Now die, you little shit! I love this boss fight. Boss fight's great. I also like the little skulls on his shoulders.
Yeah, very cool.
They're cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, so Kiryu beats the shit out of him. He grabs Kuze's pipe off the ground, looking down at him, like as if he's about to, but then throws it to the side and walks off.
Is this a difficult game?
I can speak to that as a bit more of a casual with these games than you. This fight kicked my ass.
Huh.
Not enough that like, you know, oh, I'm stuck in it for hours, but like I got beat a couple of times. Yeah.
Okay.
Personally, I think that a lot of the difficulty actually comes just from archaic controls rather than actual difficulty.
Okay.
But maybe that's just me. So yeah, he runs off and Kuze shouts he'll regret not killing him now later on.
Oh god, did we not even get him?
Kiryu tells him that it's like he said. Kiryu wouldn't make it as Yakuza. Kazuma knew that. That's why he tried to stop him. But Kuze, he's a real Yakuza. Kiryu's got his own brand of pride and he's sticking to it.
Real piece of shit.
And Kiryu Kazuma doesn't kill.
Oh. Well, we'll keep that in mind.
Is that like a code then?
I would like to note Kiryu doesn't say that. Just Kiryu Kazuma does not kill. I added that in personally.
Right. But that is the implication here. Like, I could kill you, but I won't.
Kiryu Kazuma doesn't kill.
Okay.
Excellent.
I would like you to please keep that in mind. Kiryu Kazuma does not
Oh,
kill.
it's lodged there. Don't worry. Along with Skelestric and...
Would kind of make things easier for him, though, if he did just start killing the people who are after him, considering he's a Yakuza criminal.
Nah. So he gives...
Okay.
So, weirdly, Kiryu does still have respect for these men, and he, like, actually bows to Kuze before he walks off.
I kind of like that. That's kind of dope.
And he heads out of the passage, exiting, and he exits into a nightclub. So the music's blaring, rainbow lights are shimmering, and in the center of the dance floor is Amino dancing it up with a pretty lady.
Fair enough. Night off.
He's just having a time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
He's having a time. He's dancing up.
Although, yeah, aren't they supposed to be out looking?
Yeah. Surely Dojima... Yeah, can you imagine if Dojima called him right now? Where are you?
Yeah. Traffic.
Figures Kuze'd come up short again, he says, grinding and groping on the girl. Why didn't you call me, Kiryu? Had me waiting by the phone all night. Get your skinny ass up here, dance with us.
This feels like the end of the game. Like you're going to fight the big three, like one after another, almost.
It does. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good ending, to be fair.
Yeah, great ending.
Not even halfway through this game.
Really feels like we've killed a lot of time.
Even if we're not killing any of these motherfuckers.
Kiryu doesn't have time to dance, though, and he goes to leave. But the lights cut off.
Oh, you don't have time, my ass.
We have as long as you want for the real estate game, or the libido, or the bowling chicken game.
Oh, the lights cut off, and Awano stops him, telling him that he's grateful. Kiryu's given him the ammo he's been needing to take out not just Kazuma, but Kuze too.
Oh, it's all part of a play, okay.
Two of his biggest rivals. Kiryu's his lucky charm, wink. He sits on the side of the stage, telling Kiryu to hear him out. You know, after the first time you threw down with Kuze, I went golfing. Koshu Country Club. Friggin' gorgeous course. You might not know this, Kiryu, but the food they serve at these courses, fan-fucking-tastic. 18 holes and then curry and a sauna. Once you taste that, the rest of the world's pleasures just start feeling like a joke. Kiryu tells him to cut the bullshit, but Yamano's still schmoozing, still young and impatient, he chides. You know, the world's chock full of shit that don't seem like it has any connection to anything, but then you figure out it's real important in the long run, like all the side stories.
I hate you. Does real estate mogul Kiryu not just be like, yeah, no, I'm a billionaire.
I'm richer than you.
I'm richer than you. I could buy you.
Yeah.
You see, after he went golfing, thought he'd step in and check on, you know, that little sunflower orphanage.
Oh.
Hearing Cosmo ran the joint, he expected to be great, but it's just a kennel.
Oh.
That gets Kiryu's attention immediately, but Awano tells him to calm it. Says he met the caretaker. Nice guy. Told him he worked with Kazuma and slid him a cool mill. Made the man cry. You wouldn't want to make a sweet old man like that cry because of something you did, would you, Kiryu? Is he being direct enough? Even if you make it out of here today, you've got nowhere to run. He knows everything about Kiryu, his friends, where he lives, where he grew up. See, it's Dojima family business not to split responsibility. Kazuma family writes the script. Keno cleans the muscles. Boring paperwork Shibusawa's game. And him, he puts a hand on Kiryu's shoulder. Public relations.
Okay.
He seems like the most dangerous of the three.
Oh, I disagree. I think it's the old man.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the old man we haven't seen any of yet. You're right. Yeah. Kuze's the hothead. He's the...
I'm pretty sure he's the youngest of the three.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, he looked
Glasses
very old.
man.
Shibusawa was not that old.
Oh, he looked very old.
Oh, he looks... Yeah,
Look, there's a 10-year-old man-child boy-man thing, so like this game doesn't know what age
Just
is.
assume I'm wrong about how old everyone is going forward.
He tries to sweet-talk Kiryu again to his side, saying that all he needs is to give him the real estate bum and he'll be set for life. No reason to throw this away when it's the only getting started, eh? Kiryu grabs his hand, resting it off his shoulder. This your idea of extortion? He walks away, getting to the door before... Pew! Gunshot. Kiryu turns around, and the girl Awano had been dancing with is dead on the floor in a puddle of blood.
Oh.
Who shot her? Anima?
Yeah, Awano turns the gun on Kiryu. You're about to join her. I got 100 Dojima boys parked out front, all of them packing heat.
I thought you weren't supposed to kill civilians.
This guy's kind of sick. He strikes me as the most serial killer-y out of the three.
Yeah.
He's just killed
Just killed a woman for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's like, last chance, Kiryu, and he throws the gun. He's like, what's it gonna be? No decision to make. I'm out of here. You think you've shaken me, but I don't care if I live or die. So, you make decisions based on whether it's fun or not, Awano. Me, I base them on whether I love or hate it. And I hate the idea of joining a guy like you. In fact, I'd rather be shot. Kiryu turns and leaves, walking up the stairs, getting to the top, pausing for a moment to collect and prepare himself before he opens the doors, and there's nothing. The streets are bustling with civilians.
Awano doesn't shoot him.
No.
His job tonight was to go out and catch him.
No, he just wanted to shoot the girl.
Why? He's supposed to bring him back alive.
He doesn't even have to bring him back alive. Kuze wanted him alive. The rest of them is just go and there's a hit out on... Why is he not?
So that there can be more game.
Legit, is that
actually no...
There's actually no plot reason for why
I think that it's meant to be that he's still trying to get Kiryu to actually get on their side. Because if they kill Kiryu, they then need to go manually find Tachibana.
Right, if Dojima finds out he didn't do his orders, though,
Well,
he's losing a pig.
Dojima didn't order the hit. They just asked if they can kill Kiryu. And Dojima said yeah.
So if they come back to him and go, by the way, sorry, pal.
Dojima's indifferent. Dojima just cares about getting the wad.
Right.
You know, whatever way, if it involves Kiryu, fine. If they want to capture Kiryu and get the information, fine.
Hashtag kill Kiryu.
So, back in the club, Alwyn sits on the stage, lighting up a cigarette, taking a long draw. Threats don't work on an idiot. Should have seen that coming. Kiryu begins to walk away from the club, only to be quickly greeted by a car driven by Nishiki.
No.
We got a getaway vehicle.
Good stuff.
Kiryu gets in, with Nishiki telling him to get low and out of sight. He trailed Awano, hoping that it would lead him to Kiryu, and he got lucky. Kiryu tells him to think this through, or he'll be a target. But Nishiki tells him to shut up. Tell him that this is the last time that he'll be able to help him. They've got every inch of Kamurocho covered, and he's going to get Kiryu out of Tokyo.
Oh.
Does Kiryu knew about this plan? No.
No, this was assumedly what Nishiki and Kashiwagi were nodding about.
Cool.
Is Operation Go Save Kiryu.
Cool. Okay.
They drive late into the night, Kiryu falling asleep in the passenger seat, until finally arriving deep in the woods at the entrance to a roped-off road. Nishiki telling Kiryu that they're there and getting out. Kiryu gets out, asking where they are, but Nishiki doesn't know, says he kind of just kept driving. He pulls out a smoke, offering one to Kiryu. Reaching around for his lighter, finding nothing, only for Kiryu to pull it out, saying how he was borrowing it, lighting up Nishiki's cigarette. He tries to offer it back, but Nishiki stops him. He won't ask it back. He won't ask for it back again. He walks back to the car. Be sure to savor it, brother. He pulls out a gun, slowly pointing at the back of Kiryu's head and cocking it. That's your last smoke. Make it count. It's dead silent. What are you doing? Isn't this a little far for a prank? Kiryu's calm. Come on, bro, put that thing away. He goes to turn around, but Nishiki shouts back, just stop! The pain evident in his face and voice as it breaks. It's too late. This is the only way. How did it come to this, man? How did everything get so fucked? Are these the family orders, Nish? Nah. They have nothing to do with this. Kiryu, you know what they do to guys who fuck with the family? They know exactly how bad they can torture a guy before he goes, and they make damn sure that it lasts. They keep you clinging on, make it hurt as bad as long as possible. Make you watch while they dissect you. Then, when they've broken the last little bit of you, the bodies of the guys they find, you can't even tell if they're human. There's a sob breaking on the edge of his voice. I can't let them do it to you, Kiryu. I'm your sworn brother. I'm not watching you die like that. That's what it means to cross the Dojima family, Kiryu. Once they're after you, you can never be free. There's no statute of limitations in the Yakuza. You know that. At this point, I'm through as a Yakuza, and Cosmo-san with us, but at least he begins to cry. At least I can keep you from dying in pain. I can end it for you. I can make it quick. That's all I can do. And a tear rolls down his cheek. Kiryu drops the cigarette as the music kicks back in, turning to face Nishiki, staring directly down the barrel of the gun. I'm sorry, bro. It's my fault you're being put through this. Nishiki looks away as he sobs, unable to look at Kiryu. Brother, I've got one request. After you plug me, bring my head back to them. Use it to fight your way to the top of the clan. Promise me. It's up to you now. Nishiki falters backwards, tears streaming from his eyes. Don't look at me! Don't look at me, Kiryu, please! Man the fuck up and do it, Kiryu shouts back. You can't get to the top by crying. Nishiki stifles his last sob, closing his eyes and taking a deep breath, and pulls the trigger. A gunshot rings out into the silent forest. He looks up, his face contorting in pain. Kiryu's still standing. What's the problem? Aim carefully. I'm not dead yet. Nishiki falls to his knees, finally dropping the gun. Can't do it, he sobs. How could I shoot you? Without you, I'll always be nothing. Can't make it as a Yakuza. No, I wouldn't even be alive now if I didn't have you beside me. If you're with me, I'm useless. Nothing means anything. Kiryu looks down at Nishiki. Me too. We're the same. That means we're both still just kids, getting caught up in something way over our heads, making trouble for Cosmo-san, thinking we can die and make it all better. Forget about whether I had what it took to be a Yakuza. I'm not even a man yet. Nishiki lets out a small chuckle. Look at me, talking all cool about ending it for you quick. I'm so fucking pathetic. Seriously, Kiryu responds. But we can't stay kids forever. Nishiki tries to get him to come with him, but Kiryu stops him, telling him to forget what he saw today. He'll forget all of this too. He begins to walk off, and Nishiki asks where he's going. Back to Kamurocho, he replies. There's still work I need to do there. Nishiki tries to stop him, telling him that they'll kill him if he goes back, but Kiryu's resolved. This is the life you gave me. I want to see how far I can take it. You and I end here. From this moment on, we're no longer sworn brothers.
Oof.
Nishiki breaks that, calling out to Kiryu, continues, I don't want you having to do anything to do with me. Kiryu walks away, getting into the car and driving off, leaving Nishiki alone in the wood, screaming into the night sky.
Damn.
Is Nishiki still the villain?
Nah, probably not.
Damn, bringing the heat. We wanted some story. There's some story.
There's some story. It only took 4
What a,
hours.
what a fantastic end to the game, honestly.
And with that, dear listeners, we call it a rest for tonight.
Oh, boo.
Pick it up.
I'm sorry, we'll get back to Pocket Circuit soon.
God.
And maybe a bit of erection. Maybe just a small erection. Just a tiny erection.
No erections.
I mean, if we can have Skullextrix without erections, that would be the hashtag Skullextrix, not erections.
Chase, how far through the game are we?
That was the end of chapter 6 of 17.
Okay, so a third, give or take. So this is going to be a 3-parter. Our first ever 3-parter.
I'm glad to provide.
Okay, no problem. Just triple the thumbnail work for me.
I hope you all enjoy.
Yes. All right, well, we were not even going to do a tease. You know what's next. It's going to be Chapter 7 onwards of Yakuza 0. We will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye-bye.